Greetings, humans. You have entered the Command Zone, your destination for all aspects of Elder Dragon Highlander. Enjoy your stay.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Command Zone podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Weeks.
I'm Jimmy Wong.
How's it? It's Josh Lee Kwai.
And we've got a humdinger for you today.
This is the outline.
It's a book.
I think this is is definitely by weight the heaviest or most amount of paper we've ever had for an outline for any show.
I thought about changing the font size, I'm going to be honest.
Thanks for not doing that. My eyes are already not
like
good.
cheating on college essay over here.
Make all the periods bigger.
Yeah. Before we start, I just want everyone who went to the restroom recently.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit of a long one.
Because today,
You too, listener.
we are going through every set in Magic history, all the standard legal ones and everything before that, and we are giving you the best commander card from each of the sets.
Every single set.
There's been a few. I don't know if you've Magic's been around for a while. So we're starting at Alpha. We're going all the way to Lorwyn Eclipsed.
It's like 150 sets almost.
It's so many.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
so many.
Crazy. And 50 of them released last year, which is nuts. How are we defining best, Rachel?
Best can mean a lot of things to different people. For us, for me personally, I was talking about the most iconic, the most format changing. If we lost them, what would be the biggest loss is something that I was talking about or thinking about. It's not necessarily the most powerful, but often those things work together. So it could be the most powerful. It could be just a sort of an iconic staple of the form.
Yeah, or unique. I like difficult to replace.
That's a good answer.
If it's not there, there's no other option for it.
Yeah, I will just confess right now to not being very consistent how I decided was best. Sometimes I was like, yeah, this is an irreplaceable effect. And so for that reason, I'm going to pick this.
Yeah.
Later, I'd be like, that one's irreplaceable, but this one's just awesome.
Yeah.
So it took a long time to research, like many hours, and so my mood changed in there many times.
There you go.
So, yep.
It's a vibe
You
thing.
can call me out, but I'm just admitting it right now.
Yeah.
In order to keep this episode to a semi-reasonable length, we are going to be using a timer. We have 2 minutes at the absolute max to talk about each of these sets. So if we're rushing, it's because we're rushing.
Because it's 150. It's going to be 4 hours or something anyway. We don't want to be 6 or 7.
Yeah.
All right.
Camera will go off too, so you'll hear that, and we'll be forced to move on to the next one.
Okay.
No, there's no snooze on
Should
this.
we just start?
Let's not waste
do it.
any more time,
Okay.
starting from the very beginning with Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, and Revised.
Okay. I chose Soul Ring.
I also chose Soul Ring.
I chose something I believe is actually more iconic. It's Wheel of Fortune.
Ooh.
Soul Ring is very hard to beat, I will admit.
Descent among the ranks already.
Had to start with red.
That's true. You got to start on the right foot. I mean, for me, it's hard to get any more iconic than Soul Ring.
Yeah.
It's in every product. It has become sort of the definition of the format. It's like, welcome back. You can still play with some of the old busted cards that you had in your collection when you were a kid. There's a reason Soul Ring isn't banned and other stuff is. And it's just icon. Status.
I'll also say it's pretty affordable. Wheel of Fortune, not so much the case, but that's because I think it's a much more unique effect.
Well, and it's on the revised list where Soul Ring
reserve
is not.
list,
So or reserve list, sorry.
list,
Yeah. I mean, it is the format mascot Soul Ring is, which is why I felt like, okay, this one you have to choose.
Yeah.
One thing that my takeaway was we started off with the very first couple of sets having a ton of cards that are still played. So there was the OG dual lands.
Yep.
Now we did make a rule that like you can't choose a cycle. You have to choose a singular card. So
Yeah, you can't
unless
just
you were
say
willing to
fetch
say
land.
Tropical Island as the best card, you couldn't say dual lands. But if you could, it would probably they'd be in the mix at least.
Yeah.
But there's also Swords, Plowshares, Demonic Tutor, Birds of Paradise, Counterspell, Animate Dead, Basalt Monolith, Mana Vault. There's more that are not even on that list. We started off hot in Magic in general. Which is kind of impressive.
It's kind of the coolest thing about Commander, honestly, is that you get to play all these iconic cards from Alpha and Beta, and they just still see play, and they're still good enough. And in some cases, they're the best in class.
A lot of them are.
These are all best.
Birds of
in
Plowshares?
class.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Still Birds of Paradise.
Yeah, there is an argument that you could make depending on the player, depending on their taste and how they're defining best. That a lot, like Demonic Tutor, I was considering as well for my pick here. So,
Yep.
All right, well, let's move on to the next set, which was a little bit less of a banger. It's Arabian Nights.
ooh, yeah.
All right.
Iconic set, though.
Yep. I'm going to choose City of Brass.
I also chose City of Brass.
I chose Bazaar of Baghdad, also going for the upper limits of budget here. But I just think that card is insane, and nothing does anything like it.
If you go down the list of cards from Arabian Nights, we certainly don't play as many as we're in Alpha and Beta. City of Brass is just kind of still a staple, still sees a lot of play. It's still worth a lot because of how much it sees play. So
yeah, Bazaar's you're right. It's pretty unique in what it does, but we don't see it very much played in Commander. Whereas City of Brass is the card that stood out to me as the one that like you still see it a decent amount. That card still stands up. Although there have been sort of functional reprints of it made, a few of them at this point, which I think is a knock against it. But like Rachel said, there's not much to choose from besides those two.
I think mana fixing though is just such a key part of the format, considering how many multicolored legends we have now though. So that makes sense that City of Brass is just up there, whereas Bazaar is a very situational deck build, but the power level is obviously insane.
It's also so fun to play with. Bazaar Big Deck, if you have one and you know what you're doing, it is an incredibly fun, very powerful Magic card.
Yeah.
I did want to call out that this set had Dan, the original card, which the format is kind of like named after and based on. So that was just a cool little historic note to make while we're here.
Fish in the desert.
Yeah. Doesn't see a ton of play in Commander, but made its own format, and we love that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to the next one. This one had a lot more options. It's Antiquities.
Yeah.
Josh?
Strip Mine is my pick.
I went with Ashnod's Altar.
I too went with Strip Mine.
This was really close, and Ashnod's was my second.
Yeah.
So,
There are some really powerful cards in this set, though.
Yes.
I mean, Ashnod's Altar is just by far, I think, probably the single most powerful outside of maybe Phyrexian Altar? I don't know. It's tough.
In terms of sack outlets, I mean...
Ultra Phyrexian or whatever.
Like the list of combos that Ashnod's Altar enables,
Right.
I like these free sack outlets really define archetypes in Commander, like Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar, Goblin Bombardment. All of these feel really iconic and really Commander-y to me.
Yeah.
Whereas like Ashnod's Altar doesn't see as like... I can't think of a format that plays Ashnod's Altar even close to how much we play.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely. Sure.
So it feels like a very iconically Commander card, whereas Strip Mine is a very powerful card, but has seen a lot of play in a lot of places.
Yeah, I think this set too is interesting because it begins this like trend into like, colorless cards are actually very good. Because there are a lot of options here outside of Strip Mine Ashnod's Altar that are like, you can play this in any deck.
I was going to say, something I think we're going to see as we move forward with this is that the artifact-based sets have a lot of power in them. And just sort of is that archetype of like artifacts is very powerful. I think this is a case for me where it was very powerful but narrow versus maybe slightly less powerful overall, but broad.
Right.
Where Strip Mine is like literally every deck could play a Strip Mine, and I think every deck kind of should, or at least play a Strip Mine like effect. And there are replacements for Strip Mine, but it is the best in slot for what it does. So it was really close. Like I think they're separated by a hair for me. And you catch me in a different mood, I might have picked Ashnod's Altar. A couple other call outs here: Mishra's Workshop, Transmute Artifact, Power Artifact, also big combo-y pieces. Candelabra of Tanos.
Candelabra, crazy.
All super expensive. Okay, we're moving.
We got the message.
Oh God!
Right, next up we have
Legends.
Legends.
I love this set.
This was the very first set that I ever bought a booster pack for.
Wow.
Yep. And my pick was Mana Drain.
I went with Land Tax for this one.
I also said Mana Drain.
Oh yeah. I mean, Mana Drain power level wise is so powerful.
So nuts. And no counterspell is like, here's just some free mana on top.
Broken.
Yeah, super broken.
It's like what were they thinking?
Like, what if Counterspell was one of the best rituals ever? And you're like, what?
Counterspell's already too powerful to like print into standard currently.
Yeah.
And this is just a strictly better version of it.
Talk about a freaking swing in power. Yeah, it's crazy.
I picked Land Tax for this one because for me it was one of those cards that I was like, there's nothing like it. Land Tax is this effect that like was so uniquely white and was so super interesting when I started playing, and I just never really I was really fixated on that card. So for me, Land Tax is so iconic, and Mana Drain doesn't see as much play just because of the power level. This set was actually very tricky because there was a lot of Commander staples that would still see play today. Sylvan Library, Concordant Crossroads, Winds of Change, and this was the set that introduced the original Elder Dragons.
Nicol Bolas, Chromium, Palladium Wars, Arcades Sabbath, Vivictus Asmadi. Those cards are the original EDH. That's what EDH is named after.
Yeah, and even more than that, this is the set where Legends were introduced. It's called Legends, where multicolored cards were introduced. So in many ways, Legends is like one of the true like roots of the format, which is really, really cool. I wanted to go back to the land tax managing discussion because I like what you said there. I think if you caught me like 5 years ago, I might have considered land tax, but because white has come along so far, I don't play land tax at all anymore, whereas I used to play it a decent amount. Maybe I have it in a deck that has a lot of rummaging or looting. That's the only place I would think about it. Yeah, but it used to be a staple.
Oh God!
Time's up.
Okay.
We didn't even get to talk about
We're
modes.
moving.
All right, we're moving. Oh yeah,
On to the dark.
the dark. All right, I chose. This is the first one where all three of us have a different answer.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
great. I really like this one.
I chose Felwar Stone.
I went with Maze of Ith.
Oh, I chose Blood Moon.
Get out.
There you go.
Oh man, Blood Moon's time has yet to come. By the way, it lost a lot of favor, and now I think in a few years we're going to see Blood Moon come right back. One of the most powerful
What do you
cards
mean
in the
come right back? I think people aren't playing it because they don't want to be jerks, not
that's
because
on
it's not
purpose.
good. It's not. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, the mono red players are playing it because they want to be jerks now. They just want everyone to have mountain. Play more basics. Come on.
Yeah, this was. I think I've tended so far towards, you know, when it's close, this thing that goes in the most amount of decks.
Yeah.
So this was for me, Felwar Stone was the most amount of decks, and Maze of Ith was the second for me because it also is similar.
Yeah, it's a great card.
Yeah,
Not a land, by the way. Don't treat it as a land in your deck. It is a spell.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a spell, yeah.
But I play a lot of Felwar Stone. Like if you look at my decks, it's like up there with Arcane Signet type of deal because I tend to like 3+ color decks. So
It's the original Arcanes.
yeah, it really is.
yeah.
I picked Maze of Ith just because this card still sees so much play. If you want a Maze of Ith, it's the only one. You can still get messed up by a Maze of Ith in 2020.
It's awesome.
Where you're like, I can't.
Your opponents
get
can. Wait, I can't attack because you have a Maze of Ith open, and you're going to help them. Yeah.
It's so fun. It's so political. It like putting a Maze of Ith into a multiplayer format is just a mess.
Yeah.
And so I really find it so difficult to replace.
Yeah, I think my Blood Moon pick is actually best as in like affects the game the hardest for a very minimal amount of work. And so it is mean, for sure. It could be best in the mean category as well. But I just see that card and I'm like, man, if this gets played in 99% of my games, it completely changes what's happening.
Yeah.
It's undoubtedly the most powerful at its top end of the three cards that we mentioned.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
But best is in friendly.
Oh God!
No way.
It's time to talk about the set we've all been waiting to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Fallen Empires.
Yeah, no, keep the alarm going. Just keep it going. We don't have much to talk about here.
One of the historically worst sets of all time, and doing the research, that stood up. There was like nothing there.
Nothing, yeah.
And is this the first one where all three of us agree?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because there was only one choice on this one. I picked High Tide.
High Tide.
Yeah.
Sweet Mana
It's
Delver.
literally the only card that you look at the set and it's like anybody plays ever.
Yeah.
Wasn't horrible.
And even High Tide is like super dangerous in multiplayer.
Yeah.
Right.
You only play it in very specific decks. It's still pretty
still
narrow.
remote.
And even that, it's like so cheap still. Like they've reprinted High Tide so many times that it's not even valuable.
It would be cheap even if they'd never reprinted because there was a lot of Fallen Empires.
That too.
Yeah,
That too.
There was a ton of it.
Well, High Tide's the best from Fallen Empires, but that's a very shallow pool. We're going to get into the next set in just a minute, but first we need to mention our sponsors.
Oh, yeah.
At cardkingdom.com/command, we're going to be talking about a lot of super, super iconic cards that have different printings, different sets have been reprinted multiple times, and you can shop for them all in one place at Card Kingdom because you can just paste in that list. It'll tell you all of the stuff that they have in stock. You can pick the one that fits your budget, that fits your deck, fits the flavor, all on one page, select them, and you can buy and get back to your busy life. I'm always frustrated when I'm trying to find the right Magic card and I've got 15 tabs open and they all show up in different envelopes. And it's nice that when you shop from Card Kingdom because you know that they've got a ton of the cards that you're looking for in one place. It's going to show up safely and on time on your doorstep. So use our affiliate link and you're supporting the show at cardkingdom.com/command.
And then keep your cards protected. Go to ultrapro.com/command to protect your collection or to show it off in a number of ways, whether you're putting it into a binder, a little card slab to show it off to your friends at your table, or perhaps a brand new deck and some sweet Apex sleeves. ultrapro.com/command has all of the gaming accessories to make your collection really rockin' awesome. So maybe you're buying every single one of the top cards and of course keep them protected. And we love their Apex sleeves. It's best shelf feel in the business. They finally started doing full color prints on the sleeves as well, so you can see a color from top to bottom, and then they'll have like a sweet design on the inside. So they're constantly innovating, making new stuff as well, and you can keep up to date. Go to ultrapro.com/command.
And of course, the final way to support all of our content is directly If you go to patreon.com/commandzone, you can get all kinds of cool perks like watching game nights and extra turns earlier than the general public. Also, we shout out one lucky patron every single episode. It's really long. This is a big dedication.
This is big.
Yeah, you get maybe the biggest dedication we've ever had as far as length of episode. This episode is dedicated to Jared Davenport. Jared,
you rock.
You rock. All right, let's get back to it here. We are on to Ice Age.
Ooh. This one honestly was not as deep as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's pretty shallow. There's only really like 3 or 4 in
iconic set,
right?
cards not so much. Yeah.
What'd you pick, Josh?
All right, I picked Mystic Remora.
I also picked Mystic Remora.
I picked Necropotence.
Yep. That's a good one too.
Yeah, that's definitely the most powerful of mine.
Those are easily the top 2, the ones I was deciding between.
Yeah.
The other one that I was looking at is Demonic Consultation, because it is just so famously a win con in Commander with us as Oracle. But for the kind of Commander that we play, for the kind of Commander that gets impacted at large, it feels like Mystic Remora and Necropotence see a lot more general play.
Yeah, Mystic Remora being 1 mana is just really good. So good turn 1, even just dropping it later on and later turns when you can pay that upkeep cost, not worry about it, and just draw 4 or 5 cards off it. The rate's amazing.
But Necropotence, you just
draw your whole deck.
Yeah.
The 40 life being a part of the commander, of course, black, very restricted to just specific decks, but it's just so easy to make a win from that position.
Necropotence was also format defining in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Where like Necropotence saw play in a ton of different decks. Some of the most powerful decks were really built around Necropotence, getting it onto the battlefield, using that high life total and the most powerful cards in Magic history. The only other one on this list was like Nature's Lore.
Oh yeah, Ramp is beginning to become a thing.
Yeah, and Nature's Lore is good, still sees a ton of play, but it's really hard to compete with the uniqueness of Mystic Remora and Necropotence.
There are 12 different versions of Nature's Lore at this point too, so it's hard to call that out as the most powerful or the best at this point. A little
it does bring in an untap though, which is unique, right?
Yeah,
forced only.
All right, let's move on to the next set that we're all just raring to get to. It's Homelands.
So excited.
Another historically bad set, a la Fallen Empires. And again, we see we're all going to pick the same thing here. Sorry to kill the suspense. Merchant Scroll is what I chose.
Merchant Scroll.
Yeah, great tutor. Very powerful.
It's really the only choice.
Yeah.
You looked at this set and there was nothing else. Even because I don't play a lot of Merchant Scroll, do you?
No, I've never put a Merchant Scroll in a deck, but I was like, you could play Merchant Scroll.
I was like, this is a card I have seen cast. There was literally nothing else that even fit that bill.
All right.
Somebody out there is going to name some card like, I got this in my that deck. Okay.
You're right.
I haven't played against you, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Merchant Scroll taking the cake for Homelands, but there's not much more to say. Let's move on to Alliances. This one's a lot more interesting.
Yeah, we're starting to see the power level ramp up a bit now, Star.
Yeah, I still say Alliances are pretty shallow. There wasn't a ton of choices here. I chose Force of Will.
I chose Feldergriff.
You had to.
Yeah.
I also chose Force of Will. First showing of a free counter spell, still the best one, even though we have other versions of it now. It's insane.
The reason I chose Feldergriff is it was for me, it really defined an archetype in Commander. It was the poster child for Group Hug for a long time, which is starting to be a bigger and bigger archetype. I think Ms. Bumbleflower has maybe passed it in terms of recognizability.
It ain't no hippo.
But Feldergriff was also one of the earliest commanders that wasn't an Elder Dragon. Sheldon famously had a Feldergriff deck at the very beginning of the format, so it felt to me that I was like, this card is what Commander wanted for so long, was like, okay, how do we play this bad card and use it to make something interesting? So for me, Feldergriff is a Commander best.
Yep. I like it. Other honorable mentions here, Arcane Denial. I think we obviously see a lot more of that in play. Like famously not a great card, and 10 Commander shows up and it's like, actually, this is kind of nice. It takes the edge off a counter spell. Doesn't necessarily set you so far behind, but still is when you need it. It's great. So
yeah, it's easy on the mana base was the big thing.
Yeah.
And I think Force of Will suffers from kind of what we said with Mana Drain, where it's too powerful. Blood Moon maybe from that being a little too mean. So you purposely keep it out of the deck. Like if we were all just trying to make the most powerful versions of the decks we're building, we'd play a lot more Force Wills. I don't play that many just because we're not, because of brackets and things like that, you're not looking for that type of gameplay, or a lot of the times the pods you're in aren't. So
yeah, my Feldergriff deck has a Force of Will.
Whoa. It's an Alliances.
It's an Alliances deck.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next set. This one is Mirage.
Yeah.
All right, again, a little shallow. I chose Mystical Tutor.
I went with Rampant Growth on this one.
Yeah, I also went with Rampant Growth, which is interesting. I guess Nature's Lord couldn't compete in Ice Age, but I feel like this card is the most iconic, one of the most iconic Commander cards to me.
Yeah, I mean, it named ramp, right?
Yeah. Best is in power level, probably not mystical tutor level. Also in this set, worldly tutor, enlightened tutor, a lot of tutors. You could choose any of those and made an argument for them, right?
I agree that mystical is kind of the most iconic of the three, or the hardest to replace. Enlightened is like next closest for me. But Rampant Growth for me was just like, if we're talking about commander players that have cast any of these cards, Rampant Growth is so high on the list.
True.
Yeah, Rampant Growth is, I think it still is, but at least for a long time, it was like the most played green card. And green is, probably the most played color in Commander. Yeah, I really thought about Rampant Growth for a long time, but I eventually, it sort of fell into the Nature's Lore category where I was like, it is iconic, but if I think it's the best card from the set, I don't, just because there's a lot of replacement.
Yeah, these days especially, yeah.
And Mystical Tutor is not very replaceable. And also, iconic. I don't play a lot of tutors, so I play a lot more Rampant Growth than Mystical Tutors. But like, if you ask me it's kind of like Force of Will. If you ask me what's best, I think it's that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is Visions. This is a much more shallow pool.
Yes. Well, again, we all choose the same thing. So Vampiric Tutor.
Vampiric Tutor.
Yeah.
Yummy. Any
The
card.
only
one
other
mana.
choice I even thought about was Teferi's Puzzle Box.
Yeah, I actually love Teferi's Puzzle Box and almost put it as my answer.
It's a super unique effect.
Super unique effect, very fun in Commander, is definitely the kind of card that people look at and go like, whoa!
Yeah,
like
wait a
it sort
minute.
of blows minds a little bit.
Yeah.
But Vampiric Tutor is so powerful, it's so iconic. It's really hard to beat all of the things that go into Vampiric Tutor, especially from just sheer playedness. Vampiric Tutor is the second most played tutor in the format.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we even said that, Demonic Tutor was like on the list of possibilities with Soul Ring and Wheel of Fortune as like something you could even, you wouldn't be crazy to choose out of Alpha Beta Revise. And Vampiric Tutor is like similar power level to Demonic. So it makes sense that, it falls to a set that's only got like two choices.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Also, like a lot of Commander players reject tutors, but many Commander players don't.
Yeah.
So there's
we don't make a value judgment on tutors when
Yeah.
we say we don't necessarily play them. We don't find that for our gameplay, but I acknowledge that they're very powerful, and I don't get mad when people play them against me. It makes sense. Like I don't think there's any like moral imperative to not play tutors.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a personal preference thing, and I mean,
It's a bracket thing too.
It's a bracket thing.
Yeah.
And if you're playing a deck that doesn't have as much support, tutors are sort of what you need to compete. So, nice to give a nod to one of the more iconic tutors in the format. Let's move on to the next set. This is Weatherlight.
This set was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So it was like bottom of the barrel stuff. There was nothing that I thought was even that good, but I chose Mindstone.
I went with Mindstone as well.
I chose Lotus Veil. I love these types of lands where it's like gotta sack it, but then boom, you get a lot of extra mana from them. I'm kind of that player.
Yeah, I mean, that really sort of led to Bounce Lands and Lotus Field, and that card sort of ballooned into other ones. I picked Mindstone just because it was one of those cards that can go in any deck. It's sort of like Fellwar Stone that shows up a lot. We still play it a lot.
Replacing itself is huge too.
Yeah.
So many times someone's
sure.
like, oh crap, they have a Mind Stone that can crack next turn. It's like,
Yeah.
shoot, I did not want them to see an extra card.
Mindstone is really interesting because it's one of those untapped 2-mana rocks that, like, normally I tap my rocks first when I'm tapping mana just because you never know what'll happen.
Right.
Mindstone you like to leave untapped in case something happens and you need to cycle it. So
Yeah.
it still lives in a mostly unique place for a 2-mana rock.
Yeah, to me, I chose it because it sees the most play like a Fellwar Stone. Like I still play Mindstone like quite a lot.
Yeah.
And none of the other cards were, I thought, powerful enough to trump that sort of broad usage.
Yeah.
Even though I do play a Lotus Veil here and there. The other choices that were worth considering were Scorched Ruins and Winding Canyons.
Oh, that
I
card
do
is-
love me a Winding Canyons, but again, it's narrow. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next set, which honestly, I think this was one of the toughest decisions of all of Magic history. It's Tempest.
All right, so I chose Ancient Tomb.
I went with Living Death.
I too went with Ancient Tomb, although I had to change my pick recently because I realized.
What'd you start with?
I think I said Reanimate originally. Yeah.
This is a really tough one. It was a really deep pool of very iconic cards for Commander.
Yeah, I don't know that it was deep. Like there were, but there was a bunch of cards that, like, there was a handful that were like all in contention.
Yeah.
Like there's not 15 or even 10 really good cards, but there were 5 that were like all. Yeah, I agree with our choices as far as I think these were the top 2 though.
Yeah,
and these were the ones where I was like, It was close.
The reason I picked Living Death over Ancient Tomb, which is a much more powerful card. Ancient Tomb is completely busted, especially in a format with 40 life. Living Death for me defines an archetype. And I've done that for a lot of these where it's like, if you're playing a self-mill deck, if you're playing a graveyard deck, you're playing Living Death. And you probably have like a plan to find Living Death or get Living Death back. It is like a cornerstone of decks to this day, where Ancient Tomb is sort of like, can be put in any deck and has that ubiquity, but Living Death for me is just like, nothing comes close.
Yeah, it's a crazy card.
Yeah.
Usually, if it's played, correctly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't cast it if it's bad for you. So you're only going to see it in really good instances. You don't know when it's in their hand and they're like, well, you Bojuku bogged me, so I can't do this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is another classic. We just have a sort of philosophical difference sometimes, which is like, it's similar to Mindstone and Fellwar Stone in that like broad usage, very powerful, can kind of go in any deck.
Yeah.
But some other good choices here: Reanimate, Propaganda, Ultra of Dementia, Josh's favorite, and Goblin Bombardment.
A lot of really good stuff that sees a lot of play this day.
Honestly, my number 2 was like, oh no, it was Propaganda. Propaganda's a commander
card.
effect. I love Propaganda, and it led to an archetype as well.
Yeah.
All right, but we're moving on. We're moving on.
Sorry, Alarm.
It's Stronghold. This is an interesting one.
This is one where we all
Chose something different.
ones.
Yeah.
So I chose Grave Pact.
I went with Burgeoning.
I chose Mox Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I chose a lot of expensive cards on my best cards, but this card is really powerful, obviously.
Rachel, you said it like you were surprised what your choice was.
I had Grave Pact originally, and then I was like, Burgeoning is the kind of card that like it explodes once you put it in multiplayer situations, and it sort of was, the context really shaped how what the card was. So Burgeoning, I think, was sort of uniquely a commander card, but Grave Pact is too.
Card's absurd.
And obviously Mox Diamond is completely powerful.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This one was really tough for me because I didn't love any of the answers.
These all feel like sort of like my first era playing Commander. I would see a lot more of these types of cards, especially Burgeoning and Grave Pact. I feel like they've gotten less because obviously Grave Pact just redefines a battlefield in the way that people don't like often. Same with even the Tempest stuff like Reanimate and all those cards. So it's interesting. Yeah, I think it was really close and we all have very different reasons, but they're all clearly, in the right context, the most powerful.
Yeah, I think Mox Diamond is the most broad.
Super inaccessible card, but great card.
Yeah. And it is dangerous. Like, there are downsides to playing that card. And in like hyper casual settings, it's maybe not even that great because of that. Grave Pact to me was just so powerful. And like in those decks, it's kind of like Living Death. And I didn't think there was something broad enough to sort of supplant the fact that in the narrower instances, it's very good. I think Burgeoning's really good too. But again, it's kind of narrow. And even in landfall decks, I don't always play it. So the other two that were in contention on our list were Intruder Alarm.
Super combo.
Super powerful, but even more narrow.
Yeah.
But very combo-y. And Constant Mists, which is an old favorite of mine, but I don't really allow myself to play anymore because it just kind of, a lot of decks just can't beat it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it feels mean.
We're moving on to Exodus.
Yeah, it's a fun set.
Josh?
Survival of the Fittest.
I went with Soul Warden.
Very Rachel pick. I also said Survival of the Fittest.
I'm noticing I'm picking a lot of tutors, and I don't play tutors. But I recognize how powerful they are.
I know.
Survival is pretty iconic, too, so it checks a lot of boxes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Survival is one of those cards that's just like when it's on the battlefield, it defines the shape of the game. So definitely from a power level perspective, I picked Soul Warden because of the multiplayer aspect where it's like, it still sees a ton of play today. We still get reprints of Soul Warden and they're still seeing a ton of play. It's almost like a Blood Artist effect where it's just become the symbol of a play style.
Yeah, the Soul Sisters too.
Yeah, the Soul Sister element of it. But this set was pretty deep in terms of very powerful cards in Commander. Coat of Arms was one I actually thought about.
Me too.
It's such a mess and it's so powerful in multiplayer.
Honestly, that was my second. Was Coat of Arms. Yeah.
That was my next one as well.
Reconnaissance is also there. Culling the Weak.
That's a
City
ritual.
of Traders, and then Recurring Nightmare, which is banned.
But
just
banned for a reason.
Yeah.
Banned for a reason.
Yeah.
It's funny we still consider that a Commander card because it's like everyone that wants it so badly.
It's such a
card's broken.
Yeah, but it's
a card like Prophet of Crew Fixes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, order that engine. Paradox.
All right. You want to move on to the next one?
Let's do it. The next one is a very powerful set. It's Urza's Saga.
Yeah, this is historically known as one of the most powerful sets that was ever printed and led to a lot of changes in design because it was too powerful. It was so powerful. I chose Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah. For accessibility reasons and playability reasons, I picked Windfall for this one.
Yeah, I also said Guy's Cradle here. I've just seen too many nasty things.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most powerful
It's
card.
absurd, yeah. Windfall is a great choice, so I do like that option in there because it's the first time Blue sees this kind of effect, right, to this level. It's not like a time spiral or whatever.
It's also still like the most accessible wheel in Commander, right?
Yeah.
Like in terms of like reprint value, and it still sees a ton of play. It's really good in the decks that want it. And wheels are so good in multiplayer, especially one that lets you dump your hand and like you can use asymmetrically when your opponent's ahead.
Yeah, I play way more Windfalls than I do Guys Cradles.
Oh, yeah.
So from that standpoint, like it's a really good pick, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it was number 2 for me. But Cradle is sort of
It's
historically
Cradle,
powerful.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful cards that exists in the format. So when it came to best, I guess I just erred on the side of power.
It definitely is the most powerful.
Let's list off the murderer's row of other things that are
ridiculous.
Guy's Cradle's sibling, Sarah's Sanctum.
Sarah's Sanctum, so good.
Yawgmoth's Will.
Yep.
Gilded Drake.
Oh my god.
Raider Good. That could have made an option there. Phyrexian Tower. Exploration. Sneak Attack. Gamble. Carpet of Flowers.
Just a ton of cards that you still see all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. What a set.
What a set.
What a set.
All right, let's move on to the next one, which is, this is in the block structure. So there are 3 Urza's sets. The next one is Urza's Legacy.
Yeah, this one's tough.
Yeah, it was a little bit shallower. There weren't as many,
Yeah.
but yeah, still some good stuff. I chose Grim Monolith.
That's a good answer. I picked Mother of Runes.
Oh, I said Goblin Welder.
Ooh.
Say it right, Rachel.
Mother of Runes.
Runes.
Excuse me.
Yeah, well, all 3 of these cards are
Yeah.
really good.
I don't think either of you are crazy here.
Nope.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Jeff, those are both really good.
My Goblin Welder gets my Grim Monolith back. You know?
Yeah, there you
go.
Or swaps it out.
That's a combo.
Yeah.
I picked Mom just because it was like when that card's on the battlefield, it
changes the whole game.
Unstoppable.
That card's so annoying.
It's so
play it,
annoying.
You're like, oh no, it's gonna be a
Now
problem.
what?
It's gonna be such a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what particularly problem it's going to cause, but it's just gonna cause them. Yeah.
Whatever it is, I know it's bad for me.
Yeah.
Welder's great though. Welder definitely like is the kind of card that like if you're playing a Welder deck, Welder's the first card you put in it.
Yeah, I think Welder's one of those cards when I first, because I would read Grim Monolith and be like, yeah, I've seen this type of thing before I get it. Mana Vault existed or whatever. You look at Welder, you're like, holy moly, what? It does what? And then it sort of gets my combo brain spinning. It was one of the first cards that had me like in that cool mode. So I think I give it some credit there for that. We didn't mention, there's another game changer in here that we didn't even mention. Crop Rotation's in here.
Crop rotation. Yeah.
Memory Jar and Deranged Hermit. There's some fun cards in the Urza sets.
Yeah. I thought Crop Rotation was like in contention.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had Welder as number 2. And probably Mother of Runes as number 3. I didn't really think that far ahead.
Yeah.
We only pick one.
I didn't create a full ranking. Yeah.
400 cards.
You know, at the Olympics, anyone in the top 8 could be first, second, and third. You know,
That's
it's
true.
got one of those feelings here a little bit. You know.
All right, let's move on to Urza's Destiny, the third in the Urza block. Josh?
Also very powerful. A lot of things in the mix here. I chose Thran Dynamo.
I went with Urza's Incubator.
And I said Metalworker.
This was
all
really
colorless.
interesting. All colorless. Makes sense for Urza.
Yeah.
Thran Dynamo was my next pick. I think it's like, it is a symbol of what big artifact ramp looks like.
4 for 3. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I once again went for, I guess, for broad usage. So Thran Dynamo, a card that I still play quite a bit. I think Metalworker also in a similar mold, but a little bit more narrow. In that Thran Dynamo goes in artifact decks, but also there are some non-artifact decks that want to play it, and Metalworker is in all the artifact decks if you've got access to it.
If you have it,
is
yeah.
insane. So from a power level, Metalworker is probably the most powerful card on this list.
A little hard to get off though. I think like
it's definitely a little
so
bit.
often you see Thran Dynamo into something else and you're like, whoa, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Metalworkers like land it and be like, please don't touch it.
But sometimes you tap it and you're like, add 12.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah.
I picked Urza's Incubator because for me, this is such a commander card.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
so-
like, my dragons cost less, my angels cost less. This is like what we came to do is cast these big, dumb creature types.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're all ramp, right? And they all
true.
do so at different rates. Thran Dynamo does it right when it comes down and pumps a lot later. Metalworker's the turn later, but it can equal Thran Dynamo's output in like 4 turns in 1 turn. And Urza's Incubator could get you that mana over like 3 or 4 creatures.
Yeah, you abuse them all in slightly different ways.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't really think about that. Other ones in contention were Replenish,
Oof, good card.
Academy Rector, Yavimai Hollow, and of course, Raphaelos.
Yep. He didn't last long, but he made an impact while I was here.
Yeah, it turns out Urza is just out here breaking formats.
I mean, that block is nuts. So yeah. Okay.
Urza himself too.
All right, we've got lots more sets to go. So go get a drink or something like that, or stick around because we've got a few words from our sponsors. This message is sponsored by RAYCON.
So if X is 8, I draw 256 cards. Hey, I didn't hear you come in. I'm Tam, mindful first year. Ever since getting back to school, I've got a lot to catch up on. That means no drifting off and no wandering into portals. I've got to live up to my mindful moniker. So to help me lock in on my mathemagics, I blast my favorite tunes on RAYCON's Everyday Earbuds Classic. I've been using them constantly since I got them, and my focus has increased exponentially. The active noise cancellation gives me hexproof from all distractions, blocking out those yapping silver quills and the Prismari band practice outside my window. Plus, they've got multi-point connectivity, quick charge functionality, 32-hour battery life, and my favorite mechanic of all, vivid new colors. I went with Cool Mint to show my Quandrix pride, but they all look great. Of course, the best thing about RAYCONs for someone on a college student budget is they cost just half the price of other premium brands. Now, if you'll excuse me, it is time to lock back in. These fractals aren't going to expand them, so wait, never mind. Oh no.
The Everyday Earbuds Classic are perfect for refreshing your routine this spring. Go to buyraycon.com/command to get 20% off. That's buyraycon.com/command for 20% off. Thanks, Raycon, for sponsoring.
And for ramp, I've got...
Hey, Rachel.
Huh?
Down here, sleepyhead. It's me, Dream Devourer.
Oh God, my cards are talking to me. I must be dreaming.
You're not, that's the problem. I'm starving for dreams here, but you spend all night tossing and turning instead of sleeping, and now look at yous.
I mean, I guess I have been a little tired lately.
Exactly. You need a new mattress from Brooklyn Bedding. These things are a dream come true, and I should know. I got myself the Aurora Lux cooling mattress, and now I'm dozing comfortably all night long. Brooklyn Bedding mattresses are built for spinal alignment and back health, and they got options for every body type and sleep style, even in hard-to-find sizes. And look, I'm foretelling you're gonna love it, but even if you don't, they got a 120-night comfort trial where you can swap and return it hassle-free.
That actually sounds great. I'm gonna order one right now.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna feast tonight.
Ugh. All right, you're getting cut.
Oh.
Go to brooklynbedding.com and use our promo code COMMAND at checkout to get 30% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. That's brooklynbedding.com and use promo code COMMAND for 30% off site-wide. Support our show and let them know we sent you after checkout. Again, brooklynbedding.com, promo code COMMAND.
Behold, as the curtain rises on me, Gilwain, casting director! When I put together a live play show of tabletop game Jails and Giants, I had no idea it would take off into a multimedia empire! I like wearing a lot of different hats on stage, but now between merch sales and inventory and finances, I'm juggling a ton of different roles. Thank goodness there's Shopify to help me set the stage for success. Building an online shop seemed like a monster of a task, but Shopify's beautiful built-in templates made it easy to skip straight to opening night. And their marketing tools make me feel like a sorcerer, letting me reach fans all over the world instantly with email and social media campaigns. Plus, I always get the royal treatment. Their award-winning customer support is available 24/7 with no intermissions. It's no wonder Shopify gets a standing ovation from brands like Allbirds and the Command Zone. Now, if you'll excuse me, Kevin London Mulligan is about to kick off tonight's performance. Bravo!
Start your business today with the industry's best business partner, Shopify, and start hearing... Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/TCZ. Go to shopify.com/TCZ. That's shopify.com/TCZ.
One fish, two fish, red fish, clue fish.
Dr. Seuss?
No, I'm working on Morphon Fish Typal. Just want to make sure I have enough fish to actually draw some.
Oh, well, you should use ARCHIDEKT's hypergeometric calculator. See? ARCHIDEKT makes it easy to check your chances of drawing what you need, whether it's a certain creature type, mana value, or category of cards, like ramp or draw spells. I use it to check my land count. See, in this deck, you only have a 61% chance of drawing 3 lands by turn 2. Might be a little low.
Okay, I'll cut a basic or two.
Wait, you mean add?
Nope, I've got a reputation to uphold.
ARCHIDEKT is the best place to browse, brew, and playtest commander decks. Just go to archidekt.com/commandzone to get started.
That's ARCHIDEKT.com/commandzone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are talking about the most powerful commander card. Well, the best.
The best.
The best
Can be the
commander
most
card
powerful.
from each set ever.
Standard legal.
And the next set that we're getting into is not one known for its power level, but is a beloved set. It's Mercadian Masques.
Yeah, and it did have a couple at the top end, but not very deep at all.
Yeah.
Mercadian Masques famously it was the response to the Urza sets.
Yes.
And they were like, better not make it powerful like that.
Can't do that.
It's over. Yeah. Anyway, I chose.
Let's print the same card we all chose.
You can tell when it's not a powerful set. We usually are all on the same page.
Yeah.
I chose Food Chain.
Food
I
Chain.
did as well.
Yum, yum.
For me, Food Chain is like such a commander card.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's great, it's powerful in other formats, but the fact that we have the command zone and the Food Chain can go infinite is like, it's exactly what like busted commander is to me.
Yeah, it has so many infinite combos. Prosh first infamously made this famous to me when I first started playing. Yeah, great card.
And not a ton of answers, honestly, to this question. There was High Market, Snuff Out, and Bribery were all cards that we listed. I still play a fair amount of High Market, but I think in terms of iconic and ness and representation in the format, Food Chain's hard to beat.
Yeah, I think High Market is the most broad choice. It's the Felwar Stone, Mind Stone answer, but because Food Chain is so top-end powerful, it's, that takes the cake for sure.
Yeah, you still see it a fair amount too, I think.
All right, let's move on to the next one. It's Nemesis.
Woo!
All right, I chose Submerge.
I went with Core Haven.
Yeah, I also went with Core Haven, but man, Submerge was real close behind.
Submerge is great.
That card has led to so many blowouts.
I love Submerge. It's like a quote-unquote secret little card that not a lot of people play, but it's just a really efficient removal that people don't see coming. I love to be tricky. Core Haven, I don't really play.
I play a lot more Core Haven.
I do too.
It saved my butt a lot.
Yeah. I've got it in a couple decks because I have a couple Legendary Matters decks, so Core Haven like synergizes really well there. But also it's like Mazavith, where it just sits there and is like, you can attack me, but it's not going to do anything, and then they don't.
Yep. Yeah, Threat of Activation, very powerful.
Which is pretty cool on a land. The other one that we should mention here is Sky Shroud Claim is in this set. It's really powerful. Like, it was of a time where it was the best explosive vegetation you could do.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, getting two untapped lands.
Untapped?
Yeah.
Pretty
It's a totally
good
different
for
proposition than getting two tap lands.
Absolutely.
I would have had Sky Shroud Claim as my number 2.
Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't have been a crazy pick here. And there's probably some people out there going to be like, yeah, the Sky Shroud Claim. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
Submerge.
Totally
you know what? You're not wrong.
Yeah, you can bounce things 1,000 different ways.
I like it. Let's move on to the next one. It'll
Speaking
be quick.
of cards we like.
It's Prophecy.
Yeah, in Prophecy, I chose Rhystic Study.
Really? No way.
It's
Impossible.
Rhystic Study.
It's Rhystic Study, yeah.
And it's not even
by a mile. Not even by a mile, by like 20 miles. It's crazy, yeah.
I don't even think I like put it into Scryfall before I wrote Rhystic Study down.
Look at the other option.
That's how well you know, yeah.
I think I checked to just see if there was anything
just
else.
in case.
I'm trying to think like what other cards could even possibly, if like you took any card from any other set, like make me choose over, like Soul Ring maybe. Like,
Soul Ring, yeah.
Soul Ring just happened to
like
come out in the same
Swords
set.
probably would be higher for
Rhystic
me.
Study for me.
Yeah.
But like, Rhystic Study is just talk about cards that were changed by multiplayer.
Yeah. It's got that.
This card's kind of bad for a long time.
Yeah.
Like people, most competitive players and stuff in regular 1v1 Magic would have called this card bad.
Actively bad, yeah.
And now a lot of people are like, this should be banned.
Yeah.
That's the change from multiplayer, or from 1v1 to multiplayer.
Yeah.
What else was in this set that was even worth considering?
Spore Frog?
Fog Frog. It's cute.
Fog Frog, yeah. Calming Verse, all right. Blow some stuff up.
Yeah.
I have a special place in my heart for Calming Verse, but yeah, it's like it's like
Compared to
high
Rhystic
school
Study.
football versus the NFL best player in Rhystic Study. Yeah.
Not even close.
Give it Little League, even in high school, just how far away Rhystic Study is,
The next set actually had a fair amount of options, but we still settled on the same thing. Let's see if you do as well. It's Invasion.
Ooh.
Yep, I chose Phyrexian Altar.
Yeah, Phyrexian Altar.
It's a great one. I didn't choose Ashnod's Altar, but I did go for Phyrexian Altar here.
I think the competition was different here.
Yeah, for sure.
Phyrexian Altar is just, it's like Ashnod's Altar, in some ways better, sometimes worse, but that they don't do this anymore. They made those two, and then they were like, hey, we shouldn't do that. Like that's that's not
why.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. That's kind of broken. Yeah.
We talk about this all the time, where if there was a card that just said sacrifice a creature : nothing. That card's super playable.
It's super playable.
We absolutely play that card. So the fact that this puts you up mana is just like,
It leads to so many combos, and colored mana at that, at least Ashnod's has a little bit of guardrails.
Working
and, like,
around,
there's certain
yeah.
things you can't do because you need colored mana to do it. And Phyrexian Altar's like, well, let's fix that.
Yeah.
Or fix, quote unquote.
Yeah.
They just don't make them like they used to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I'm glad, which thank God.
They better not. Yeah. I do love the other options here, though.
I agree.
Aura Shards, what a card. Factor of Fiction, Empress Galena, Mean, Opt, Sterling Grove, Captain Sisay, like all just great cards.
Captain Sisay is the next closest for me in terms of like iconic commander cards. Like Captain Sisay sort of was such a boogeyman for so long. It still sees play. I have a Captain Sisay.
Yeah, we haven't chosen a legendary creature as the best card from a set yet.
I have.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Feldergriff.
So sorry. Didn't mean to disrespect Feldergriff.
That feels like a personal choice.
Yeah. Aura Shards within my second. That card has ruined many of my games.
And that's what makes it the best.
Yep. Ruining Jimmy Wong's games.
All right, let's go on to the next set. This is Plane Shift.
Yeah. And we all chose something different here, which is great.
We did.
I really like our choices.
Yeah, not a lot of choices, and we all chose something different. So this is kind of like different than the past ones where there wasn't a lot of choices.
Yeah.
We all tend to settle the same way. Yeah, I chose Terminate.
I went with Eladamri's Call.
And I said Diabolic Intent. So 2 tutors there and a really efficient removal spell, right?
Yeah, this was a really tough one. I was between Eladamri's Call and Terminate just felt replaceable, especially in 2 colors, despite being like super playable and still I still
sees a
run
lot
it
of play.
Terminate.
Yeah.
Eladamri's Call is like the instant speed creature tutor of it all. It means today when creatures are so powerful that Eladamri's Call might as well be an instant speed demonic tutor in some decks.
Yeah, I actually like the sack element of Diabolic Intent. We were just talking about that with sack outlets. I think when this card is good, it really feels nice in the deck. And every time I play it in decks that want it, it's like, oh, I don't feel bad about this tutor. Where I often am like, do I really need to be tutoring here?
Sure.
In this build or whatever.
Yeah, I think both your picks are better than my pick here. The more I think about it. I don't know which I'd choose between the two because Diabolic Intent is a little more narrow, but like it just does go in those decks. And Eladamri's Call is like 2 color and only gets creatures, which makes it more broad because a lot more decks are relying on creatures than want to sacrifice their own things. So yeah, I agree with you. I think Terminate. I don't know what I was thinking exactly. Whatever time of night it was when I chose this.
I picked a lot of tutors. I'm going to go a different way.
Yeah, it could have been just like the mood at that moment was that. But I think if I'm talking best card, I think both of your picks are better than mine.
Might we interest you in a Nightscape Familiar?
Yeah, the only other thing that was in contention was Nightscape Familiar, which is a really good card, but again, narrowing that it only does certain color combinations, but it just does go in those decks.
Yeah, but that cycle is really cool, the Familiar cycle. If you
honestly, I think Nightscape Familiar is better than Terminate too.
It skirts around the color restrictions by just being...
I don't know what happened.
Oh no, we talked about Plane Shift for 2 minutes. Let's go to Apocalypse.
What are we doing?
All right, Apocalypse. I chose Phyrexian Arena.
I did as well.
I chose Pernicious Deed here, but I think in terms of iconic, Phyrexian Arena has been outclassed by a fair number of things, but it's still very played and very much seen everywhere. I see it all the time still.
Yeah. I have Phyrexian Arena in a deck, so we also use it as the benchmark to like measure card draw stuff.
Totally.
To talk about like, oh, this is a Phyrexian Arena but better. This is like a Phyrexian Arena but fancy. And I still think of it as like a symbol of what the format was, and also what many people still play.
Yeah, they still put in precons and stuff. So, yeah.
I still play it once in a while. I don't think it's the best draw spell, but it'll do. And that's I think. In a few years, maybe we're not playing it anymore, and I would reassess. But right now, it's still seeing play, and it has seen play for a long time. I don't really play Pernicious Deeds anymore. Deed or Deeds?
Deed.
Pernicious Deed anymore. But it used to be.
Yeah.
Back when we started this podcast, Jimmy, Pernicious Deed was like one of the really like good board wipes there was, because you can kind of choose the size it's at.
Yeah.
But now everything
sits there and is like, I could do it.
Yeah.
I could do it if I wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
How do I play around
this? And Navinriel's Disc were the things where we codified sort of what you're supposed to do as an opponent, which is like, okay, everyone just attack the person until they pop that thing off, because otherwise the game can't progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what's happened is as the format has sped up, all things are smaller now.
Yeah.
And so it's just harder to run it in a deck where you can take advantage of it by just having things that survive it.
Yeah.
Generally, you're also running a deck that's just going to die to it too, and then it gets less good. It's just,
Yeah.
It's a fun one to pop for 0 when you got tokens on the board. Apocalypse also had the Pain Lands, the original Pain Lands. So those are still very popular.
Trying to play some of the best budget untapped lands.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, Chromat's here, Josh. Don't forget.
Chromat. Let us not forget.
Buddy.
All right, let's move on to the next set. This one is Odyssey.
Yep, I chose Entomb.
I went with Tainted Pact.
I also said Entomb.
Tutors.
Entomb, the first to do what it does at such a low mana rate, right? And so efficiently still. Yeah, I think it's just got that spot for me.
Yeah, I mean, Tainted Pact is just an exceptionally powerful Magic card, especially in a format that's already singleton for the most part.
Yeah.
It's like the building around Tainted Pact in Commander is not that hard. It's just play more non-basic lands, which we do already. I think Tainted Pact, in terms of just its competitive play, it sees more play than Entomb. But there wasn't a ton of options in this one. Honestly, the next one I was looking at was Time Stretch.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Time Stretch is such a Commander card. It's a big, crazy problem when it resolves.
Yeah, I still play a little bit of it. You don't have to run it in decks that are dedicated extra turns. You can be like, okay, I need big top end instant sorcery stuff. One of them will be Time Stretch, and it's like, I'm not chaining extra turns together. This is just powerful enough when you cast it on its own to be worth the mana. Yeah, so especially if you can reduce it or cheat it out in some way. Deserted Temple and Seize the Day were the other ones on our possible list.
Yeah, I like Seize the Day a lot. I play it a lot, but it is restricted to one creature untapping. But being able to do it from the graveyard is pretty nice to have a repeatable extra combat step.
If you've got an attack trigger on your Commander, Seize the Day is
or Voltron or that's your win cons to hit with Commander,
Yeah. All right, the next set is Torment.
It's a quick one.
This is going to be a quick one. I chose Cabal Coffers.
Yes, Cabal Coffers.
Yep. It's easily the best card here. There's nothing even close, yeah.
Nope. Yeah, I think we put an honorable mention just to be nice.
I put this on the list just because I wanted to give a shout out to an underrated card, but it's not even close to in contention. But Krosan Restorer is a card that is very good, better than you think it is. But Cabal Coffers is just like one of the more powerful cards in the format. And for years and years, I would put a little package in my deck, an expedition map and maybe one other thing, just for the Cabal Coffers Urborg piece. And that would just be like, okay, these 4 cards are just dedicated to that little package in decks that have black, because it is so powerful to get those 2 things online.
Yeah. I still only run it in mono black decks, but mono black's really fun to play, and it's extremely powerful there.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, as I've taken tutors out of my deck, I take Expedition Map out, and now I play a little bit less Cabal Coffers, and I'm down to 2-color decks. I don't really have any monocolor decks.
Yeah, it's 2-color for me for the most part. But having an Urborg makes this card go nuts, obviously, and sometimes your opponents just give it to you.
All right, let's move on to the next set. This one was actually kind of tricky for being a shallow set. It's Judgment.
Yeah.
I chose Anger.
I went with Anger as well.
I probably should have chose Anger, but I said Sylvan Safekeeper. I do play a lot more Anger, though, I would say.
I was going to say, how many decks do you even have Sylvan Safekeeper in?
2, maybe?
Yeah. I feel like it's a card, Sylvan Safekeeper, I always read it, and I'm like, this card's good, and I put it in decks, and I never really use it.
Yeah.
So then I end up taking it out being like, it just reads better than the usage.
Yeah, I do like that.
I want to sack my lands, that's where it shows up, and that's about it.
Yeah.
For me, this was between Anger and Wonder.
Okay.
I think that effect is so unique and so cool, and still sees so much play just because it's free. And
so
it was sort of the difference between an enabler like Anger and a win con like Wonder. And I ended up going with Anger because I just think it goes in more decks, but Wonder's sick.
Yeah, Wonder's great. Getting killed by Wonder is always fun.
Yeah.
Mirari's Wake was another one that was in contention, I think. And maybe 6-7 years ago had a better shot when the format was a little slower. Because that Mirari's Wake used to be like Boogeyman.
Oh, yeah.
One of the more powerful
creatures
cards.
too on top of it. Yeah,
borderline like 2015-ish, maybe Mirari's Wake it would have been the card we chose here. Although I think Anger would still probably be it. But Onslaught. We all have different ones.
We do. This is fun.
I chose Chain of Vapor.
I'm going to mention that we all know the fetch lands are in this set, but we didn't pick one individually.
Because you would have to say Polluted Delta lower, so you would have to pick one.
Yeah.
No.
I picked Insurrection.
Ooh,
wow.
I said Goblin Sharpshooter.
Ew.
All very different cards for different reasons, and more iconic to, I think, us as players. Because I've seen Josh has played a lot of Chain of Vapors on me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Chain of Vapor is still great, but I die to Insurrection all the time. I still die to Insurrection.
I can't remember the last time I saw an Insurrection.
Oh my gosh, I lost to an Insurrection 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good on you.
And it's I think it's sort of the symbol of you spend 10 mana, you win the game of
We used to refer to it a lot on the show as when we were talking in discussions, and then somebody casts, and it's Craterhoof or Insurrection. Those are the 2 cards.
Yeah.
And Craterhoof we still would mention, but Insurrection not as much these days.
Yeah, it's fallen out of favor a little bit, at least in our play groups, my play groups.
I think it's like if you've got kind of a chaosy, dirtily red deck, like Insurrection still goes in those decks and is still your top end plan. I don't think it always feels great to lose to an Insurrection, but I definitely have recently.
Well, sometimes the game needs end, as we say.
Jimmy, you chose a Tim, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I just this card, maybe it's just nostalgia factor, but the first time someone suited this thing with Death Touch, I was like, game's over, coolest thing ever, unbeatable. Yeah, clearly competitive EDH right now with Goblin Sharpshooter Death Touch. That's how it felt, at least. I was like, this can't be happening. This is impossible. How dare they?
Maybe one of the best top-down designs of all time. Goblin
It's so
great design.
I think that's
great design.
And the art, too. All the arts it's had over the years is great for me. Yeah.
There's some bangers, at least one in the honorable mention category, which is sort of more CEDH-y, which is a Phaedo Alchemist. More combo-y anyway, I would say.
Definitely combo-y.
Yeah, and then Arcanus the Omnipotent is more casual for sure, but very cool.
Super sick.
Oh no! All right.
You never get to live with Arcanus.
Yeah, the dream, for sure.
We have to move to Legions. This is not going to hit the buzzer, Josh.
Yeah, this one's easy. Seedborn Muse.
Yeah.
Seedborn Muse.
Not even close.
That is never not a problem.
Never not a problem. Game changer. And Legions, honestly, there just isn't that many options.
Yeah, they had Phage the Untouchable is the only one I could even see, but that's just more of like this is like a part of Commander, but no one actually really plays that much Phage.
Yeah, it's
not
cool.
a lot of cards that would have supplanted
Seedborn Muse, yeah.
They learned, they tried to do it one more time and that got banned, and then they were like, we probably shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, like Seedborn Muse is closer to bannable than so many cards. I'm not saying we're going to ban it. Jeez, relax.
Just chill
but
out,
like,
it's got risk
but in terms of like time equity and power level and just like play patterns that are being annoying, Seedborn
not
Muse
a lot of redundancy for it.
So high on the list.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next set. This one is Scourge.
This one was a little shallow, or I would say the overall power level was lower. There wasn't like anything that I would put in the high power level category, but there was a bunch of stuff in the mid.
Rachel's pick,
Sorry. Okay. Well, I picked Temple of the False God.
I picked Brain Freeze.
Yeah. I picked Sliver Overlord.
I love this pick.
Yeah.
This was my pick for a while.
That's my Feldegriff right here. Overlord. Plus, there's a lot more changelings these days, and I think changeling is just the thing that's going to keep happening. So cards like Sliver Overlord have greater just like fun appeal for that, and I think slivers are, even though I've never been a sliver enjoyer, I know how deep the love is certain players have for slivers.
Yeah. I mean, Sliver Overlord is iconic Commander stuff. Still is like the second most played.
So is Temple of the False God, I think, too.
I agree.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very kind of Commander card. We vacillate between it's overrated, it's underrated. I think it's probably currently on the underrated swing of the pendulum.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people are just like, you could never play it, and it's like, yes, you can.
You can.
Enough lands, you can.
When you play it, it is an
does
ancient
work.
tomb that doesn't do damage to you. So it is good in the right circumstances, and just like one of those cards that, early Commander, it was just like, you slam this in every deck because games are going long enough that you always get there.
Yeah.
I went with Brain Freeze. This is one of the most powerful cards of all time. It's really good with Underworld Breach, which makes it like still a combo card in especially top of like CDH combos, that kind of thing. But Brain Freeze is just, I think, an irreplaceable Magic card in its history. And
because they learned don't do that.
Don't do that again.
Appearance of Storm.
Stop doing that. But also, Brain Freeze just fuels so many really powerful engines and cannot really be replaced if it was lost in the format.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard to beat the power level here on this.
And casting on an opponent's turn is pretty fun.
Yeah, I do.
It's very good. It's so narrow, and you just never see it below CDH.
Yeah.
So,
before the timer runs out, other mentionable cards: Penman's Aura, very infinite card. Forgotten Ancient.
Timer.
Dragon Speaker Shaman.
All right, we're moving on to Mirrodin. We got there. It's fine. This is fast.
A lot in this one, but we're not going to argue about the top one. The best one, Lightning Greaves.
Lightning
Greaves.
I mean, it's really hard not to pick it. It's Soul Ring like as far as like how ubiquitous it is.
Equip costs 0. That's
really
0.
Yeah. Haste.
Who cares about the shroud part of it so much if it's hexproof?
I care
but the shroud's
I'm saying it's something that makes it difficult for your own. I'm saying in that way. But shroud is obviously incredibly good.
Right.
It's hexproof, but sometimes
it's the combination of the two. I think if it just gave shroud,
a
lot less usage. If it just gave haste, a lot less usage. But the fact that it gives both things, and decks that don't care about the shroud as much might want the haste, and decks that don't care about the haste as much probably want the shroud, and it's just like
Yeah, and
it's
the
so-
Quick Cause 0 on top of all.
It's so good just to like have it out and play anything and be like, now it's got haste. And even in decks that don't particularly want haste, you can still use that a lot of times.
Yeah.
Also, like the reason Lightning Greaves is iconic in Commander is the command zone.
Yeah.
Like you play Lightning Greaves when you have a commander that wants to attack or is too scary to live.
Yeah.
And so it's the kind of card that says like, okay, I can do the big scary thing that costs a lot of mana.
I'm set up for it.
because I have Lightning
I can
Greaves.
protect it.
Yeah, and
your whole
it-
deck's built around the one thing.
And like honestly, the rest of this set is great. Mirrodin's an insane set for Commander. It's just really hard to compete with Lightning Greaves.
Yeah.
There are the talismans, the artifact lands, Solemn Simulacrum, Gilded
Solemn,
Lotus,
right.
Fabricate, Isochron Scepter, Mesmeric Orb, Tooth and Nail, Chrome Mox. Wow.
Yeah, it's a completely insane.
It is a
set.
banger set. It has
These
a-
artifacts set some sense in the pattern here.
It is a bummer that Solemn didn't make it on this list.
yeah.
It's-
Well,
it's- you got Greaves,
honorable
that's
mention
it.
list
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while you have a great movie, but it comes out the same year as, you know,
The Titanic, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yep. All right, the next set in the Mirrodin block, it is Darksteel.
Oh yeah, Josh.
Same answer.
This one is another easy one where we're all going to agree. It's Skull Clamp.
Skull Clamp.
Oh, clamp.
Yep.
All right.
What is there to
Do we
say?
need to tell you why Skull Clamp's good?
What's the next closest? Like Sword of Fire and Ice?
The sword, yeah.
Darksteel Citadel, Arcbound Ravager, Memnarch.
Memnarch, oh yeah.
Memnarch's not even on that list. It's just fun to remember the days when it was oppressively good.
Pure menace.
Oh, good. We got wrecked by Memnarch.
It felt like the first time you faced a Memnarch, you're like, that deck's unbeatable.
Yeah,
Yep.
how
And now,
dare they?
Now it's like, that card's unplayable.
yeah.
You're like, you have to have infinite mana or it does nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. It's hard to compete with Skull Clamp.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
We've waxed poetic about it many times.
Maybe
Like what I
Dark-
say, if Skull Clamp's in your deck, it's probably the best card in your deck.
Yeah.
And the most fun.
Which makes it the best card in Darksteel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, the end of the Mirrodin block was Fifth Dawn, and I chose Eternal Witness.
I went with Crucible of Worlds.
I also went with Crucible of Worlds.
This one was tough, though.
Tough,
Fifth Dawn
yeah.
was tough.
I mean, the other options here are really good.
Yeah.
But Eternal Witness, too, I think, is this the first time that they have a true, I mean, outside of Regrowth, but on the creature?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, so I think with the amount of creature flicker and recursion that you can do these days, it's obviously very good. And Crucible, for me, it was just like fetches from the graveyard, strip mines from the graveyard. And I think the first time this effect really showed up, too.
I think like Eternal Witness is the staple. It's the Mind Stone. It's the Fellwar Stone.
Yep.
I think Crucible of Worlds is the defining an archetype card.
Yeah.
Where it's like Crucible of Worlds is the first of many Crucible of Worlds.
Right.
And led to like it being the backbone of so many lands decks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you have Crucible effects in your land stacks. You need those. That's one of the things that make them run for sure. But Eternal Witness is like, if you're playing green, you can just play you win.
And it's fine.
Yeah. Well, and oftentimes it just is like you can recur it, you can blink it. It often gets into recursion loops you didn't even.
We should definitely mention the honorable mentions in this one, though.
This set
I want to know what everybody's number two.
Oh, mine was Krark Clan Ironworth.
Yeah.
Mana Geyser.
What was Mana
Mana Geyser, yeah.
Mana
Yeah.
Geyser was mine. This one was just so deep that I was curious, like how you ranked them.
Yeah. But
I was so bummed not to pick Mana Geyser.
The Dalkin Ori one is in this
Yeah.
set. Come on, Wayfarer's
6 or
Bauble.
7 years ago.
Yeah, Trinket
I'd
Mage.
probably just pick Vidalkin as my best.
Yeah. This is a really fun set, though, for Commander. It
really was.
Knight's Whisper, one we didn't.
Yeah.
Like
I play a lot of Knight's Whisper.
I still play it a lot.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah. All right.
Okay, we're moving
fine,
on.
We'll move on to Champions of Kamigawa.
No more artifacts. Just kidding. My point choice is an artifact.
Okay. Yep. I chose Sakura Tribelder.
I did as well. I picked Sakura Tribelder.
I picked a pet favorite of Sensei's Divining Top.
It's a great card.
I just love this card. Yeah. But Steve, can't go wrong with Steve-O.
Talk about a great card set for Commander, though. This is like, has a bunch of iconic effects, has a bunch of like iconic commanders, and just cards that we play all the time. And that was what Sakura Tribelder was for me. It was just like, I have certain decks that I would play 10 Sakura Tribelders if they existed.
Yeah. For sure. I think it's a little more broad even than Rampant Growth as far as like, because it gives you a body. Sometimes you can sacrifice it to other things. A little bit easier to recur. Like, yeah, Steve is a slam dunk in, most green decks. I think Rampant Growth is too, but I think like those two cards, if I just had to be like, you're only allowed to play one of them for the rest of your Commander career, I would choose Steve.
100%.
It's a creature that draws you a card and puts it directly on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't see it as that. So late game, when someone slams a Steve, I'm like, that's still pretty good. It's a blocker. It can get them a land. It's going to thin out just the deck a little bit.
These days, it's real too to just be like, play it and then thwart an attack.
Yeah.
Until, you know, if none comes, I end step it. But still, I can always block and sack too.
Yeah.
That's real these days.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many decks that are built around having as many creatures as possible, being able to replay creatures from the graveyard. That, like, often Steve doesn't represent one land; it represents 2 lands, 3 lands.
Other effects in your deck. Yeah. But top is historically like a very efficient and powerful card, and I think, like, realistically, if you just looked at like most decks and took out their worst card and put Sensei's Divining Top in its place, like the time traveling supercomputer would probably say like their deck got more powerful. Sensei's Top being in there. It's hard to play those.
Oh no, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Kakusho, Lady of Scrolls, Godo, Kiki-Jiki, Minamo. It was almost like a legendary mana set in a way.
Yeah. Like Kodama's Reach. This
Ghostly Prison.
Okay.
Beep, beep,
we're going. Betrayers of Kamigawa.
All right, I chose Umezawa's Jite.
Heartless Heated Sugu, baby.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I chose GT as well. I know. I play more Heartless Hitotsugu decks in the past, but man, when GT is just this card is so stupid.
It does so much stuff. You're like, oh, and it
doesn't even need to hit the player, dude. It just hits anything, and then it's online, and you're like,
makes your opponent's life impossible. They're like, you can, and then you could, but if I,
yeah, and the life gain is actually super relevant now.
Yeah, they're representing all this life gain, so you can't even like knock them out. Oh yeah, crap.
Doesn't need to be equipped to do it. Just needs to hit. Who cares if you lose your creature? Now you've just got an online cheat. Yeah, card's crazy.
On the other hand, Heartless Hitotsugu.
Heartless Hitotsugu.
It's cool.
Tap that sucker.
It's a dream.
Yeah, it's a cool dream.
I have Heartless Hitotsugu in a deck that can give it lifelink. I have Heartless Hitotsugu in decks where I can give it haste. I just think the card's so fun to tap, and it still hits the battlefield, and people go, all right, who's got a removal spell for Heartless?
Yeah, so we can't let it stick around. There have been games where they're just like, just let it happen. The person does like 2 or 3 times. Everyone's like, why did we let that happen?
If you let it happen, you're going to die.
Yeah.
They put it in their deck so they can tap it.
They have to learn the hard way, dude.
Yeah. What are you talking about? If it's in the deck, you are going to die. And they didn't play it unless they have the way to make you die from it. Otherwise, they held it in their hand.
I put this in my Rakdos deck for so long because I was like, all my creatures cost 60 less to cast. It's so fun.
Yeah, in my Nehab deck, it's the best card for sure. Yeah.
There wasn't much else in Betrayers of Kamigawa. There was Mirror Gallery and then a bunch of ninja stuff.
Yeah.
Which maybe the ninja stuff will look back after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and it'll have gotten a little bit better.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to Saviors of Kamigawa.
All right, I chose Sakashima the Imposter.
I did as well.
Yeah, me too. I love this card.
Yeah.
And this card has gotten better over time, actually.
Totally.
We've talked a lot about cards that have sort of fallen in favor, but this one's actually steadily increasing in power because the ability to sort of clone your commander is just more relevant than ever.
Yeah, as
and will never go out of style.
No.
Yeah.
Great
and this is the only one that you can like picks itself up and replay, so you can reuse ETBs and that kind of thing. This is also the most affordable of the Spark Double. It might
Spark
be
Double
close.
might be, but it's
but this one caught way more reprints than any of the other ones. So Spark Double might be close now because Spark Double did get some reprints. But
being a body that you can flicker in these colors though is just so good. Yeah.
Hard to beat this one, but there are some powerful cards in Saviors of Kamigawa. This set had Freed from the Real, Twin Cast, and Pataki War's Wage.
Yeah, cards mean.
Yep.
Rude card.
One with nothing.
Yeah, I wanted to mention One with Nothing because it is a really bad card, but a very cool card. And you should, if you haven't seen Sam's video over on Ristic Studies about One with Nothing, it's a great video. We'll link it in the show notes. So fun to mention.
It's also just like one of those cards that you look at and you go, what do I do with this?
Yeah, exactly. It is what Magic's about. You see it, you read it, and the puzzles pieces start turning in your head.
Get out of here.
But it's no Sakashima the Imposter.
All right, we're out of Kamigawa into another iconic plane, though.
This is our first visit to this plane.
It's Ravnica.
It's hard to believe since we've visited so many times at this point.
This is the first one.
First Ravnica.
OG.
Yeah.
And it was a banger.
It was a banger.
I chose Sunforger.
Ooh,
good answer. I had to pick Life from the Loam.
Yeah, me too. I also chose Life from the Loam. But I
play
do
more lands decks than I do.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably. I do love Sunforger, though.
Sunforger's sweet.
I chose Sunforger because it is irreplaceable as far as that effect. Like, that is not really a thing that Boros does. And I still like to put Sunforger packages into my decks. And I do think, like, one of the only times I feel good playing Boros is when I have a Sunforger on the table.
Yeah, and you can represent Teferi's protection.
Because then I'm playing it like a blue deck. That's probably one.
There you go.
It's the most blue Boros card that exists.
It definitely is.
And it's a tutor. It's a tutor. I mean.
Yeah.
Like more and more, building around Sunforger is so much. Like you need the free equip, and you need the creature, and you need to like hold up a bunch of mana. Which in Boros, I'm just trying to jam. But that's a personal thing.
Yeah, I don't play Boros like you're supposed to play Boros.
Yeah, you've had some good Boros shows in the game.
They've diversified things a little bit. For me, Loam is like also irreplaceable. The kind of decks that want Loam, when they draw it, they're like, we're going now.
Yeah.
It's just a 1-card engine that fills your graveyard, fills your hand.
Dredge. It's a busted mechanic.
It is.
Yeah.
It is worth noting that this set also introduced Shocklands. This is the first season cycle of Shocklands. This is also the set that introduced Bounce Lands, so 2 iconic land cycles and Signets. Signets were born in Ravnica, so it's like there's
From
immediately...
a mana-based perspective, Ravnica probably gave us more than any other set.
Yeah, 15 cards that are immediately staples.
Yeah.
The one that we didn't mention that sees a lot of play is Doubling Season.
Catch me 6 years ago, like we said earlier in the show.
Yep.
Yeah. Format's just too fast. I don't play Doubling Season basically at all anymore.
Yeah,
but
me
it started a trend though of this like doubling of things.
Yeah.
That they
Still very good.
Fine, Guild Pact.
All right, Guild Pact. I chose. I think this is my first legendary creature.
Think so.
The whole time. Niv Mizzet the Firemind.
I also chose Niv Mizzet the Firemind.
And I also said Niv Mizzet the Firemind.
I think this is more a symptom of the fact that there were no other really good cards in the set to choose than it is about how good Niv Mizzet the Firemind is. Although it was a boogeyman of the format early on as like the 2-card combo piece that can one of those pieces can start in your command zone. It's one of the original ones I sort of learned about. I was like, oh god, so you just get curiosity and it's over type deal.
Yeah, for the new Commander players out there, before Niv Mizzet Perun, there was Niv Mizzet the Firemind.
Yes.
It was super powerful, super scary.
Yeah.
I love how Niv Mizzet Perun is, the newer players will know about that. That's because that's an old card now.
I know, but like people still play Niv Mizzet Perun.
It did definitely replace it, for the most part, yeah, because there was nothing else in the set. It was Shocklands, Bounce Lands, Signets, nothing else really.
Nope. All right, let's move on to the next set in the Ravnica block. It's Dissension. Josh?
This one is a little harder. I chose Protean Hulk.
I did as well.
I went with Ghost Quarter.
Yeah.
Ghost Quarter is a great answer.
Maybe I haven't played against enough Protean Hulks, but when it happens, you're like, oh my goodness, crazy. I like Ghost Quarter because it's not as...
Sure. It's more of a land removal than like land removal. Like
exactly. Yeah.
Like it removes specific lands but doesn't actually eat away your mana base.
Yeah, and I will say that it does, it's a little more fun in that way. And there's been more and more effects like this that have been printed recently. So I think it's going to be a more common thing. So to me, it's more iconic in that way.
Yeah.
On the highest power level, obviously.
I picked Protean Hulk. It was banned for a while. Because of what it could do in Commander and it combined with Flash to do completely foul things. But I did really get excited when it became unbanned because Protean Hulk is a card that you can build like some really wacky things around.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. It puts a ton of creatures into play. But it doesn't necessarily have to be this like win the game button. So I think Protean Hulk is an interesting symbol of the format and certainly a symbol of its time.
Yeah, still very powerful to this day.
Oh, sure.
But again, it's a tutor, so I don't tend to play it that much. But when people do, you're like, that's a crazy card.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
That card is nuts. Yeah. Other considerations were the Shocklands and the Bounce Lands, of course, the Signets. Utopia Sprawl.
You play that one a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I love that card.
Me
Psychic
too.
Possession is cool.
Oh yeah,
Love Psychic Possession.
Yeah.
They really need to reprint that card.
Dovescape also in this.
Another card you like.
card.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no,
and very unique cards, those last two, which I think is really cool.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, all
It's
right.
Cold Snap.
All right, Mishra's Bauble.
I went with Zur the Enchanter.
I also said Mishra's Bauble. That's my very Josh pick for that one.
Bauble.
Yeah.
Bauble.
Man, if you could get a 0 mana cost card that I want to play, I love it. I feel so good. I didn't do anything. I didn't have to pay anything. I just played.
Yeah.
And I just
Some
got
free
this
information.
thing.
Yeah, I'm doing stuff.
I had to go with Zur for this one. I just think Zur is like, for me, it's the iconic boogeyman. Like if you sit down across from Zur, you're like, oh man, that thing can't attack or die.
There was a decent period where Zur was sort of generally considered the most powerful commander.
Yeah.
Just period in the format.
It was just like Xur find Necropotence or like Xur find combo piece.
Yeah.
And the game was over. And I still think of him that way. And I know that's not like really where Xur's at anymore, but when I see Xur, I'm still like, oh man.
I just think of Post Malone
Look
now
at
when I
him.
see Xur.
Yeah. Man. Sweet card though. Sweet character. And I think Xur really resonated with a lot of people.
A lot of fun cards though. Dark Depths was also in this set. Boreal Druid, Braid of Fire, Thrumming Stone.
Braid of Fire I actually considered for a little bit because it's really only home Commander,
yeah.
And it's very, very narrow, but wow, it's one of those cards that like, because they changed the rule on mana burn, feels fun and smart to play when you can sort of justify it.
Yeah, for that same reason, I looked at Thrumming Stone was my number 2.
Yeah. Cool card.
Super narrow, but like when it's in the deck, it is the card. I didn't pick it just because it's like, once you play with Thrumming Stone, you're sort of like, and I've done it, and I'm going to remove Thrumming Stone from the deck. At least that's been my experience with Thrumming Stone.
Yeah.
But I think we are ready to move on to Time Spiral.
Time Spiral. This was a hard one.
Yeah.
I didn't have a clear, this is miles ahead card. I chose Reiterate.
I went with Norn the Wary.
It was such a Rachel pick. I said Academy Ruins. Just kind of a Josh pick.
Yeah.
Reiterate's more of a Jimmy pick. Actually, they're both kind of Josh picks.
You're going to have to remind me what Reiterate was. This is the copy you can bounce?
A fork you can
buy back?
With buyback, yeah.
I think people look at Reiterate and think like, if I can't go infinite, then I shouldn't play it. And it's like, no.
Still a fork.
If you can buy it back, then that'll one time and just let it go to the graveyard. You're probably going to win whatever you worked twice. And you could just, I like these cards where I like forks a lot in general, where you can just find wins on the stack sometimes. You just, you don't have a specific plan for the card. You just know I'm going to find a way to like do something broken with this.
Yeah, it can do work for sure. Yeah.
I picked Norn because I think Norn the Wary is like one of the cards that you see and your brain goes crazy and you're like, oh, there's got to be something insane you can do with it. And the answer is, yeah, there is. And it keeps getting new cards and it keeps being interesting. Like Norn is still a card that people discover and go like, whoa.
What the heck, yeah.
So I think Norn is one of the best commanders, like commander designs of all time. And it's hard to beat him. But this set was deep.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of just like cool, iconic cards or powerful ones. Like Gemstone Caverns is in this set. Vesuva, Dread Return, Sudden Spoiling. But it also had like big iconic commander cards like Stuffy Doll and Karavak the Merciless and even Ixodron.
Sign of the Ur Dragon. These
Sign
are
of the
a lot
Ur-Dragon,
of the early.
Yeah, Siren could have been a really easy pick, I think, as well for best.
That's true.
It's
Scion
the best dragon, one of the best dragons of all time.
Krosan Grip was in this set. Not very playable these days, but very good back in the day.
Fine. Okay, we're moving on to the next set, which is Planar Chaos.
I chose Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth.
I went with Pongify.
I also chose Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Great cards all around.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Pongify because it was like the first removal spell that blue got, really, that still sees play. So those sort of pie breaks where a color gets a thing that it doesn't have before really tend to make a big splash in Commander. So Pongify still sees a ton of play. Obviously, Urborg does too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if Pongify's won me more games than Urborg has. It's hard to quantify when Urborg wins a game.
Urborg is interesting because it like gives you an incremental advantage for the most part, but it is a free card to include.
Yeah.
So I think like the impact that Urborg makes isn't usually this like big thing, but it is just very good.
I've had that Urborgs backfire marvelously on me, though.
That too.
Sure. More these days than,
Yeah, it happens. But then sometimes you combine it with something and it goes really crazy.
Yeah.
And that usually I wouldn't play it in a deck if I don't have coffers in it also.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you will. To me, it's pretty irreplaceable. There's nothing else that really does what Urborg does.
Yep.
And at this point, Pongify, there's a bunch of those.
Yep, there's a couple.
Yeah, there's if you go up to 2 mana too, and you sort of say it's similar. There's a lot of removal spells, and if you include bounce, then it's like Chain of Vapor, which I chose earlier.
Yeah.
The other possibilities here, I don't think they were really in the running, but Damnation, Pyrohemia, worth mentioning.
Damnation was like the de facto blackboard wipe for a very long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't see as much play anymore.
I do like the theme of Planar Chaos, though. I kind of like what they, with the frames and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun set.
All right, we're moving on to Future Sight.
I chose Dryad Arbor.
I went with Chroma's Memorial.
I said Horizon Canopy.
3 very different answers.
Yeah, very different.
I went with the Chroma's Memorial just because it's big, it's colorless, in the kind of decks that need a big combat finisher. It's still one that you go to.
The big time win con.
Big time win con.
Yeah. I said Horizon Canopy. It's an interesting one because they have done the other cycles, the full cycle of this now. But at the time, and for a very long time, Horizon Canopy was just one of those lands where you're like, why don't we get this effect more? It's got that Mind Stone feeling to me. You do lose a land in the process, but I just like the card a lot. I don't know, something about it just really sticks out in my memory more so than even the Chroma's Memorial.
Dryad Arbor was just pretty unique, still pretty unique. Like over the last few years, they've created stuff that's in this vein more, but for a long time, it was like, this is a card that just nothing else is quite like this. So the spots that you find to use it in, you are like, I wish there was more of this. Again, I guess I chose over that. I didn't think anything here was like on a very high plane of power. A Pact of Negation is probably the most powerful card, but not for us. Right. Yeah, it's a more CADHE card.
Where you're never going to have to pay that cost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It doesn't work as well in casual. And then you've got like Cloud Key, Dakmor Salvage. I like Venzer Shaper Savant a lot. Coalition Relic, but it's fallen out of favor. The Megases. Yeah. But nothing that like stood out as like this is A tier or S tier power level.
Yeah.
I think I would put everything in like the B category. And so it was pretty flat. Yeah. I thought.
Yeah, I
agree.
Let's move on to Lorwyn. Just regular
Mole Drifter.
Yeah, that was slam dunk.
Mole Drifter.
Gosh, yeah.
I picked the Mosswort Bridge.
Oh, nice. I picked 1,000-Year Elixir. Definitely one of my pet cards.
I think the Hideaway lands are an incredibly powerful cycle. I think Mosswort Bridge is really easy for a commander to turn on, and the fact that you can like draw a card and cast it for free at instant speed.
Yeah, it's really
for
powerful.
2 mana at instant speed is just like really powerful, and the fact that it's super cheap is even better.
Yep. Yeah, 1,000-Year Elixir, just a cool combo piece. I love tapping and untapping things too, especially when you can do it at instant speed now. It gives things haste essentially and some stuff, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just fun card. One that I like. When I get to slam it in the deck, I feel great about it.
Yeah.
I still play a lot of Mole Drifter. And I still, every time I have it and play it, I'm like, this is awesome.
It never gets
Every time
old.
I draw it, I'm like, sweet.
The great honorable mentions here, though. Austere Command, I think, was a really close second for me.
Me too.
Shriekmaw, another card Josh loves, and Cryptic Command. Like this is a very iconic blue counterspell.
Yeah, Lorwyn didn't have a lot, but it had a number of things that were really good.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of those are dispensable. Austere Command, I definitely thought about for a little while.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
I didn't actually think about it. I was like, I'm picking Mole Drifter.
Yeah. I think I played the most of Austere Command on this list in my gameplay.
Mine's Mosswort Bridge, but I think Austere Command is close.
Yeah.
But Cryptic Command has probably won me the most games.
Yeah.
The card's crazy.
Yeah, the card's awesome.
It's just, it goes in fewer decks because it's hard to cast.
Yeah.
It goes a lot in my decks, though.
Yeah, there you
it's
go.
easy for my decks to cast. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is Morning Tide.
Okay.
I chose Bitter Blossom. I like your guys' pick. I think, well, you let's say what it is.
I picked Scapeshift.
I also picked Scapeshift. Bitter Blossom was my original pick, and then I saw Scapeshift and went, nah, it's got to be Scapeshift.
It's so hard to replace. I think Scapeshift just is archetype defining in the same way. We have picked a lot of lands cards.
You guys play with more lands.
Apparently.
Share in common.
But yeah, Scapeshift is just cracked, and there's nothing like it. And if you cast it, you probably win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those were the two that I was definitely vacillating between, and it was a power level broadness thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Bitter Blossom goes in, way more decks and a few different strategies. Tokens, aristocrats. There's a lot of usage for it. So I definitely play more Bitter Blossoms by a lot than I do Scapeshift.
Yeah.
But when you cast Scapeshift, like you said, it will win the game. Whereas Bitter Blossom might win you the game, but not on the moment you play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very close. I agree.
But some decks having just a token generator every turn is game ending.
Yeah, I think we've established too that like I am tending to err. I said it wasn't consistent at the start, but as I'm reading through it, I think I have been consistent as far as like I will tend to go more towards the broad card than the narrow card.
Yeah.
It is interesting because I had no idea. The original printing of Negate.
Yeah. Wow.
And
that's crazy.
I was sitting in a room with a bunch of seasoned Magic players, and I was like, I have a trivia question. When was the first printing of Negate? And not one
way
person,
long ago.
not one person guessed correctly.
Or like some core set or something.
Yeah. It was mostly core sets. And the fact that it's from Morningtide is super interesting.
Yeah. Mutavault was also in the set. Idyllic Tutor, Distant Melody.
Sure.
Feels a little bit of an older Magic type.
Shared animosity, yeah, because the typal strategies were a big part of the whole Lorwyn thing, and so of course we got a lot of those iconic cards here.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This is Shadowmoor. Josh?
I chose Wound Reflection.
I went with Mana Reflection, but didn't feel great about it.
2 reflections.
2 reflections.
And there's about to be a third.
There's a third reflection. It's Reflecting Pool.
Whoa!
Wait a second.
Shadowmoor Lorwyn is about the reflection of your other self, so it's not that much of a coincidence.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Do they forget to use different words? Whoa. Yeah. Really cool cards, though, all around. Mana Reflection is a bit of a surprise. I do like that choice, though.
Mana Reflection feels like one of the splashiest mana doublers, and I still I lost to it a lot when I was first started playing Magic. But I was like, I don't play a lot of it today, and there's not a lot of decks that want a Mana Reflection over just a regular mana enhancer. Like the doubling doesn't come into play in every deck.
I've died to a lot of Wound Reflections. That's for sure.
That's true.
Yeah, it's surprising because I'm not very damage based, but I do play a decent amount of Wound Reflection.
It adds up fast.
3. Well, and what I love about it is you play it the turn you're going to deal the damage.
Yeah.
So it's not a do nothing, even though it kind of reads as a do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Mana Reflection, very powerful, but it's hard to deploy it and take advantage of it that same turn.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then Reflecting Pool, I've always found if I already can you could create the mana that it's going to create, I don't need it. I need the mana that it can't create.
You can't create. Yeah.
I think Reflecting Pool's all right. I'll play it in some decks that just have a lot of colored pips.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a ton of answers that I felt good about in this set.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what's my second choice. So there's Devoted Druid, Farhaven Elf, Reese the Redeemed, Beseech the Queen, and Painter's Servant, which was an unbanned and one of those classic unbanned and then nobody cared.
Yeah.
Why was it banned? Who knows? And I think Farhaven Elf was what I landed on, is what I was choosing.
That's
maybe Devoted Druid,
but Farhaven Elf's just a worse wood elf.
It's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Devoted Druid just because of the infinite
combo ace. Yeah, true.
All right, we're moving on to Eventide.
The first one where we've all agreed in a long time.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mostly because there's only a couple of.
There's not much. Yeah.
And this is actually a little bit of a hard choice for me, I will admit.
Yeah.
But I went with
an easier choice for me.
I went with Bloom Tender.
Sorry, I interrupted. I also went with Bloom Tender.
Well, because the only other choice here is a blue card, and I guess we can just talk about Bloom Tender for a little bit. This card, they've reprinted a bunch, has kept being good, gets better every time they release a 3-color, 4-color, 5-colored thing.
It's also exceptionally good in Commander, where we often have a multicolored permanent that we always have access to.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to worry that, did I draw other colored cards? It's no, I always have access to one that's probably got 3+ colors in it.
Bloom Tender tap for 2, totally fine.
Totally fine. I don't usually run it in decks unless they have 3 colors, but that's just because it's
well, just say when you play it, you don't have that much stuff out. If it's only tap for 2, you're like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Not the worst.
What was the other one?
Glen Alendra Archmage.
Yeah.
Archmage? Have we ever come down and decided on
not Glen Alendra, by the way, not a name. It's a place. It's a group, right?
Glen Alendra's is it like a title or something? Or is it the name of an organization?
A tribe?
I thought it was like the fairy type.
The Conclave?
Fairy group.
The Conclave.
Okay.
I don't know. We know exactly what we're talking about.
I still call her Glen Alendra.
Yeah,
exactly. Now that there's more, though, it makes it a little bit harder.
That's tough.
True.
I mean, it's one of my early favorite cards. It's still really, really good. I play it less for a lot of reasons. I play a lot of powerful cards less is because it tends to just not be fun for my opponents.
Yeah,
that's not. I don't play it less because it's not good anymore. It's incredible. Yeah.
This thing just sitting out there. It's just like, whoa, gosh, how do we get around it?
All right, let's move on to the next set. This is Shards of Alara.
I was surprised.
You're going to have to defend this one, Jim.
No, that's the best pick ever.
I was pretty surprised by how shallow the pool was for Shards of Alara. I was like, wow, there's really not that much good stuff.
Yeah.
There's about a lot of medium stuff, but in my mind, I was like, 3-color set. This set was awesome. I remember liking it a lot. And anyway, but the card I chose is incredibly powerful and one of the most powerful cards in the format, even though I don't play in the version of Commander where we use it, Ad Nauseam.
Yep, I picked Ad Nauseam as well.
I probably didn't pick it because I've never played it, never planned on playing it. I chose.
You pick, Jimmy?
Casual Rachel pick here with Knight Captain of Eos.
Knight Captain of Eos.
Hey, you get to tutor some stuff out.
Get some guys.
Not any just guys. You get the best guy. You get your 1-mana draw spell in white. Come on.
Yep. I love this pick. I saw that and was like, He's cooking.
I am cooking with gas. Maybe not gas. I'm cooking with something.
I don't want to be rude. But this is the craziest pick. Like, I'm sorry, man.
Crazier than not picking Soul Ring.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Murph was looking over my shoulder and he's like, what's that card even do?
And he's missing out.
This was the most like, well, this is like easy.
Yeah. There are some other commander cards, which is funny because Jimmy still picked Knight Captain of Eos, but I love it. I like Fleshbag Marauders in this set.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Fleshbag's like the original of these.
Yep.
Knight of the White Orchid, Ethereum Sculptor, and Fate Stitcher, which doesn't see as much play anymore. But I do remember this channel talking about Fate Stitcher for a long time.
Yeah, back when the format was slower, I think Fate Stitcher was amazing card because it just played a bunch of roles.
Yeah.
Now it's
And from
too
the graveyard.
slow for what it is.
Yeah.
To play. Tap Trilands as well. The original Trilands were in this set. And if you go by just how much cards are played, the Trilands are probably in the running. But Ad Nauseam is an insane card. Clearly very broken. And every time they cast it, you lose.
Fine. The best card is Ethereum Sculptor.
All right, let's move on to Conflux. There are basically two choices, and they're both cracked.
Yeah, they're both very good.
Yeah, I chose Path to Exile.
I went with Exotic Orchard.
I said Path to Exile as well.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah.
I probably play more Exotic Orchards than Path to Exile.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I think Exotic Orchard is one of the underrated cards. This is a 5-color land that comes in untapped.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
it is
that's
another
exceptionally
command
powerful.
tower.
4 or 5 color often, yeah.
It's an extremely powerful card that is sort of an automatic include, and it should be on the list next to Command Tower and Arcane Signet. But often we're like, yada, 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 the stepsister of Command Tower.
Yeah. Well, the fact that it can just see a land that taps for 5 mana and goes like, cool, I got it.
Yep,
right?
I'm good.
That's cool. It's not relegated to just basics or whatever.
Yeah. But Path.
One of the great
Path.
removal spells of all time.
Yeah, Swords has not had a sibling until Path came around, and now you play both. I have so many decks to play both.
Yep.
The only other considerations we wrote down were Reliquary Tower, which is not even close to these other ones, but played a lot.
Yep.
Noble Hierarch. Very narrow, but...
Yep.
The first of its I did
powerful.
think about Noble Hierarch just because I was like, wow, this is a very powerful mana dork, but compared to Path, it's hard to...
Yep. All right, let's move on to Alara Reborn. Also not a ton of choices.
Yep, I said Maelstrom Pulse.
I did as well.
Me 3.
Maelstrom Pulse is just a great answer for token decks, and it remained like the answer for token decks for a really long time.
It's a really good answer for Soul Rings.
That too.
Oh, yeah. That's a great point.
Maelstrom Pulse extra good in our format because of the multiplayer aspect of it, for sure.
Yeah. Still, though, I don't play a ton of Maelstrom Pulse.
No.
I play it once in a while, but not that much. But this is more a symptom of this was just not a very deep pool. The only other cards that are even in consideration, Lord of Extinction and Time Sieve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both very, very narrow. And honestly, I don't think I have either one of those other ones in a single deck. So
No.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Magic 2010.
Our first core set. I said Sign in Blood.
I like this answer. I went with Silence.
Yeah, I also went with Silence. I like Silence a lot. When it happens and it messes the game up, you're like, dang, didn't think about it. But it's a very powerful effect. And these types of things in white especially, I think.
Silence is definitely like top end power level. Like this is a CEDH card.
Yeah.
Or if you're a combo deck or you're trying to protect your, even if you have like a super specific combat turn, Silence can just be like, all right, everybody chill. I'm going to do it.
Well, it's like Grand Abolisher type stuff is just when people reread the card and go, oh no.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Silence, though, like unless you have combo potential in your deck, you don't really want to play it because you never know when you're going to have one of those other big turns. Grand Abolisher are different because I think it sits there on the table and continues to be an annoyance for a while. Yeah, which is why I didn't go with Silence. So I do acknowledge like this is another one of those broad verse powerful as most powerful. Because I think the most powerful card is definitely Silence. But Sign in Blood is just a very good card in most circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a good rate and
sees more play for sure.
And you can kill people with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have died to it. I've
Turns
killed
spell.
people with it. Yep.
There is Sanguine Bond and Doomblade in this deck, in this set as well. I think those are both reasonable answers as well.
Yep.
All right, but we're going to move on to Zendikar. This is a very difficult pick for me.
This was tough. Yep, it was between what you answered and what I answered.
There you go.
I chose Rampaging Baloths.
Great answer. I went with Lotus Cobra.
Yeah, I too went with Lotus Cobra.
This was tough for you guys because it's 2 landfall.
I know.
I know.
And it's the only cards I picked.
Yeah. I think I like the setup aspect of Lotus Cobra more than Rampaging Baloths, which is a bit like, oh, look at it go, because I think over the course of a game of Lotus Cobra with the fetch land packages and stuff can just be insane amounts of mana.
So you can cast your Rampaging Baloths.
Yeah. But Lotus Cobra into fetch a land, tap that land for mana is like crazy.
Yeah. There's a huge burst of mana from Lotus Cobra that not a lot of cards can rival, like especially colored mana. I think Bloom Tender gets close or often goes above it. But with Synergy, Lotus Cobra is often the best card in your deck.
Yeah. Okay, you guys convinced me again. I think Lotus Cobra probably should be my pick.
Yeah.
Also, it's a 2-drop.
Yeah.
In the same decks. So it's like if I'm choosing a card that's in the same deck, and I think they're close, and one's a 2-drop and one's a 6-drop, the 2-drop's almost certainly better, right?
Yeah. I mean, Rampaging Baloths is an iconic commander card.
It's awesome.
It goes up in tons of precons. When it's on the battlefield, you're like, well, we can't let that just chill.
Yeah.
So
it's more awesome, but it's not best.
It's killed me a bunch.
Yeah.
But this is a pretty deep set, and honestly, I was pretty close to a couple of them. There's Oracle of Moldiah, Rite of Replication, Valakut the Molten Pinnacle, Expedition Map, and Beastmaster Ascension.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost said Oracle. I love that card.
I was so close on Rite of Replication. I just think like whenever it gets kicked, you're like, Commander! Like, it just feels awesome.
Do you know the math? No, but I did it. What is happening?
So I think Rite of Replication is very cool.
To the token.
Yeah, I tried to talk myself into Rite of Replication for a while, but I was like, it's not better than Baloths or Cobra.
No. All right.
All right.
Let's move on to World Weight.
An easy one.
Yeah. Well,
it's one of the most played cards in the entire format. It might be the most played land. It's up there.
Yeah.
Bojuka Bog.
Bojuka Bog.
Everybody said Bojuka Bog. Because if you're playing a deck that has black in it, you play Bojuka Bog.
Yeah.
And you live in fear of Bojuka Bog.
I got Bojuka Bog twice in one game recently. It was the worst feeling ever.
We all know we should play more Graveyard Hate.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is one that's like, cool, I need lands in my deck.
Yeah.
This is a free one.
Pretty free, yeah.
Yeah, this is a free one. I don't have to like,
You put Bojuka Bog on your list and you're just like, land hate or Graveyard Hate? Check.
Easy.
Check. I have
That's
all the
it.
Graveyard
We're all good.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But yes, that's how I think as well.
Yeah,
I'm good.
me too.
I have at least a way to stop a graveyard, okay?
Yeah, I have one. I'll draw it.
Oh, yeah, it's coming at some point.
This set does have some powerful cards. This was Avenger of Zendikar and Stoneforge Mystic as well. Amulet of Vigor and Terastodon, which sees less play these days, but used to be the threat to cheat into play.
Yeah. Nothing on Bojuka Bog's level, though. Nothing.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Rise of the Eldrazi.
Love this set. Great draft set. Well, maybe one of the greats of all time. I chose Ulamog the Infinite Gyre.
I went with Kozilek, Butcher of Truth.
Yeah, it was between these two for me, and I went with Kozilek as well, probably just because of the card draw aspect.
Yeah.
I don't play Cozy much, this one, because I guess I always have
card draw.
Yeah, you've got cards. You're like, I'm spending 11 mana.
Killing something I've found to be like maybe a lot more palatable, because you're like, I got to worry about this one thing. Cool, I'll kill that thing and get something out that like now they got to worry about.
Yeah.
I do love both these cards.
I run them both in my Rakdos deck, and I just remember every time I have Kozilek in my hand, I'm like, oh, thank God, I can draw into another big thing. And Ulamog is like, I can kill a thing, but mostly I want something that can kill people.
Well, Ulamog will do that.
It'll do that too.
It will.
Eventually, yeah.
All the Annihilator is terrifying.
But this set's really interesting. I feel like we didn't pick anything that wasn't a Titan. Because Rise of the Eldrazi is like, it's a Titan.
Yeah, you had to pick a Titan.
These are the
and
Titans.
You couldn't pick Emrakul for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
There was another one I actually thought was in the running, though, and I considered for a second, which is It That Betrays.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Because that card is nuts when you've got the right setup, but it's narrower for sure. You can just be in a deck like, am I going to create a lot of mana? Cool. Ulamog or Kozilek could go in the deck and we'll be good.
Yeah.
It That Betrays doesn't work that way. You need to be making a lot of mana, and you also need to be making everybody sack things somehow in order for it to be good. But when you can do those two things, it feels broken. Like, wait, you get all that stuff? Yes.
Yeah.
The one you don't remember from this set is Training Grounds. Card sweet. There's certain decks that are just like, well, if I have Training Grounds, it's a totally different deck.
What about Evolving Wilds? First appearances in this set.
That too.
I did not know that.
It took them. Yeah, I guess so. The fetch
time.
lands weren't that far before this.
Yeah, they finished
it took
the
them
fetch
that
lands
long
in
to
Zendikar.
design.
Yeah,
Evolving Wilds. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on to Magic 2011. I said we're moving on. Like, we got it.
You got the buzzer. It was a buzzer beater.
Magic 2011. Josh?
Viscera Seer.
I went with Cultivate.
I said Sarah Ascendant. Wow, 3 different choices, and I love all of them.
Yep. These all feel super justified to me.
Yeah.
I picked Cultivate here because I didn't pick Kodama's Reach earlier, but I do think this effect is still extremely powerful in Commander.
For a long time, I don't think it is anymore, but it was the most played
The best,
according to EDH Rec for a long
best
time.
ramp too.
Yeah. Yep. It's hard to argue with Cultivate. I don't,
Hard to argue with Viscerous here. Card's
Viscerous here just still kind of irreplaceable, although recently they did design, I forget what it's called. That's the first time since 20...
Umbral Caller Zealot.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a 2-mana card though.
Yeah,
that's the first time since, well, Magic 2011 it's called, but it came out in 2010. Since then that we saw a card that was like roughly equivalent. But Viscerous still, like, if you're playing Aristocrats, it's going in there, and it's going to be one of your best.
We haven't seen a card that's roughly the equivalent of Serra Ascendant.
No, we have
So
not.
I do think that that's like a great reason to pick it.
They just did not think about Commander life totals when they printed this thing, obviously, so...
Yep. I think Serra Ascendant, if it's not in your white deck, it's because of power level.
Yeah,
it is... can be a pretty bad draw later too.
It can.
Like
totally.
If you don't get it in your opening hand, it's a totally different card, and that's one of the reasons I don't play it. I don't think it's broken in any way. It's just like, if I draw this on turn 6.
It's a good removal check. In fact, it's the removal check for a very long time. This set also had Sun Titan.
Sun Titan!
Which it hurt my heart not to pick, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sun Titan is like one of my favorite effects in Commander, and it's all
good.
because of Sun Titan.
Yep. Also had Leyline of Anticipation, Overwhelming Stampede, Steel Overseer.
Yeah.
Some classics.
All solid.
All right, let's move on to Scars of Mirrodin. Josh?
I said a classic Wormcoil Engine.
I went with Exsanguinate.
Here's where I picked Contagion Engine.
Yeah.
It's clearly better than your picks.
I don't know.
Stop looking at me. Jimmy, Night Captain of the VOs.
I don't even know, Jimmy, that I've ever seen you cast a Contagion Engine.
I have, but it's
I
more
wasn't there.
the effect. Yeah, you weren't there. But the effect it's had on me, I'm like, what the heck?
This is also, it is a hard to replace effect that people still play Contagion.
Yeah, it's still very good.
Yeah.
I
went
went
with the
better as there's more and more counters. Decks.
Yeah,
Different
true.
kinds of counters have made it better, and now there's -1 counters as a sort of a bigger theme again. So, like, yeah, I think it's gotten better recently for sure.
I went with Exsanguinate because it's just like I've had so many Commander games die and end with an Exsanguinate, and even if everyone doesn't die, the game is basically over when you gain triple what everybody lost. It's also a uniquely Commander card.
Yeah, I feel Wormcoil Engine has that same spot too. It kind of feels like Sun Titan. It's just like super cool. I think it's more played now because of just the shenanigans you can get up to with it.
I
you
still
can cheat
play
it out
plenty
too.
of Wormcoil Engine.
Yeah,
and back then I did too.
Wormcoil is insane. Like, that is just an insane card because there's just so many ways to get value off of it, and it just it life gain is so good right now that like I actually probably been playing it more than I ever have.
Yeah,
because you can justify it a little more of like, oh yeah, this will gain me life too. What? I got to play it.
It was also everywhere because it was a pre-release card for Scars of Mirrodin, so just everyone got one.
That's true.
Yeah.
You ever played this card in draft? Everyone got one. Did they play it in their pre-release?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay, because if you've ever had this card in any sort of draft, it's like
absurd. Yeah,
it's unbeatable.
Your opponent plays it, and you're like, okay, I lose.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not even. I just know all my removal spells.
It 3-for-1s me and gains you like 1,000,000 life.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Other notables here: Mox Opal, Mirror Battlesphere, Steel Hellkite, Genesis Wave, Tainted Strike, and Molten Psyche.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a murderer's
set.
row of. Okay, fine.
What
Quite a set, and we're going to see that this whole block is pretty powerful.
artifact sets? Moving on, Beeper. Sorry.
Mirrodin Besieged.
Easy. Sword of Feast and Famine.
I knew they were going to say that, so I got to say Consecrated Sphinx.
A Sword of Feast and Famine. Easy. I play it the most. It's sweet.
Yeah, I don't think this one's close. I think Sphinx is really, really good. But Sword of Feast and Famine is like literally any deck can play it, and it'll be awesome in that deck. The only time I think it's not good is if you have a really high cost commander. But even those decks probably have smaller creatures.
Yeah, you just want more stuff to do in your
every
earlier
time you
turns.
cast it, you get an extra turn every turn.
Yeah, the protection is really relevant on it too.
I picked Consecrated Sphinx because it is sort of still occupies a very unique space, whereas like this is a big blue threat that like when you clone it, things kind of go crazy. Like it is responsible for a lot of really huge moments in Commander, and it is extra good in Commander when like you have so many people drawing extra cards. I mean, Consecrated Sphinx is it still is a game changer. I don't think it should be, but it occupies that boogeyman space to this day. So I felt like it had to be voted for. But there is the list in Mirrodin Besieged is
it goes
absurd. It's Massacre Worm, Blightsteel Colossus, Green Sun Zenith, Blue Sun Zenith, and then just staples like Go for the Throat and Ichor Wellspring is just like Okay,
Yeah.
Mirrodin.
Okay,
I mean, this whole
Mirrodin.
block, it might be the best block of all time in Commander. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, the lineup. And we're going to move on to New Phyrexia now, which is going to continue this trend.
Yep.
I chose Gitaxian Probe.
Yeah, I went with Phyrexian Metamorph.
I went with Triumph of the Hordes, but now I look at Phyrexian Metamorph, I'm like, I think I like that card more.
I don't know. There's so many right choices in this set that it is hard to.
Yeah.
It was hard.
We
to
didn't even
pick one. I
mention
think-
all the crazy legendaries, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but.
Yeah, it felt like you could just sort of go personal preference here, and it does sort of seem like that's what we did. Like, Git Probe is crazy.
I've always said, I know I'll like the deck if I can justify putting Git Probe in it. That will be a deck that I like. Yeah, because it's just like, I get something for nothing. It's like the Bauble, kind of. But
Yeah, it's like the
better.
Bauble,
Git
yeah.
Probe's even better.
It is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went with Metamorph just because being able to clone in Commander is so much better. You get so many more options, and the fact that you can just copy Soul Rings, or you can copy
Yeah.
you could copy a Sword of Feast and Famine or a Consecrated Sphinx.
And for 3 mana, too.
For 3 mana,
Yeah.
it's really hard to beat that.
Yeah, I like Triumph of the Hordes being a 4 mana win the game overrun. Typically, they're higher cost than that. But let's just talk about the honorable mentions here. Unwinding Clock, I think, is another very close choice for me.
Yeah, I think this is in the running for greatest single set of all time for Commander. Yeah. Unwinding Clock, Beast Within, Noxious Revival,
Noxious, wow.
OG Elishnorn, OG Shieldred, OG Vorinclex, Birthing Pod, Mindcrank. There's more too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It keeps going.
Yeah, this set is just a murderer's row top to bottom of like stuff that still sees play and not stuff that just sees play. It's stuff that's like very good.
Yeah, like you would expect to play against.
Yeah.
For sure. There's still moments where you're just like, yeah, if an Elishnorn comes down, I will die.
Elishnorn, to this day, somebody plays it and the whole table's like, oh,
God, yeah.
yeah.
Game over.
They were so good at villains in this era.
Yeah.
Like doing
Yeah.
the Eldrazi right into the
Phyrexian.
Have we had a moment since then? I like that. I don't think we have.
I don't think
Maybe
so.
Nicol Bolas and War of the Spark.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
Another core set. Yeah, Magic 2012. I chose Swiftfoot Boots.
Yeah, this is probably the right pick, Swiftfoot Boots. I said Grand Abolisher.
I said Sundial of the Infinite.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I like Swiftfoot Boots too, obviously. Yeah, not many cards do it, right? It's a very unique effect.
Yeah, Grand Abolisher is just exceptionally powerful in our format, but I don't know if it's necessary. Like I think Swiftfoot Boots are probably the most commandery card.
Yeah.
Of those, but I love Sundial. That's a fun one.
Yeah, Sundial's the coolest card, and I like that card the best of all the ones that we said. Yeah, but I went with Broad, as I do.
Yeah, I mean, the boots, it's really hard to beat that or Lightning Greaves. Anytime that shows up, it's like, yeah, I mean, cards, so good.
Yeah,
So good.
the reason I didn't pick Boots was I just don't play them as much anymore.
Yeah.
The 1 mana to equip really does make it more difficult to like cast your commander and equip it on the same turn. So I just like sort of play Greaves and hope I have those.
Well, yeah, and how many decks want both?
Yeah.
And if you are only going to play one, it's almost always going to be Greaves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I totally get that. But still, a lot of times you do want both. Yeah. Other notables, Buried Ruin.
Sure.
Phantasmal Image.
Maybe one of
I actually love Phantasmal Image, and it was my second.
That was my next one. I was like, I know I'm supposed to pick Swiftfoot Boots, but I don't want to.
2 mana?
2 mana.
Clone in something is so good. It's just, you're always up mana when you do it, because you just clone your opponent's 6-drop or something.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is Innistrad. Josh, what did you pick?
I like Jimmy's pick better than mine, but I had to be responsible here, and I chose Blasphemous Act.
I also picked Blasphemous Act.
Yeah, I didn't pick the red card this time. I chose Snapcaster Mage.
You chose the blue card, I chose the red card?
Yeah, what's happening?
we?
What are we, in Lorwyn?
Yeah.
Shadowmoor?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm ashamed of myself right now.
I probably should have picked Blasphemous Act looking back on this, but I do love Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah.
But I mean, Blast Act being 1 mana almost every time, killing pretty much everything. It's nuts, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Marrow has said that Blasphemous Act is a pie break. Red is not supposed to be able to kill all the creatures on the board, and the fact that this functionally kills all the creatures on the board, it makes it a pie break for red. But it's our favorite pie break ever.
Well, I mean, that's shown by the fact that it is in every single red deck.
Yes.
Yeah. What red deck doesn't play Blast Act, basically?
Yeah,
all of my red decks play
It's
Blast
like
Act.
the most played red card. You can get your Blasphemous Act back with your Snappy, though.
Ooh.
That's true. Snap
down.
Yes, snap.
I mean, the
blast
snappy will die, but I think you're fine.
You're fine with that.
Blast
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Blastcaster.
Blastcaster Mage, yeah.
I was surprised. There are some good cards, but in my mind, Innistrad is like it's modern and on the more powerful side, and it was actually a little bit shallower than I thought.
Yeah, Parallel Lives is definitely a big one that we didn't pick. Or Laboratory Maniac is the other one that I think in terms of being iconic and being a symbol of the format for a long time.
Yeah.
Cats like Wolferun and Gavany Township, both cards you should probably
good.
play a little more often, but
Yeah.
are
Township
hard
a little
to.
restrictive, but
Yeah.
I mean, I do love Kessig Wolfrun. That card's killed me a bunch too.
All right, let's move on to Dark Ascension. Josh, what was your pick for this one?
Faithless Looting.
That was mine as well.
I chose Gravecaller as the card you're discarding to Faithless Looting. I think Faithless Looting is also just...
This is broad versus power level again.
But the 1 mana cards, you'll constantly see them come up on our list. Just is like so efficient, so easy to get going. Yeah.
The one thing we didn't mention here that I wanted to bring up before we move on is Mikaeus the Unhallowed. I think Mikaeus was like such a boogeyman for so long. It was like Mike and Trike is the Mikaeus and Triskelion.
It's an old combo.
Is an iconic combo, like right next to
nail out Mike and Trike.
That's game. So honorable mention to Mikaeus, although he doesn't see as much play.
Pour one out for Mikaeus.
Yeah.
See you later, buddy.
All right, I'm ready to move on to the next one. Are we good?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, this is Avacyn Restored.
This one I found to be pretty easy. Craterhoof Behemoth.
Yeah, it's Craterhoof.
I probably should have said that. I instead chose Cavern of Souls. And I think it's because Craterhoof has fallen so far out of favor because there's just four or five like pretty reasonable replacements for them now. But Craterhoof is still the best of all of them, I think, by a pretty decent margin. So maybe I should choose Craterhoof here.
Yeah, I still think Craterhoof is best in class. I do agree with you, though. There are more replacements for it than there used to be. There's a lot of stuff that's probably 90% as good.
The best thing about Craterhoof is that you don't have to do math.
Yeah.
Like,
you know it's enough.
Play go, yeah.
You're like, I've got something like 4,000 damage on board. Hey, it's
all trample. Like,
but I do want to draw attention to Avacyn Restored because I did not think about this being
me neither.
The set that
it's actually
it is.
historically kind of panned as like a not good set.
Yeah.
But
and
for
like,
Commander.
Okay, so we're starting with Craterhoof and Cavern of Souls, and then you add Blood Artist, Conjurer's Closet, Cathar's Crusade, Ghostly Flicker, Avacyn Angel of Hope, Deadeye Navigator, Gisela Blade of Gold Knight, Exquisite Blood, Alchemist Refuge, and Temporal Mastery.
Wow.
We're in this set.
Crazy.
All of those are still staples.
That's all of Commander. Pretty much.
I mean, it's from like every archetype. We're talking green Stompy, we've got Aristocrats, we've got Flicker, we've got white tokens, you've got like big Reanimator stuff.
Extra turn,
life gain combos type of stuff. Giselle is just good old fashioned damage.
I wouldn't have thought of Avacyn Restored as a contender for a greatest Commander set of all time, but
it's up there.
It's up there for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Crazy.
We don't have much time, so let's move right on to Magic 2013.
M13.
We're only 13 years away from present day. We're so close.
I said, maybe this might be a little controversial. I said Archaeomancer.
I went with Krenko Mob Boss.
I said Omniscience.
I love these answers. They're very us.
I found myself putting Archaeomancer in a lot of my decks these days, though.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's good and in some ways better than Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah.
Sorry, Snappy. I hope he wasn't listening.
Yeah, I mean, Archaeomancer, like Living Death loops are still some of the most powerful things.
It doesn't
you can do.
make you exile the thing.
Yeah.
So you can get into a loop with whatever it got.
Yeah.
And there's just, and it doesn't have to be a loop. So like I always say, it can just be a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I find myself playing Archaeomancer a lot these days. Yeah.
Archaeomancer Ghostly Flicker, yuck.
Yep.
Yuck. Krenko, classic.
I went with Krenko. Krenko is classic boogeyman, still beloved, still the only commander that you think of when you think of goblins. The fact that this isn't an Ravnica set really surprised me.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was core set. I assumed he was a Ravnica set. But I still think Krenko's like one of the best designed commanders of all time.
Format.
Oh, yeah. You're like, 4 mana, what? And they're like, oh, no.
The first time I ever saw it was at a pre-release. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And I had to read it like 6 times because my brain just was like, no, that can't, huh? And this was before there was like online preview season, or at least that card's crazy.
Love it. But
Omniscience, you went with the big one.
Yeah. Wins games.
And it's kind of the sort of top end boogeyman of certain style of deck where it's like, and it's also it's emblematic. You say this thing is omniscience or it's like omniscience.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's the signpost for what that is.
Yeah, it kind of has that same as like, play Insurrection, win the game. Play Omniscience, win the game.
Yeah.
Good set though. Talron Sky Summoner is also in here. Thragtusk, just classic cards. All right, moving on. Don't buzzer me. All
right, we're moving on to Return to Ravnica. We're back, and it is giving us...
This is Rhystic Study Easy, right?
Yeah.
This is Cyclonic Rift.
It's Cyclonic Rift. And nothing gets close.
Well, there's one card that gets pretty close, I think.
Which card do you think's close?
Oh, it's Chromatic Lantern, probably. No, it's Cyclonic Rift by a mile here.
The only one I really like, Cyclonic Rift is good for all the reasons that it's good. The instant speed of it all is just still, we know not to do that.
Those cards that scales so well with multiplayer.
Instant speed, one-sided board wipe.
Yeah, for everything except lands. Yikes.
Insane. I really wanted Rakdos Charm to get in there. I think that's like the next closest for me in terms of like, it's ended games in such a cool surprise way. It's the like, you went over the top, so now you die card.
Maybe Vandal Blast is close.
Yeah, Vandal Blast is probably the card I play the most after. Well, I don't actually play that many Cyclonic Rifts these days. But I think Vandal Blast is probably the one I play the most on this list. But Rakdos Charm is not fair because it's in two specific colors, so it's not a candidate for a lot of the decks I play. I think I love Deathrite Shaman. It's also got that problem where like it only goes in certain decks, but man, the little Planeswalker Deathrite, it's good.
And we should mention Rogue's Passage is in this set as well. It's very powerful, and certainly has killed plenty of us.
And Gutter Snipe, that's a staple.
That's true.
Yep.
Good set. Return to Ravnica.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on
to get steadily less good in this block.
the second Ravnica block. This is Gate Crash.
Yeah.
Josh?
I chose Boros Charm.
I did as well.
I chose Crypt Ghast.
I like the set.
But I do like Boros Charm quite a bit. I play more Boros Charms, but I think just the doubling of mana and the Extort on Crypt Ghast, right? I think that has always surprised me every time. I'm like, oh gosh, we're just dying to that. Not even the double mana.
Extort definitely made a big splash in this. This was also Blind Obedience, and like Extort being so much better in multiplayer is like is awesome. But when I think of Boros Charm, I think of just like, this is like the first board protection spell that I was like, this is the reason that I knew board protection was good, because you would lose when people would cast Boros Charm and to protect their board.
And it's the perfect combination of, three things that are good in three different scenarios, and sometimes you die to it, sometimes, things get removed, sometimes, that's what I really love about it is like it fulfills multiple roles.
Yeah.
Because the protection is not always needed, and that it's not useless in those cases.
Yeah.
It just is a card where it's one of the few Boros cards that, if I'm in other colors that overlap with Boros Charm still goes in that deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this set did have some bangers, some stuff that we still refer to. This is Rapid Hybridization, Aurelia the War Leader, Sepulchral Primordial, and Diluvian Primordial, which were played a lot more a few years ago, but were to great success. Gyre Sage and Illusionist Bracers.
Oh yeah, double up.
So some very powerful cards that were competing. I think this was also a very flat one.
Yeah.
This next one, not a ton of great options.
This is historically known as a bad set, and as we did this research, we discovered it's a bad set.
It remains.
Yeah, we all chose something different, which is kind of fun here.
It's Dragon's Maze.
Dragon's Maze in an awful limited format too. Boy, I never want to draft it again.
I'm lucky I wasn't playing when this was being drafted.
Okay, I chose Notion Thief.
Yeah, this is a good one. I went with Maze's End.
Yeah, that's super fun. I chose Plasm Capture. Just a really cool little counterspell.
Yeah, I went with Maze's End because it's just like, this is still a win con that people are chasing. The dream of having the gates on the battlefield is still, it's a deck. It's an archetype.
Deck and strategy that is named after it.
Yep.
But Notion Thief is probably the most powerful.
Yeah, on its face, most powerful. I definitely
the original
has
Hullbreaker.
The biggest effect.
Yeah,
good point. Not too much to say about this set otherwise.
Okay, Magic 2014.
Okay.
Let's move on to the next set.
2014, a historically very slow limited format, and very bad in general as well. A couple of cards, but it was known for having a low power level in general.
There's still some winners in here.
Yeah, there's a couple, but not very many. I chose Young Peasy, Young Pyromancer.
Yeah, I went with Strionic Resonator.
Cool. And so I chose Archangel of Thune.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah.
These still see tons of play, all three of them, in their own sort of specific I think, archetypes. Strionic Resonator being the most open-ended probably of those, but even now, Strionic Resonator's probably been power crept a little bit.
Yeah, I don't play it anymore. I know the dream is dead. I know what I think's going to happen with it. I'm not going to actually be able to do. Used to.
Yep.
Very surprising, none of us chose Rise of the Dark Realms, which is just on its face, again, another Insurrection level type card.
It is, but it needs setup. So Insurrection, in most games, by the time you can cast it, there's going to be creatures around for you to steal. Rise is like, but did graveyards also get full?
And do they have creatures that'll win the game?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Rise fan. I know a lot of people just live to cast Rise of the Dark Realms, but it's never gotten there for me.
A lot of times you get 30 creatures back, though, so that does feel cool.
It will win you the game.
Yeah.
And Brian Kibler's Angry Elvish Mystic was in this set for the first time. None of us said Elvish Mystic.
That's true.
I mean, there's just a lot of cards like that.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to move on to Theros.
Yeah, this is where I finally really started getting to Magic. By the third set was when I started drafting a lot more. So
I chose Swan Song.
Ooh, good one.
I went with Gary, Grey Merchant of Asphodel.
Yeah, and I said Nixthos, Stranded Nyx. All three of these are very defensible, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's more in this set that are defensible.
This is a great set for Commander, I think.
First card I thought of was Gary, honestly, and I was just like, oh, that's the set that brought us like one of the cleanest black win cons that still lives to this day. But Nixthos, my heart. That's my baby.
Someday they'll reprint this card.
Someday.
I am aware that Nixthos is powerful, and I've seen it be powerful on other people's boards. But I don't generally... I play too many colors for it generally to be good in any decks I play. But when people play it, I'm like, oh crap, that's Cabal Coffer's good.
Yeah.
Swan Song is a good one.
I mean... Yeah. Swan Song is another card that I hold myself back from playing. It's like, okay, is this a Swan deck that I'm going to allow to be in that powerful or that power level? So...
there are some other bangers in this set, though. Theros brought us Perforos, God of the Forge, also Elspeth, Sun's Champion, and Prophet of Krufix.
Pour one out for the Prophet.
See ya.
No.
Josh and I will pour one out. We've been pouring one out since it got banned, actually. It's the biggest pour out of all time.
Pour 12 out.
Well, actually, they pour 4 out a turn.
Yeah. And then when you look at your cup, it's still full somehow.
It's so crazy. It's just the most powerful extra turn spell ever.
Pouring it out in the art, too, isn't it? I'm pretty sure there's
I think that's the true answer for like what defined the era of Commander that it was in, but there's a reason it's banned.
All right, let's move on to the second set in the Theros block. It's Born of the Gods.
Oh yeah,
more gods on the way.
I chose Kiora's Follower.
Yeah, classic.
I went with Xenagos, God of Revels.
I too said Xenagos, God of Revels, but I love all these cards. I play Kiora's Follower in a bunch of decks too. Yeah,
not that many good cards in Born of the Gods. The good ones are good, but there was only 3 that even made our list.
Yeah, I love that Xenagos is still kicking as like a terrifying commander.
Oh yeah.
If they're playing Xenagos, you better be on your toes.
Indestructible too.
Die out of nowhere anywhere.
Yeah. Well, there was a period of time where you have to run God removal.
Yeah.
Or God level removal that can get rid of indestructible because of these cards. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to be able to exile enchantments.
Yeah.
Or bounce them or something.
Yeah,
or bounce permanents.
Yeah. This had also
that was when I realized that bounce was good, was during that era. This answers those things. I mean, for now, but that's good enough.
Where everything was indestructible for a period of time.
And they might not replay it too if you bounce it a lot of times.
Courser of Krufix was the only card that we had on honorable mention. So this is thinner than I remember the set being.
Truly Born of the Gods, though, all of those answers.
Let's go to Journeyed into Nyx.
This
is the
set
final
in the block.
Okay.
I chose Dictate of Erebos.
I went with Eidolon of Blossoms.
And I chose Mana Confluence. This is my City of Brass pick just a little bit later on,
Yeah. This set was tricky, honestly. They're all kind of like fine. They're all kind of redundant pieces that we've seen before.
They're all pretty close, I think, and none of them are particularly great.
Yeah.
They're all, there's no S tier stuff here. It is just like, so I think all of them are defensible.
I do like that Eidolon itself is an enchantment, right? So
Yeah.
that does help out with Enchantress decks.
I picked Eidolon because it is like a different tier of Enchantress that we hadn't really seen before. Like the ETB Enchantress effect hadn't, like this is the first version of that. And Eidolon, like if you play an Enchantress deck, that is the best of them because it cantrips and, you know, your replenishes and all those get way, way better. So I picked it because it's sort of best in class. Well, it was best in class at the time, I guess.
Yeah, because now I'd still prefer like a 2-mana.
Yeah. The like 3-mana ETB one was really good. That came in, I think it was later Theros, but it's still quite good. But I think we were ready to move on to Magic 2015.
M15. I said Rexage.
Nice.
Yeah, classic. I went with the Chain Veil.
Ooh.
I like that pick.
Yeah. I went with Polymorphous Jest. Just a fun little...
That card's fun.
Yeah, card's fun. Rexage probably the right choice if I had to go redo it, but I do love my card. It's a lot of fun.
I picked Chain Veil here because it just defined an archetype. Chain Veil Teferi became like one of the most powerful commanders in the format, the archetypes in the format. And still, if you're playing a Planeswalker deck, Chain Veil is sort of one of the few cards that does what it does.
Yeah, it's pretty
especially
unique.
colorless.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
It's pretty unique as an effect.
Yeah, very powerful too.
Yeah, I had it as number 2. Rexage, though, just for too long and sort of becoming less so, but it was just like, yep, Rexage is going in the deck.
Yeah.
Yep. It was the Eternal Witness, where you just like I'll play Soul Ring, Eternal Witness, Rexage, Command Tower.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, one card that didn't show up here that I think when I saw it at first, I was like, this has to be one of the best cards ever, was Waste Not. And it just hasn't ever crossed that threshold for me for some reason. I don't know why. It feels like it should be easier to sort of get going in a lot of the decks that want to use it, but I just haven't faced enough maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never really leaned into the archetype of Waste Not, so
I feel like it's good in discard decks, but there's just not that ton of them.
Yeah.
It's like a
I do
wheels
feel
card.
like every time it's out, it's kind of, monument to endurance-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've just power crept it at this point. Or we don't play wheels and discard decks, like just because of the meanness.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next set. A brand new, plain, and exciting beginning of Khans of Tarkir.
One of my favorite sets of all time.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't had one we all agreed on in a while. Hardened Scales.
Easy.
Hardened Scales, easily, yeah.
I mean, it's to find a modern deck, let alone a commander deck.
Yeah.
1 mana for this effect on an enchantment that, like, you can't really prioritize removing Hardened Scales. You just kind of have to answer the board. So it just makes it so powerful and easy to include in those decks.
It kicked off the current generation of +1/+1 counters really matter too. I think once Hardened Scales, it was like, all right, now this is a thing, and we're going to keep supporting it with new cards.
Yeah, Abzan counters decks were huge in that era of Commander.
Yeah, Hardened Scales is if you're playing a +1/+1 counters deck, is the first card you put on the list, and it's you never cut it.
You never cut it, yeah.
Yeah.
But some great cards in Khans of Tarkir. Dig Through Time, Treasure Cruise. I think some people might put as their number 1. Villainous Wealth, like a really cool win con. And then, of course, the most annoying card of all time, Jeskai Ascendancy. Hate that
I
card.
do think there's some people screaming at their computer about Villainous Wealth being like the best commander card, because Villainous Wealth has been responsible for so many huge, exciting moments.
Crazy,
Yeah, true.
Jeskai Ascendancy, the original Paradox engine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I also had they finally finished off the Tri-lands in this set.
Yeah, that's true. The tap Tri-land.
And if you were to just go by cards that get played over all the most, it's probably, one of the Tri-lands.
You won the Tri-land, yeah.
Yeah. This was a great set.
Yeah. The next, because we were still in three set blocks back then, the next set was Fate Reforged. We are going to agree once again, crazy.
Lockstep.
Twice in a row. Ugin the Spirit Dragon.
Ugin.
Such a cool card.
Well, I mean, this was like, you put it in every mono green deck, you put it in every mono blue deck, you put it in any for however many copies you had of Ugin. It was,
and back then you were going to get to 7 mana, like eight mana.
Yeah.
You were going to get there. Like, games just went long. You were going to be able to cast the spell naturally. You didn't even have to be in a particularly ramp deck.
Yeah.
You just play it as one of your top end things.
Yeah, now I think we think of it as like a colorless synergy card, and it was then also, but at that point you were just like, you ran Ugin in a lot of decks.
Yeah, you just throw it in there because the games were going to go that long, and it is worth that amount of mana. Like, it is going to have that impact on the game.
And if you're a colorless deck, if you're just an artifact deck, boy, oh boy, this is a one set away.
Oh yeah, if you were able to cheat it out early too, like
Yeah. Good cards in the set though. Temur Sabertooth, I think, is another big one that maybe
underrated.
we made famous, especially Josh. You sort of like pushed this to the forefront, I think.
Yeah, but I think it's another one of those cards that like we eventually stopped playing because it is too good.
Yeah, it combos off.
Yeah.
Now it feels underrated. Like a lot of people don't even really know that it exists.
Yeah.
It also leads to like super stormy turns, I think. So like that playstyle has diminished a little bit. The decks that I have that Temur Sabertooth are or were good in were long turns. I can blow up all your lands with an acidic slime kind of chainy stuff. So it's still super, super powerful, but definitely sees less play these days.
Yeah, and then Reality Shift, I think, does deserve a mention here, because we've talked about Pongify and the other one.
Rapid Hybridization,
but Reality Shift exiling does make a big difference, but leaving behind a body is a bit problematic.
I think Shamanic Revelation is worth mentioning because it was the beginning of what we now see as like green being able to draw cards.
Yeah.
Up till that point, green wasn't that great at. There was a few cards like Greater Good from the past, but
and the one from Rise of the Eldrazi, the one where you sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on to Dragons of Tarkir.
We almost went 3 for 3.
Almost. Not in this house, though.
Yeah, Jimmy's like, I will not stand for.
Yeah, I will not. This one is defensible. It's not Knight Captain level.
No, you're right.
Impact Tremors was what I said.
I also said Impact Tremors.
And I said Dragon Tempest, which is Dragon Impact Tremors, but with haste. Ooh.
Dragon Tempest is a great answer, honestly.
Good card, really good card.
Really good card. And like Impact Tremors is again archetype defining. It goes on next to Perforos. Like if you're playing that kind of deck, it goes right in the deck. And if you're playing a Dragon deck, Dragon Tempest goes right in the deck.
Impact Tremors was a common too, I believe, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, we don't see too many cards that are just straight up at common spot. We'll see occasional uncommons, but I think, Impact Tremors is one of those where it's like, wow, this card in limited sucks, but boy, oh boy, look at its just power level otherwise.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about how a lot of Commander token decks are about turning bodies into value or into a win in some way, and this just gave red a way to do that.
Yeah.
And that was so clean. Like it had Goblin Bombardment and it had like other sack outlets, but I think the like ETB damage thing.
Yeah, it just adds up.
Yeah.
Well, Perforos was such a strong force in the format during this particular era, and this was like a piece of that deck.
Right.
And still like those decks have expanded beyond just Perforos. I mean, token decks, but like you said, trying to leverage tokens in ways beyond just attacking.
Yeah.
And back then too, a lot more people playing Constant Mists and Glacial Chasms and things like that. Oh, yeah. You needed Impact Tremors and things like that to be able to still win games where they've got that stuff.
Right.
Glacial Chasm doesn't work as good against, I guess, but you know what I'm saying.
A couple other good cards from Dragons of Tarkir: Secure the Wastes and Inspiring Call. Secure this Wastes obviously goes very well with Impact Tremors.
Yep, there you go.
But let's move on to Magic Origins.
I said Chandra's Ignition.
Yeah, I did as well.
This was close for me. I ended up choosing Sword of the Animist because it is colorless, and a lot of decks, I think,
weird. We chose the red card, and you did not.
Yeah. I was high off my Dragon Tempest win.
I don't play Sword of the Animist much anymore.
Yeah. I played a little bit. If I have like a super cheap commander that I want to attack with, I'll put it in there. But it's usually alongside a couple other things. Chandra's Ignition for me was just sort of archetype defining. It was like the symbol of power matters in Commander, and it became a real win con for a different style of deck that was just like, I've got one big guy and I'm going to kill everybody at once.
Well, yeah, and I love win cons that are also like equalizers.
Yeah.
So this is also decent when I'm behind, because if I can stick one creature, I can use it to wipe the board, even if it's not going to win me the game. And then also, if I happen to pull off the plan of like the creature's really, really big,
it does win you the game.
It does win me the game. Yeah, I really like that about it. Still a great card.
Yeah, this was a tricky one. I feel like it was pretty flat. It also had Managorger, Hydra, Elemental Bond, Hangerback Walker, and Jace Vryn's Prodigy, which are all see a ton of play and are very powerful. Elemental Bond in particular, I think, sees a lot of play.
Yeah, because it's 3 mana for that effect. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Jace Vryn's Prodigy. I tried to talk myself into it, but I had to be responsible.
Yeah, it's a good card.
All right, let's move on to Battle for Zendikar. We are back. And they're still big and noodly.
I said Nulamog, which is Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger.
I went with Zulaport Cutthroat for this one.
I also said Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger.
Zulaport was the first like symmetrical blood artist. It hit everybody at 2 mana anyway. I think there was 4 mana ones at that time. But
vampire one, I think.
Yeah, Zulaport just expanding the redundancy for popular archetype like aristocrats.
The printing of Zulaport Cutthroat to me is also really similar to Hardened Scales, where Wizards was like, all right, let's push the gas on printing aristocrat pieces. And so from this point on, we just got a lot. So this is also an interesting selection, just being like, this is where it truly starts.
Yeah, it's true, because we kind of only had Blood Artists
and then there's Falcon Wrath Noble or something. Yeah.
I think the reason I didn't pick it is because there's so many now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of redundancy.
Yeah, there's a bajillion of these at this moment, but back then there definitely wasn't.
And like the thing that you think of when you think of Battle for Zendikar is the Eldrazi.
True.
So it's really tough to like be like, what's the best card in Battle for Zendikar, and be like, this human.
Yeah,
that's how it goes in Magic a lot, though. Like this 2-drop, actually.
Yeah.
Battle for Zendikar also had the Tango lands, the the Have lands, as I like to call them. It also had Void Winnower, which I think was a possibility for sure.
Yeah.
Omnath, Locus of Rage, Retreat to Coralhelm. Yeah, I think
Omnath is also like a big commander.
Yeah,
like that was definitely one that a lot of people gravitated toward.
And one of the early, one of the early landfall ones, Titania, I think, was around the same time, but like those two coming out near each other really made landfalls decks more prominent for sure.
For sure.
The Titanium one, I don't even know says landfall on it, but it's a land deck. So
it's basically the same. All right, let's move on to the next set. This is still in the block. Yeah, it's only the second one. It's Oath of the Gatewatch.
This is when we went to two sets in a block,
right?
For only a couple
made blocks
of years.
Smaller,
which I think was the sweet spot, but we won't talk about that now.
Yeah, I agree.
I chose Kozilek the Great Distortion.
I went with Eldrazi Displacer.
Very cool. I chose one of my pet cards, which is Mirror Pool.
Yeah, I mean, these all see a ton of play. Mirror Pool a little less these days, but Eldrazi Displacers I picked because it's just individually responsible for probably some of the most infinite combos, especially when you combine it with stuff like Ashnod's Altar, which is really only stuff that like our format does, is abuse Eldrazi Displacer to that level.
Yeah.
Repeatable, non-restricted, blinking, all you need is mana. Yeah, recipe for disaster.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I like Cozy this one just because refill your hand and then stop them from doing stuff. It makes it's very hard to play against too, because you don't know what CMC stuff they got.
I also think Kozilek is probably the first popular colorless commander.
Yeah,
I think this is like the first. Well, like we're into it.
This is the set where they invented the diamond mana symbol. It hadn't existed prior to this,
right?
So it created a uniqueness to colorless that didn't exist before,
right?
Yeah, it kind of made the sixth color, I suppose.
Yeah.
But not too restrictive, because it was only really in these sets that they were like, you have to pay colorless to have this thing go. Yeah, they've sort of gotten rid of that part of the mechanic.
They do it once in a while. They've done it in modern Horizon sets and whatnot, but yeah.
In that way, I do think like a decent answer for this is Wastes. I think that like an individual card that had the most impact on commanders, Waste is a possibility. It still is pretty narrow because they don't use it that often.
Still don't run a lot of Waste in your deck because your Soul Rings can that cost. But it is a fetchable thing. So yeah, that's interesting.
And this set also had Zendikar Resurgent, which was very popular at the time, but not anymore.
That was one of the most popular cards in the format at the time.
It really was.
We used to talk about it as like, that card's crazy.
All right. Moving on to Shadows over Innistrad, a very popular set.
Yeah.
Very popular
fun draft format for sure. Gitrog Monster was my answer.
Mine as well.
I said Cryptolith, right? But yeah, it's Gitrog Monster.
Cryptolith's not crazy though.
It's not crazy. But man, the Gitrog Monster, name a card that when you bring it up, you're like, everyone just nods their head in silence.
Gitrog's also like the type of card that so many players are like, I would play Gitrog, but it's Gitrog.
You can't even put in the 99. It's so Gitroggy. Yeah.
It's so sweet though.
It is.
I think Tireless Tracker could have been an answer too.
I agree.
It was right there for me.
This card saw a lot of play. That card saw a ton.
It's very broad. Yeah.
It still does. I think Tireless Tracker, if Gitrog wasn't the like character in Commander that it is, I think Tireless Tracker is the easy first answer for me.
In some ways, Tracker's gotten better as the sort of rectangle theory decks have gotten more support. Just anything that's making a lot of tokens, not even to crack them for other reasons. Yeah,
non-creature tokens just won't become a thing for much later. So Tireless Tracker was sort of the beginning.
Ahead of its time.
This is the first Clue appearance as well, right? In this set, I'm pretty sure.
It might have been. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it wasn't in the sets before this. Yeah.
Other possibles: Anguish Unmaking, Interlude.
Yeah,
all good cards.
Yep.
Let's move on to this next set because I think this one's really interesting. This is Eldritch Moon.
Right.
I said Selfless Spirit.
I also picked Selfless Spirit.
And I too, 3 picked Selfless Spirit.
But the thing is about Eldritch Moon, there's a lot of things that we could have picked.
It's true.
There's like so many things. Like I remember looking at this and being like, oh, well, you know, there's a lot of different picks.
Maybe we should list
like
them
my
so we
favorite
can have
is
the
I
discussion.
think
So the other ones are Splendid Reclamation, Sigarda's Aid, really powerful, Emrakul the Promised End, Imprisoned in the Moon, Mind's Dilation, and Eldritch Evolution. I've died so many of these other cards, and they've done so much work in other games, but we all pick Selfless Spirit.
Yeah, I think Splendid Reclamation, Sigarda's Aid, and Emrakul are like sort of the next closest, but all of those would have been defensible.
Sigarda's Aid is crazy.
Well, I don't think Selfless Spirit is such a powerful card that it was a shoe-in to win either. That's the funny thing is they're all like, none of these are quite S tier, and they're all kind of in the mix. Hey, you know, if you roll 3 dice, sometimes they're all going to be 6s.
Yeah, I'm just curious why Selfless Spirit top your list for this one?
I think it was because I thought it was more broad. I just thought, I thought it's, you know, I agree. Those 4, Selfless Spirit, Reclamation, Sigarda's Age, and Emrakul were all similar power level. Emrakul probably more powerful, but because there's restriction to it. But then I said, okay, well, if they're close, what's the most broad? And I said Selfless Spirit. That's, you know.
I think it's such an annoying card. It's a flyer on top of everything else. I've been poked by this thing so many times. When it's up, when white has multiple types of these things happening, it's just like
hard to punch through it.
I have to just kill you some other way or just hope something helps. So I just really like that card overall.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like when I build white decks, I really like the 2-mana 2/1 flyers, the one that's Exile the Graveyard and Selfless Spirit, and they just sort of auto includes for those kind of decks. So I was like, I lean on Selfless Spirit so much, so that's the one I'm going to pick here. But I do think like Sigarda's Aid is probably the next best one.
Yeah, it's such a unique card.
It's hard to replace.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, next set is Kaladesh.
All right, well, we know that artifact sets are powerful, and does this trend continue? Spoiler alert, yes, it does.
It does.
Mine might be a little controversial. I chose Torrential Gearhulk.
This card's sick.
Yeah, that's a sweet one. I went with Panharmonicon.
Yeah, I also went with Panharmonicon, but I do love Gearhulk.
There's so many good choices. I was very close to Combustible Gearhulk was my
interesting.
Yeah, I love the red one.
Yeah, the red one's really fun.
I originally wrote down Panharmonicon, and then I was like, I don't know. The Torrential's just one of my favorite cards.
Yeah.
I always feel like when I've got that in my hand, like I got the game handled.
Yeah, totally.
It's a very Josh card for sure.
Yeah, it's like when you counterspell, it's a board wipe sometimes, it's a blocker, it's surprising, it's a Sublime Epiphany.
And if you're able to do that and like one of the 5-mana counterspells being held up at the same time, you're just unstoppable in that game, it feels like, right?
Yeah, I like to feel safe, and that card makes me feel safe. But Panharmonicon was and still is like a defining card as far as design. I feel like and maybe Panharmonicon was a little templated off of Doubling Season, but
Parallel Lives.
It feels like, you know, this is something Harmonicon is a thing we say a lot. This is, you know, token Harmonicon or whatever we say. We say that a lot.
Yeah, I mean I think the original doubler is Doubling Season, but Panharmonicon is the one that said like, look, anything can be doubled.
Yeah.
It's not just this, it can be anything.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people looked at Panharmonicon and was like, whoa, like it explodes your brain, and it does the Commander thing where it takes you so far over the top that you can actually win those games.
Yeah, it leads to Shin and stuff like that, right?
It's the beginning of an era for sure, and we're going to talk about another doubler pretty soon here, so it's definitely like we're talking about this era.
Let's quickly go through the other options. Like
this set is pretty stacked.
Aetherflux Reservoir, Smuggler's Copter, Marionette Master, just Inventor's Fair, Sky Sovereign, just a lot of really good stuff here.
All right, we're going to keep moving to Aether Revolt. Josh?
Heroic Intervention.
It's a good answer. I had to go with Walking Ballista, though.
Yeah, it was one of those two for me, and I chose Walking Ballista as well. Probably just for the broader thing here. It's just any deck can play it, and you're pretty happy with it in most decks.
Oh, I actually think Heroic's more broad, but Ballista is more powerful.
Okay. I mean, maybe mine is you can play the more decks, maybe not as broad, But Heroic's incredible, obviously.
Yeah, Walking Ballista is so sneaky broad that is like where I landed on it. It's good in like colorless reduction decks. It's good in +1/+1 counter decks. It's good in big mana decks. I don't even hate it in just like green decks that happen to have a lot of mana as creature removal. So it feels like you look at it and you're like, yada, 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 Walking Ballista, and then you do the thing. It's like Craterhoof level for me in terms of archetype.
It's so often the problem at the table, too. And just is one of those things where, again, stops certain players from doing or touching anything because it's like, well, I'm just one Ballista ping away from losing this creature that's really important or whatever.
But Heroic Intervention probably sees way more play.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by broader. Like,
Yeah.
I've got Heroic Intervention in a lot of decks, and I have Walking Ballista in a couple.
Yeah.
And it's really good in the decks that it's in.
Here's the thing, though. This list is nuts. Either Revolt had Rishkar's Expertise, Scrap Trawler, SRAM Senior Edificer, Whir of Invention, and Metallic Mimic, all of which see tons of play still.
Scrap Trawler, really.
Scrap Trawler was my next after Ballista.
Hard to replace.
Yeah.
Because it's very unique. But man, it's Scrap Trawler is annoying to play with. Let's not even talk about it. It's just too much thinking. Yeah.
Pretty close on SRAM, actually. I think SRAM's probably my number 3 in terms of just like commander-ness. He was one of the better like mono white commanders for a long time. So I think of him.
Turns out they gave card draw to white, and
it became good. Who knew?
We're talking of mono white.
Yeah, to Amonkhet.
We're on Amonkhet now. I said Anointed Procession.
Anointed Procession.
We
have all anointed it as the best card in this set.
3 processions in a row.
This was another one that was sort of on the Ristic Study level where I was like, I know Anointed Processions in this set. It's going to be really tough to beat.
The set didn't have that many other cards too.
I agree.
Yeah, so it was a very easy first pick. Same thing with Ristic too, like you said.
Yeah, not much competition here. There was Approach of the Second Sun, Oketra's Monument, Pull from Tomorrow, Archfiend of Ifnir maybe. I mean, honestly, that last one's not even in there. Yeah, Anointed Procession just sees a ton of play still. You know exactly what deck it goes in, and it's really good in that deck.
Yeah, I think the next closest is Approach of the Second Sun, but it's not a particularly fun win con in my opinion. So
and that's not even in the same tier grouping as
not even close.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Hour of Devastation,
the second part of the Amonkhet dual set.
Yep, I said Torment of Hailfire.
I said the Locust God.
I love that. I also said Torment of Hailfire.
I originally had Torment of Hailfire, and then I saw Locust God and was like, you know what? Locust God for me defined an archetype as well. This was like a super popular commander that led to a ton of wheel decks. And like I still, when I sit down across from a Locust God, I'm like, oh,
it's still good.
It's
still good.
Yeah, it will kill me.
I mean, my first deck was a Nekusar deck, so wheels have been around for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
But Torment is just the better Exsanguinate. It just ends games every single time, and the number doesn't even have to be that high.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many times you're like, well, I was meaning to have Cabal Coffers and Urborg and do this for 37, but you know what? 6 is going to kill everybody.
Yeah. Or just take everyone out so far that they're like...
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to literally die right now, but they won't be in the game anymore. Yeah.
They're not in a fighting position. Yeah.
They sack their whole board, discard their whole hand, and go to single digits.
Yeah.
Torment of Hailfire is like, you're so happy to be mind twisted where you just discard your hand and you're like, that wasn't so bad. Hour of Devastation was actually surprisingly deep for me.
There's a lot here.
Like Abrade, Ramunap Excavator, Neheb the Eternal, Razaketh the Foul-Blooded, Scarab God, and Mirage Mirror all came from this set and are all like either super iconic, beloved cards or just extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Scarab God still hits the table, takes over the whole game.
Oh yeah,
I love Mirage Mirror. So.
Like I put Abrade in every deck with red. Close. It depends on what it's paired with, but I still play a lot of Abrade, and I think it's better today than it was then.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Ready?
Yep.
All right, on to Ixalan.
The new plane.
I said Chart a Course.
I said Gishath Sun's Avatar.
Nice.
And I said Arcane Adaptation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different choices there.
This is very diverse.
Yeah, I do love Chart the Course. I love Gishath. Yeah, I think this is a great set that shows. I think this was sort of like, I think when Magic got really good at like making a lot of stuff that was really appealing and nothing just straight busted. Anointed Procession, it was like the obvious one, but it was harder to see, I think, for them at that point. This one I did like how broad it was, and the set had a great number of themes in terms of all the different types in it as well. So I like this set a lot.
Yeah, Chart of Course, I don't think it's a very interesting pick. It's along the lines of Heroic Intervention and Mindstone in that like it just is never embarrassing, goes in a lot of decks.
Yeah.
I think Dinosaurs introduced a whole new archetype to Commander that just demanded your attention. It was like the first time anything competed with dragons. I guess Angels. It's like Angels, Dragons, and then Dinosaurs was a new era of Magic that really captured a lot of people's attention. And I think of just the number of players whose first deck is Gishath. And still, when Gishath hits the table, you're like, okay, we could lose it with this one swing. So it just feels like a sort of iconic commander in Commander's history.
Yeah, and it seems like such an obvious choice, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You're like, why weren't
take
they
them
in
so
Magic?
long?
Yeah.
Well, at the
How
time,
many people were brought to the game by just being like dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs,
I'm built
yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
I know a lot of like people, especially on the younger side, a lot of kids like
Yeah.
the first tech they want to play is like you can do this, dragons, something, or dinosaurs. They're like dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs,
Yeah.
don't be stupid.
Yeah, and it led right into the Jurassic Park stuff that they started doing. Yeah, so it was a pretty obvious like waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Some cool cards in Ixalan: Unclaimed Territory, Growing Rights of Itlamok, and Hostage Taker was a pretty cool card that still sees play. But let's move on to Rivals of Ixalan. Josh?
Atali Primal Storm. Jimmy, how did you not pick Atali Primal Storm?
I'm
Atali
all over the
Primal
place.
Storm.
Wait a minute.
Because Tender Shoe Dryad says every upkeep.
Good. It is really good.
That's a good answer.
It is not
the
Atali.
Atali player I know.
I know. Look, I didn't pick Anger either, so maybe that's why Atali's not here.
Like fighting your nature or something.
Yeah, I was at, it was the same thing. I was late. I was just like, no, it's a vibe check. We're going Tender Shoe Dryad this time. I don't know.
It's still great. I mean, Tender Shoe Dryad, you do have to answer when it hits the table, but Atali for me is like the most commander threat.
Yeah,
Like,
it's sweet.
it's-
and it's a dinosaur. All right, fine. You know what? I don't change my pick, but I recognize it.
You know what's funny is like Rivals of Ixalan was a much worse set, I think, in a lot of people's memory. But in terms of commander cards, Rivals of Ixalan add way more.
Tons. Yeah.
Pitiless Plunderer, Galta, Ravenous Chupacabra, Zakama Primal Calamity, Wayward Swordtooth, Immortal Sun, and the best commander card of all.
Yeah, I thought you were skipping it.
No.
Flappy?
Zetalpa Primal Dawn.
There you go.
I know that.
How do you win without Zetalpa?
They put it in every commander deck for a while.
Yeah, I've never won without Zetalpa, actually.
Zakama is, it's a crazy lineup.
Yeah,
and
we're
right. Rivals
great.
is not like positively remembered. I don't
No.
think.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But
this
for
is
commander, it's got tons of bangers.
absolutely. They just all happen to be 6 to 12 mana.
What would have been your number 2, Rachel?
Behind Atali, it's sort of interesting. I think Galta for me, or maybe Ravenous Chupacabra in terms of just like I've played the most and I like it the most. Where were you at?
You don't like Plunderer?
Yeah, Plunder was mine, and then Tender Shoot.
Yeah.
So we're all over the place, which is cool because it shows you the power level is like pretty close between a lot of like high power cards.
This is right around when they started zeroing in on Commander. I feel like they got the vibe for the first time.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Dinos helped.
Yeah. This set that's next is Dominaria.
Yeah.
And I do think that Dominaria got a good vibe for Commander as well.
Yeah.
Legends Matter.
Yeah, Legends Matter helped a lot for sure. Might have led us along a path that we're currently on of tons of legendaries every set though.
It did.
So that could be slightly negative depending on your perspective. Anyway, I chose Tatiova Benthic Druid.
I did also.
I chose Helm of the Host, but
it's a great answer.
All great cards, yeah. Helm of the Host takes a lot more to set up. Tatiova just gets going.
I mean, Helm is an awesome magical Christmas land commander like card.
Such a commander card. Yeah.
Tatiova is more reasonable.
But man, Tatiova takes over the games just so sneakily.
Any deck that plays a Tatiova, it's like somebody better kill that thing. That person's gonna win. Like,
that's why I play a Braid and everything.
Yeah.
So bad to kill Tatiova. Yeah, 3 toughness.
Yeah, for me, Tatiova is just such a commander card.
Yeah.
And it's apparently all landfall cards are commander cards. But I honestly think that I'm looking at this list now that I maybe should have changed my answer to Muldrotha the Gravetide.
Yeah,
Muldrotha
it's a great
awesome
card, yeah.
Muldrotha was just like everybody had a Muldrotha deck. My game store was half Muldrotha decks.
That's
yeah.
funny.
I mean, the effect is insane.
There was a lot of really awesome stuff. Joyra, whether like Captain in this deck, Shalai, Joyra's Familiar, Teshar, Joda Archmage Eternal, which was a menace for a while.
It was.
Yeah. So
great Brawl deck.
Yeah, this is when Brawl came out, right?
Yeah.
Brawl was sort of, they attempted to start it here. I mean, Brawl still exists on Arena, but they wanted it to take over paper. It did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arcane Signet was in the Brawl stuff, not in
that was later
on.
That's
later.
later.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, this was the first set that was just like Legends galore. It felt like.
Yeah.
This was right when I started playing Commander. Was Ixalan Dominaria.
Once the gas is pressed, it doesn't stop getting pressed. With
That's
a lot
true.
Of things in Magic.
Let's move on to the next set, though. We've got Core Set 2019.
Wow, we all agree here.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that. I said, well, I gave it away. We all said Stitcher Supplier.
Yeah, 1 mana, mill 6.
Efficient. So
It's
efficient.
amazing. Every time I look at this, I'm like, this is really like the best slot for this.
Yeah.
If you read it and it doesn't feel like it should be, but then you look around and you're like, nope, this is the most efficient way to do this.
Yeah, you goldfish and you play a Stitcher Supplier and you're like, oh, that was incredible.
Game
like,
on, yeah.
It does
like
everything I want it to do, and it's on a creature too.
something to sacrifice.
Yep.
Like when you skull clamp a Stitcher Supplier, you're like,
Bring it back.
oh! Yeah, it's so good.
It's so good.
And this set was great for Commander. It had a lot of really powerful, really popular cards and commanders. It has Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsisma, Sai, Master Thopterist, Nicol Bolas, the Ravager, Arcades, the Strategist, not to mention Nexus of Fate, Meteor Golem, and Magistrate's Scepter is one that was on our list as like a cool card.
Yeah, I saw that card and I was like, this card to me is one of those it screams to be like, please try and break me.
Please.
Yeah.
And you can.
Yeah, you definitely can. Nexus of Fate 2 was a huge menace in other formats, and just mostly in Standard, just destroyed Standard for a bit. But yeah, it was cool because Nicol Bolas and Arcades coming back felt like classic, nods to Commander in a lot of ways. And we get a lot more of that again.
I think they brought back all the Elder Dragons.
They did.
They brought back Chromium and everything.
Chromium,
And they were popular commanders, all of those big dragons.
Yep.
Nicol Bolas just kind of stuck around the longest, I guess.
It's funny to think. I think
Arcades.
Meteor Golem might be my second pick here.
Oh,
Meteor
interesting.
Golem's such a classic.
You read it and you're like, this is too much mana. And then, no, you play it and you're like, nope, feels good. Reanimate it, blink it, whatever. It feels pretty good.
It's crazy to me that it was 2019 is where Meteor Golem's from.
Right?
It feels like an old one.
It's so simple.
Yeah. That's a cool one. Let's move on to the next one. It's Guilds of Ravnica. So we're back to Ravnica. We're back to the third time we're in Ravnica. And we agree on this one.
We're actually going to go, this card is obvious to me, Beast Whisperer.
Yeah.
Beast Whisperer.
Beast Whisperer across the board.
No real competition here. I mean, there's some good cards, but nothing. I mean, Beast Whisperer is one of the best cards in the format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best in slot in a lot of ways.
This is clean. We've designed lots of cards that are after Beast Whisperer.
Yeah.
We're now into also like the 4 mana slot is becoming super important for like defining certain archetypes and because we saw it with Panharmonicon. I think it was really the start of it.
Yeah, I mean, Joyer Weatherlight Captain's right in that window as well.
Yeah.
And this was a lot of Shalai. There was Shalai, like every white and green deck had a Shalai in it.
Yeah.
Other possibles were Assassin's Trophy. Very good card. Niv-Mizzet Perun.
Very good card.
The new Niv-Mizzet took over. 1,000 Year Storm. I think my pick for next would be maybe Runaway Steamkin.
Not Underrealm Lich?
Interesting.
Underrealm Lich might be after
You
that.
can play that one a lot,
Midnight Reaper also very good. I think those last 3 are actually all in contention. But Runaway Steamkin, if I'm playing red, I really want it. You have to be deep red, but it's so good.
I feel like Niv-Mizzet Perun's probably my second behind Beast Whisperer. I just think of it as such a classic commander.
Yeah, I like Underrealm Lich just because what it does, it just feels like, oh my gosh, look at it go. Look at it go.
Yeah, it's in the mold of Stitcher Supplier in some way.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, let's move on to the next one since it's going to be pretty short. It's Ravnica Allegiance. And this was the set that brought us
Smothering Tide. More 4 mana stuff.
The easiest one since Rhystic Study, although there is at least one legitimate contender here. Not quite an actual contender, but a really strong card. Guardian Project's also in Ravnica Allegiance.
Guardian Project, Rhythm of the Wild is also here, and I play a fair amount of Growth Spiral.
I play a lot of Growth Spiral on it. I didn't think I would when I first saw it, but I play a ton of it. Yeah, Wilderness Reclamation.
Yeah, I mean, all of those are like super powerful cards that when they come down, they're a huge problem, and none of them are Smothering Tide.
I think Guardian Project's a little above those other 3, and Smothering Tide's a little above that.
Yeah.
Coming right up Beast Whisperer, though, it's like, nah, there's no way. It's got to be Smothering Tide.
Yeah, I mean, this was peak when I was watching the Command Zone, and y'all were like, Smothering Tide's the real deal, and I was like, okay, buy 7 Smothering Tides. And I did.
And we weren't wrong.
And you weren't wrong.
Yeah. But fast forward till today when you really don't want to play.
How many do I play?
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. I too. I wonder, there's probably a glut of people out there that have way more Smothering Tides than they play in their decks.
I sold a bunch of Smothering.
I'm on that list.
Yeah, I'm on that list too. I have like 4 or 5.
Because it's above the threshold where I want to play. It's above the power threshold.
Yeah. But big commander card for sure. And this next set was a big set for commander as well. Yep. It is War of the Spark.
I think this is another contender for greatest commander set of all time. I said Bolas's Citadel.
I did as well.
I did too. How can you not? This card's, come on.
It's a crazy card.
Yeah.
Even more than Necropotence, this wins games, I think.
You're like Adnos that cast the cards?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. So easy to manipulate the top of your deck. You don't have to worry about too many lands in a row. Yeah, you just go nuts. And there's so many ways in black to almost just instantly gain back the life that you lost.
Yeah.
So it's a great card, yeah. But this set was so good. Again, we're now in the Legendary Matters stuff. Spark Double, Evolution Sage. The Liliana Dreadhorde General, the 6-mana one.
Yeah.
Narset, freaking stop people
Carter
from drawing.
Veils,
Carter Veils, yeah. Narset's Reversal, yeah.
Ugin the Ineffable.
Yeah, that's a huge
Dovin's
one.
Veto is one of the played cards. Massacre Girl. Sahili Sublime Artificer, also very highly played.
Yeah, so many Planeswalkers with static abilities being just so powerful.
Yeah, what a slam dunk of a set all around. The story and it, like the limited environment was really, really fun and cool and unique.
It was really cinematic.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, War of the Spark, just one of the greatest Magic sets of all time, and definitely in the running for Commander.
We didn't even list Kiora. Kiora's great too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it goes on past this. We just stopped at a certain point.
we're like, all right, yada,
the others have no more space on screen. Yeah.
Yeah, this was my first pre-release.
Cool.
So it was my first like limited format I ever played in paper.
Yeah, that is.
I lost a lot. Really, really, really lost a lot of games.
Wow,
that's when really weird limited format.
That was my pre-release. Was War of the Spark.
Wow.
It might be the weirdest limited format ever. The most unlike any other. Format ever.
It was a weird place.
I'd say that and Rise of the Eldrazi are maybe the two that are like the weirdest. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next set. Is Core Set 2020. So Core 2020, and this one. Really
this is 4 in a row.
Yeah, we went on a run here.
5 in a row. 5 in a row. We all agree. I didn't even know this was going to happen.
Mind meld.
Yeah, that's true. We're all.
Let's say it all at once. 3, 2, 1.
Field of the Dead.
Cards busted.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
It is.
Play more Ghost Quarters. Strip Mine.
Strip Mine. Yeah, Strip Mine the heck out of that thing.
Yeah, Field of the Dead was one that came out, and we were like, well, that's free.
Yeah, that's free and easy to hit in your Commander decks.
You could do that accidentally.
Yeah.
And I ran this in my Planeswalker deck just because I was like,
cool.
it's 3 colors and it makes bodies and I can block with them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, nothing really in contention, but other notables: Colossus Hammer, Mystic Forge,
maybe Mystic Forge,
Veil of Summer, Agent of Treachery, Kaikar Winds Fury.
I think Kaikar is the next closest.
Really?
Honestly, a lot of people build Kaikar. You built Kaikar.
I built Kaikar.
I built Kaikar. Have you ever built Kaikar?
No, but
Sort of
I played
surprises
against it. Yeah, Kaikar's great.
Yeah, it was just that was a super popular commander as well.
Yeah, I really like Mystic Forge actually. And then if you're a more competitive player, Veil of Summer obviously did a lot of work.
And
none of them were Field of the Dead though.
Yeah.
Nope. All right, we're moving on to Throne of Eldraine.
I'm super surprised here. I said Arcane Signet.
Yeah, I said the Great Henge.
I said the Great Henge as well.
Also a 2-mana rock.
Yeah. It does a whole lot more than that. Yeah, maybe I was kind of burnt out on the fact that we had a lot of 2-mana rocks at this point. Obviously, Arcane Signet's just nuts and so good and a mistake.
I think it's a mistake. That's why,
I mean, I think the Great Henge is a mistake, to be honest.
Yeah.
Great Henge, I mean, I think Great Henge is great. I love playing it. But Arcane Signet is best in slot for
2-mana rocks?
One of the most
sure.
common slots, which is Artifact Ramp.
I just don't like that it exists.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm not making a commentary on.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I don't want Arcane Signet to exist either, but it does.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it does. It is very good.
Commanderification
boring pick
of Magic has begun here because we also had, let's just move on to the other picks. Mystic Sanctuary, super good. Fabled Passage, that card gets a ton of play.
Yeah.
Midnight Clock, Return of the Wild Speaker. That's probably best in slot green card draw for that kind of effect. Power.
Yeah, I would think so.
Speed. Ember Cleave was one of my high picks as well.
That's a fun one. Fabro Elder was in this set as well.
I mean, I think if we look back, we had Smothering Tide, Field of the Dead, Arcane Signet within like the last 4 or 5 sets. So I think they were still figuring it out.
Yeah, well, Brawl was a big part then too, so it kind of doubly fueled the commanderification aspect.
Yeah, I just mean they were like they were a little above where we want our power level, and it took a while to figure that out. Yeah,
this was like right when they started designing for Commander, but didn't have a ton of experience designing for Commander.
Yeah, probably not the fully set up teams and all that.
Yeah,
and they chose that moment to invent a Commander-like format, justify, certain
printing into standard.
Yeah. It was
okay, Growing Pains. That's why
Growing Pains. Yeah.
I was honestly surprised that I didn't love a lot from Throne of Eldraine. I think back on that set very fondly, and I'm like, okay, fine. These cards are sort of fine.
Let's head back to Theros Beyond Death, though. Theros time. We're now doing one set per plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
The blocks
one
are
set
no more.
blocks now.
Yeah.
Yep. I chose Underworld Breach.
I did as well.
I probably should have. I said Shadow Spear.
I like Shadow Spear.
Yeah, but Underworld Breach, when it is, yeah. That's one of those cards that just hits hard. Shadow Spear has a lot of value to it, and I really love. And when the indestructible hexproof thing comes into play, it's actually incredible. Yeah, but Breach is amazing.
Underworld Breach is probably the most powerful red card in our format. It might be the most powerful red card
ever.
It might be.
It's up there.
They power crept Yawgmoth's Will. Like what?
Yeah.
There's
so many ways to keep filling your graveyard. There's some brain freeze, right?
I picked Underworld Breach just from a power level, but there's a lot of really powerful stuff here. This is also Thassa's Oracle.
Right. Some people were probably very upset.
They're still figuring it out as we were talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
This had Thassa Deep Dwelling, Nyx Bloom Ancient, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, and Heliod's Intervention, which remains a very cool card.
Yeah, very cool.
But yeah, two extremely powerful cards in our format with Thassa's Oracle and Underworld Breach. And then Shadow Spear obviously sees a lot of
Yeah, most powerful that exist as far as top end.
Yeah, you see a lot of them. All three of those cards you see a ton of.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next one. This is Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths.
Rawr.
The Ozolith.
The Ozolith. Hey.
Nothing does what it does. It's 1 mana. It's cool.
It's cool. Like, I've seen a fair amount of decks that can, like, animate the Ozolith into a creature, which is cool. Like, it's just a card that opens up a lot of doors and is really neat.
Makes Commander players go, ooh, okay. And that's always a great effect.
Ikoria also had just a mess of powerful cards, so we're still in a very powerful era for Commander. This is Drannith Magistrate. Ugh. This is Kinnan Bondar Prodigy. This is Winota, Joiner of Forces.
Oh, yeah.
And then a whole bunch of staples just like Kogla, Bastion of Remembrance, Luminous Broodmoth, Ruinous Ultimatum. Like, it's just...
You didn't mention Yorion, my guy.
Oh, you know what? We also didn't mention... Companion.
Yeah.
They still hadn't figured it out.
We were not quite there.
I actually think Companion was them being like, how do we make other formats more Commander-like?
Yeah, right.
And that didn't go very well.
Yeah,
they gotta stop doing that thing where it's like, yeah, exactly.
People seem to like this in Commander. What if we gave a card that you always have access to the other formats?
Surely everything will be fine. Great cube cards, though, I will say.
Yeah.
The Triumphs were also in this set.
That's true.
Really important lands to sort of get out there.
Yeah, fetchable Tri-lands. Is that good?
Yeah.
And then let's just slap cycling on them.
Yeah, why not?
But you know what? They sit in a great spot. I do not think they're too
I agree.
Yeah. Ikoria, I don't honestly look back on and being like, this set was busted. And then you look at the list and you're like, this set was busted.
Yeah.
All right, but let's move on to Core Set 2021, a little less powerful. Josh?
All right, this is the one where you guys have the responsible pick. Personal preference. I said Sublime Epiphany.
And we said
Terror of the Peaks.
The bad.
Yeah, honestly, a much more responsible choice.
I like Sublime 52, and they're all just very powerful cards, and notably at 5 and 6 mana, so a little bit higher than we've seen in the other categories so far.
Yeah, I mean, Terror of the Peaks actually lowered the mana value that we expect for this, because oh gosh, what's the 6 mana enchantment called? Oh no, Warstorm Surge.
Yeah.
Warstorm Surge is like 6 mana, and suddenly we were at 5 mana and on a body. Pretty good.
On the body, pretty good.
Something that can, and flying body that can bash you,
that protects itself.
Yeah, Terror of the Peaks is a terror. Every time it comes down, you're like, okay.
Off in the wind.
There's not much time left in this game.
Yep, it's kill the player with the Terror of the Peaks or be killed. This is a really strong set for Commander, though. I mean, even looking past our top 2, Garruk's Uprising, Mangara the Diplomat, Fiery Emancipation, Teferi Master of Time, Teferi's Ageless Insight, and Chromatic Orrery, all from Core 21.
Probably the best core set for Commander.
Yeah, I mean, those
I do
are
have to admit, Chromatic Orrery, like, it's playable. Yeah, I have it in some decks. Like, I thought it was horrible when I first saw it, but no, you definitely find spots for it.
I think this is the last core set, too. Outside of getting to Foundations, the closest that we get to it. Yeah,
Foundation's not technically a core set, but kind of is.
Yeah. Ended on the bang.
Successor.
Ended on the bang, though.
Yeah. No, I mean, I acknowledge you guys are right about Terror of the Peaks, but I do love Sublime Epiphany.
Card sweet.
So, to me, if I could only play one card from this set.
Oh, we're
it would
drafting.
be that one.
Yeah.
That's another way to think about quote unquote best.
Best, 100%. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next set. This one is Zendikar Rising. Also
right.
a very highly competitive set in terms of good cards.
Yeah. I went with Balaged Recovery.
This is the first set for MDFC, so they came in hot. I picked Scoot Swarm for this one, though.
Nice. I picked Malakir Rebirth, so another MDFC. It's that or Balaged Recovery, I think, for me.
Yeah, those MDFCs just are like, can go in every deck. And when they came out, we were like, they're going to go in every deck.
Yeah, I was between those two, Jimmy and Malakir and Balaged, because I don't even think this is hyperbole. I have them in every deck that has those colors. Because it is free.
It's free, pretty free, yeah.
It's just a free land or a free spell. I mean, it counts towards your land count, but it gives you an extra spell in your deck.
Yeah. The other thing is they're not middling power level. They are very
great.
powerful.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
You found, in fact, those are so super close to like, you like the spell card part borderline better than you like the land part, but you just can play as land if that's the only land you got in hand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scoot Swarm, very powerful, though. I've lost to it a lot.
Scoot Swarm, very powerful. I mean, when I think of commander cards, especially like top-end power-level commander cards that people like and get excited to play, Scoot Swarm is definitely on that list. If I play against a Scoot Swarm, I'm not surprised if I'm dead inside of one turn.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fun one, and it feels very commandery, the double-ness of this. But Zendikar Rising also introduced the first enchantment removal spell for black. This was Feed the Swarm.
Yeah, that was definitely
that was big time.
And other MDFCs like Valakut Awakening and Agadeem's Awakening,
I really like
both extremely powerful. And finally, one card that seems to be continued to be underrated is Felidar Retreat.
Card's so good.
Yeah.
So good. It just does exactly what you needed to do.
And then it's a win con later.
Yep. Big 4-mana stuff.
You need bodies, I got bodies. You have bodies, need power, got
I
that.
got you too. Just hit me a land drop.
All right.
Moving on. We were about to move on anyway.
We had it. Up next is Kaldheim, the snowy set.
Yep.
Josh?
Tybalt's Trickery.
Wow. First ever of Red really doing this. Everything else in this set, if you look at the other options, is like, okay, yeah, we have things that are close, but not like, wow, Tybalt's Trickery. You better be playing this card level.
Oh, it's so much fun, too. When you get got by a red counterspell, you're like,
can't get mad.
That was,
And you get something out of it, too. Could be cool, could be awful.
That's true. It's, talk about like new tools for a color that really needs like kind of cool, flashy stuff like this. It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, it's funny because the only other option on here that is close to it, I would say, is Birgi, God of Storytelling, which is basically another like, red ramp, like very powerful in those colors. Nothing else really steps out to me as like best otherwise.
Magda, it definitely is high on this list for me. Magda Brazen Outlaw, just a 2-mana creature that can be a threat in the late game with synergy is like, I found a lot more spots for Magda than I thought I was going to.
Oh, interesting.
Because you're like, how am I supposed to be able to attack with this 2/1? But you attack with it twice and then you use it as a tutor later. It's definitely won me games.
Yeah, I like Goldspan Dragon a lot.
Goldspan Dragon too, yeah. So a lot for red in Kaldheim.
That's true.
I don't know if we would have thought based on it being a snowy set.
Yeah.
Coma, Cosmos Serpent, Turgid also from this set.
Yep.
From a power level standpoint, I could see Turgid being an answer as well. I agree. My second up was Birgi, just because I know where that goes and I know that it's awesome where it goes.
Yeah.
And her the backside, the horn is pretty good.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh yeah.
You can definitely play that side sometimes. So
It's also a very good Game Nights episode with Jacob on Coma.
Well, speaking of Birgi, let's move on to the
Rachel
next one.
on Toski.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Jimmy and Magda.
We're moving on to Strixhaven, School of Mages, so a new plane.
Yep. And speaking of Birgi.
Oh yeah.
I chose Stormkiln Artist.
I did as well.
I chose Belladress Witherbloom. I went the commander route this time around. And maybe that's because I don't have that. I don't really use Stormkiln Artist effects that powerfully in my playstyle. But I've seen Belladress just do crazy things too, I think, so I have a little personal bias towards it.
Yeah, you picked Belladrose over the Silver Quill?
Shadrix?
Yeah, I mean, I do love Shadrix. I just don't think it's anywhere near as powerful as what Belladrose is doing. The untapping part of it's just crazy.
When I think of Strixhaven, I think of Magecraft, and for me, it was between Archmage Emeritus or Stormkiln Artist. And I went with Stormkiln Artist just because it's a little bit more exciting and explosive, and when it hits the battlefield, I'm like more afraid of it.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, it's definitely they untap with this thing. If they don't go off the turn they cast it, which usually they do, but if you get the chance
going crazy. Odyssey.
Yeah, but if they ever untap with it, it's almost certainly over. Yeah, it's the better Birgi.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you get to store that mana is so huge, and it can be any color. Pretty good. It's pretty serious. This set did have some other cool stuff going for it. I mentioned the Archmage, but there's also Culling Ritual.
Yeah, I like that card a lot.
Baleful Mastery ended up being the only one out of the Mastery cycle that we ended up sticking around, but Baleful Mastery is sweet, an exile spell for 2 mana. Wandering Archaic and Crackle with Power.
I gotta say, for as beloved as Strixhaven as a setting is, and as fondly as I kind of look back on it, kind of underwhelming list. Like,
I think that's
there's
fair.
cards we talked about, but none of them are like, wow, that card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Great setting, though, I think. I think any chance, like Tarkir, when they have a chance to like make cool new things with the color pairings or tricolor pairings, it's like, sweet, it's fun. I like it. This feels very magic-y.
Yeah.
So it's
my liking of a set might not be that tied to how powerful the cards within it are.
Yeah.
As it turns out. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. This is the D&D set.
Yeah, first time D&D.
I said Unexpected Windfall.
Ooh.
Fits right in with the Stormkiln Artist and the Beard King. I went with Old Gnawbone.
I also said Old Gnawbone.
Ugh.
Love me a good dragon.
That dragon is like, when it hits the battlefield, you're like, okay. This is a red alarm.
What? Yeah. Sorry, what just happened?
Like, I assume I'm getting hit for at least 20 damage, and then you get another turn's worth of mana, 2 other turns worth of mana.
And then you're going to kill us.
Yeah. It's...
Yep. Now you're going to do anything you want to do.
Yeah. Old Gnawbone I actually don't have any decks because it's just always been too expensive.
Yeah, it's a very expensive card these days.
But I've gotten to play with it, and
yeah,
what a mess.
I mean, that whole cycle is a lot of fun to play with. But what about Unexpected Windfall makes it best for you, Josh? I'm curious.
Well, I don't play a lot of play the creature and hope it lives type of cards.
Yeah.
Old Gnawbone is out for me, although it is scary when it hits the battlefield. And honestly, like, the rest of this set didn't have a ton. So I don't think Unexpected Windfall is insane, but it is a card I play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very
very
good.
broad, right? Like, you can kind of get away with it in most red decks. And the fact that it allows you to kind of put some mana on layaway for the future is, it's a weird way for red to ramp, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that to be nice. Card selection and the rest of it. I don't think it's an insane card. There's a lot of effects kind of similar to it too.
Mm-hmm. Treasures are big.
So it's an interesting thrill of possibilities.
Yeah.
But I do like it. It does tend to play better than it reads.
Yeah.
It's also extra good with the things that are really good in spells decks, like cost reducers or any copy effects, that kind of thing.
Yep. Other possibilities were Teleportation Circle.
Great card.
Deadly Dispute. Delina Wild Mage. Wizard class, which I've actually been fairly impressed with, but on a moderate level.
Yeah.
Circle of Dreams Druid.
And then moving on, we are
so close.
So close to the next set.
Onto the block set?
Oh, kind of, yeah.
Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Boy.
All the same answer from us on this one.
Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow also historically panned as not being very good sets.
Especially Crimson Vow.
Yeah, so for Midnight Hunt, I said the Meat Hook Massacre.
Same here.
I have the Meat Hook Massacre written down, but I was very, very close on another one that I play a lot more of, and that one's Augur of Autumn. So I think I'm going to pivot to Augur of Autumn. I just think that card's awesome, and I always feel good when it's in play. And Meat Hook Massacre is great, but there's a lot of redundancies of that.
I don't actually play that much Meat Hook Massacre, as it turns out.
No.
Yeah, every time I played it, it's made the table hate me.
It's great. It's great.
It's so powerful, yeah.
Yeah. I probably should have said Infernal Grasp if it's based on the cards I play more.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That card's also very good, yeah.
Morbid Opportunist, another good one.
Yeah, I played a decent amount of that.
I played a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Meat Hook Massacre was one of the first effects that we looked at where it's like, oh, this is like the thing that kills everything plus the payoff glued together.
Thing, yeah.
And we've seen a lot more of that in the last few years. It's like I've taken 2 effects that you like and they're on 1 card now, which is not my favorite kind of design. Yeah, it wasn't the first. The Great Henge, I guess.
I mean, there's lots.
There's a lot at this point.
Yeah.
We're watching. It's funny as we're doing this. We're watching the trends literally emerge again because it's like, oh, that was so powerful, and then they kept going back to that.
Yeah, but I think the Meat Hook Massacre is probably the answer, but. Man, Augur of Autumn, sweet. Infernal Grasp, sweet. Morbid Opportunist. And Gisa Glorious Resurrector were our other options for Midnight Hunt. This also had a decent land cycle with the slow lands.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Better than the fast lands, as it turns out in Commander.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot more slow than there is fast in Commander. Let's talk about the other Innistrad set. This is Innistrad Crimson Vow.
I said Welcoming Vampire.
Nice.
This is a good answer. I said Hullbreaker Horror.
And I said Toxrill the Corrosive.
Ugh.
Maybe Hullbreaker I would consider switching to, but that reaction to Toxrill is what makes me think it's the best.
I mean, also blech to Hullbreaker Horror, but...
I just like that Toxrill comes down and you can do it on rate, and then you pass the turn and you go, I start winning.
Yep.
Sorry.
You all start losing right away.
Yeah.
I love Hullbreaker Horror. I think it's sort of a great top-end scary blue finisher. The fact that you can control the board, you can combo off with it, you can flash it in, untap, go off, just means that it fits into a lot of really tricksy, really interesting decks. Like it goes in artifact decks, it goes in spell decks.
Yeah.
Probably
I think it's a good
have
threat.
had flash.
Probably not.
Yeah,
that's the part that because I played a decent amount as a top end finisher.
Yeah,
for sure. And that's one of the ways to win the game without attacking people.
Yep. It's just bounce all their stuff basically infinitely.
I like to do. Yeah.
I'm surprised that you two do have, because I feel like Welcoming Vampire is a Rachel pick.
It definitely is. I play a lot more Welcoming Vampire, but I just can't keep waiting for Welcoming Vampire to be power crept is how I feel. I feel like it's on our way.
Mentor of the Meeks.
It is.
It already
yeah.
prepped the power.
Yeah. I just feel like it's on its way out.
Well, Hullbreaker Horror is the Tidespout, the power creep Tidespout tyrant.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's someplace on the power creep path.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Welcoming Vampire a lot because no mana cost to the draw. It is limited a little bit, but I play it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's a good draw.
Great card, yeah.
The fact that it flies is a big deal too.
Yeah. Selfless Spirit-esque.
Yeah, wears the equipment well and gives you a couple cards back. Slowlands also in this set, but not a whole lot to write home about. Let's move on to the next set. This is Kamigawa Neon Dynasty.
All right.
I said Boseiju Who Endures.
I'm gonna say Otawara, Soaring City.
Nice.
I like.
I'm back on Boseiju.
Yeah,
it's between that and obviously the one in black, but in Otawara.
Takanuma.
Takanuma is the black one. Yeah. The white one's quite good as well.
Yeah.
I think Otawara is better than Boseiju. I didn't think I would get there, and now I'm just at the point where I've seen Otawara blow out turns so many times where you think you're completely protected and you think you've got the answer to everything, and then it just gets bounced and
channeled.
You're like, I have 3 counterspells in my hand. I can't. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm like more and more. I am on the side of Otawara if I'm gonna have one or the other.
Okay.
I mean, Boseiju is great.
I think the last time we had this discussion, I was on the Otawara side.
Yeah.
And I'm back to the Boseiju side now, but I like your pick a lot because I think it's separated by just a hair, and you know, depending on my mood, it could be either one. They're both amazing.
Yeah. I don't like the 4-mana part of it, even though it can be reduced. It just feels like Boseiju is so often just green, where Otawara is usually between 2 and 3 for me.
Yeah.
It's usually on the more. Otawara is often 2, and which is fine, and hits their commander, which Boseiju usually doesn't. But
it's
the
also
mana cost is, I think,
like it's a protection spell. It's a disruption spell. It's you can bounce to replay things for triggers. I just find Otawara a lot more flexible, even for the extra mana. But Kamigawa Neon Dynasty was a banana set.
Farewell.
Farewell is here. I don't know if that's a good card for Commander. I don't know if it's the best.
It's the best at doing what it does. That's for sure.
I think there's definitely an argument to be made that if you're saying most powerful best, that it's in the conversation.
Yeah. Ishin, 2 Heavens as 1 is another one I was thinking about here in terms of just like best commander. Containment Construct, Colossal Sky Turtle, and Fable of the Mirror Breaker were all in this set as well.
Sky Turtle's so good.
I love that turtle.
Yeah.
Channel, busted.
All right, moving on to Streets of New Capenna.
Oh, a beloved card around here.
Yep, I said Professional Facebreaker.
Professional Facebreaker.
Me too.
We all said the same thing because that card is awesome.
Yeah,
card is awesome.
Maybe of all the cards we've talked about outside of like Arcane Signet, this has also put up the best results on screen on game nights, I think. Every time it gets played, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
There it goes.
I mean,
so much treasures.
Professional Facebreaker and a lot of this class of creatures, like the reason that you run lightning bolts anymore. You're like, I got to be able to kill this. I got to be able to kill that. I have to be able to answer these powerful little value engines.
So good.
Yeah, you could tell because Ledger Shredder is in this set, and that's the card I wanted to pick.
Right.
Just the blue mage me. but I was like, Professional Facebreaker is just straight up better than Ledger Shredder. It just is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Facebreaker's great. Ledger Shredder's in this set as well, in addition to an offer you can't refuse, and Jetmir Nexus of Revels, a very powerful commander and finisher. This also finished the Triumph cycle.
They're not called
They
Triumph.
weren't called Triumphs, but
They were called, should have been called Triumphs.
yeah, why didn't they call them Triumphs? They got too clever for their own good.
A little cute.
It's
Got
kind
cute.
of not a great showing from New Capenna here, though. Like, not very many cards that we care about at all.
New Capenna Commander, a different story.
We'll talk about that in another episode.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Dominaria United.
All right, I said Relic of Legends.
Ooh.
I went with Shieldred the Apocalypse.
Man, should I audible?
Do it.
I'm going to say Relic of Legends, too. It was that or Shieldred, and then I forgot Relic was in the set until I saw it right then. That card is crazy.
That card is crazy. It's super fun.
Every time I play it, I'm like, this I'm getting way too much mana.
Yeah,
This can't be right. Like, what is going on? This is not right. Yeah.
I mean, Shieldred's also very powerful, completely shifts the board state around it when it lands. So different uses, but different goods, definitely, I think.
Yeah, I think the reason that Shieldred hasn't had more of an impact on the format is just the price.
Yeah, true.
It is like we don't play against it as much because it's has ranged from being a $40 card to an $80 card.
Yeah.
But when it hits the battlefield, you're like, okay, that can't chill there. We will die to it.
Yeah.
This set was also pretty light on cards for Commander. Plaza of Heroes, Braids Arisen Nightmare, and my least favorite commander of all time, Jodah the Unifier, came from this set.
Also in the running for best
I think
card.
Jodah is, if you're going by power level, then Jodah could have been in the conversation. Now, best is not just power level.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right, that's Dominaria United. Not a whole lot to work through there. The Brothers War was up next. Josh, what'd you have for that one?
Portal to Phyrexia.
I went small with this one. I did Lauren of the Third Path.
Yeah, I also said Portal to Phyrexia. Just great cards for all three here, or two, I guess.
Yeah, I think Portal's a great splashy answer. It introduced a new big artifact to town, which did
instantly became sort of the best big artifact
one, yeah.
to cheat out or
to welder the situation.
Or to recur. Or to blink.
Lauren of the Third Path, I feel like
really
is an incredible card. Like Reclamation Sage plus
a card draw
card advantage and like a little politics engine. It fits into decks that are trying to give away gifts. It fits into decks that are just trying to blink things. It sometimes you activate it to draw, sometimes you don't. I've just found it has so much more play to it than it read immediately, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I found that there's almost now. It's hard to not be in a situation where there's one player that if you give them the card draw with you, it's actually going to be so bad they have no other option. I'm always like, yeah, they can get a card. That's totally fine. It doesn't end up materially affecting the game. So I think the downside of Lauren is something that I overestimated originally.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of the Parlay Solvala.
Yeah.
That you're like, well, everybody draws the card, and you're like, yeah, but it's your turn.
Yeah,
you can untap it 3 times or something. That's an incredible draw engine in white. You don't often see that with Lauren of the Third Path, but I've just found this card to be kind of absurd.
Yeah.
You see Lauren get blinked a lot, though.
Blinked a lot. Yeah. Oh, they're definitely that.
Yeah.
This was a great set for Commander. It had a lot of nuts and bolts. It had a lot of fancy stuff. Bushwhack is a card that I play a lot of right now.
Yeah.
Demolition Field was a long-desired card. Takesha's Welcome, Awake in the Woods, Third Path Iconoclast, and even Liberator Urza's Battlethopter sees a lot of play.
All right, moving on to Phyrexia. All will be one. Whoo, caught that one.
You got it. You got it. You watched the...
Man, that gets stressing me out over here.
All right, Josh, what was your pick for All will be one?
It is Mondrak, Glory Dominus.
I was Mondrak as well.
I'm a Traxa Grand Unifier.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, they're all great. Mondrak's so good too, yeah. I just don't play that much of it, but I've seen Atraxa do enough work where it's like Atraxa draws 6 cards. Woo-wee!
It's a powerful card. That's
and then
powerful
gain the life after you attack, yeah.
The only downside to Atraxa is you got to figure out, you have to have 5 colors, basically.
Yeah. It's very hard to cast.
Mondrak, I think, was like a meaningful upgrade to token doublers, an indestructible token doubler that also has a sack outlet built into it.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal. And it just felt like Anointed Procession Who.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that it protects itself is such a huge deal because a big problem with the doublers is you kind of got to deploy them before you start doing the thing that they force multiply. But that usually means cross your fingers as you put it out there. And the fact that it's susceptible to just way less removal makes it
Super good.
a lot safer to do.
Mm-hmm.
So your plan just works more often. So yeah, I think it's meaningfully different from Annoying Procession and that ilk to the point where it was worth picking.
A lot in this set as well. There was All Will Be One, which is a great card. Skrelv, Defector Might, Elish Norn, Mother of Machines, Solfim, Mayhem Dominus. All the Dominuses, Domini, are very good. And Conduit of
Pretty sure
Worlds.
it's Dominuses.
Dominuses.
No.
Dominus.
Dominus.
I think Elish Norn, Panhar Mamikon.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she's probably off there yelling, being mad at us for not having her in the mix there.
You just think I'm mean.
Yeah.
She is. That card is
mean. Yeah, that's
boy, oh boy. All Elish Norn does is warp the table around them.
The asymmetricalness of Praetors is always just completely nuts.
Backbreaking.
All right, moving on to March of the Machine. Yeah, this is one of the easier ones for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very Mastermind.
Very Mastermind.
Card's ridiculous.
A card is ridiculous. And as soon as
mana?
we saw it, we were like, that's crazy.
I thought
right?
Ledger Shredder was good.
Like,
You gotta win the world champion so you can design a card around you.
I
And
know.
just make it as busted as
Man.
possible. Just hope to slip it under the wire, and they did.
it's like 2 mana, draw 3 cards a turn.
It should have been a 4-drop, honestly.
It's-
Like, I think
yeah.
even at 3, it's probably too broken. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
And you're like basically guaranteed the first one because of the flash. It's, man, the card's messed up in multiplayer.
Yeah, a lot of other fun cards in this set, though. Atali Primal Conqueror, I built a deck around, very mean. Breach the Multiverse, a card I really do love. Kami of Whispered Hopes, Tribute to the World Tree, really powerful, but green just has so much of that effect. A new Ozolith, the Shattered Spire, and then a new Urabrask as well.
Yeah, that's
The Impulse
Sure, you
one.
like
Beergy, or
Stormkill Artist.
Oh, Stormkill, yeah.
the pinger. This set had some sneaky good stuff. Not super deep, but like definitely had some staples that stick around. Let's move on to its little brother, March of the Machine Aftermath. Was standard legal, so here it is.
Funny.
Josh, what was your pick?
Not very many cards to choose from on
Nope.
this one just because the set was small. I said Filter Out.
Sure, I like Filter Out. I picked Nissa Resurgent Animus.
I picked a card that I think is the best single equipment commander that has ever existed. It's Nahiri Forged in Fury.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least.
Not a lot to say here. Filter Out's sweet.
Yeah,
I
Filter's
play it.
cool.
It's been good.
Yep.
Nissa is Lotus Cobra, which is also good.
I think Filter Out was the most talked about when the set was coming out of all the cards. And then Nissa was played a lot, obviously, in the standard format.
Okay, we're moving on to the Wilds of Eldraine. We're back at an Eldraine. Josh, what was your pick for this one?
Moonshaker Cavalry.
Yep.
I went with Talion, the Kindly Lord.
Wow. I almost went with Moonshaker. I instead chose Agatha's Soul Cauldron.
Nice.
Yeah.
All cool cards.
Yeah.
All cool cards.
Cool design, yeah.
Yep. Moonshaker to me gave decks that don't have green but are tokens like a Craterhoof type effect that White kind of did want, and you could be in games where you had the board but you just couldn't quite figure out a way to close it out, and it gives you that way. So I thought that it's I've died to it a bunch since it came out. That card is as advertised.
Yep.
Yeah, it's another you don't have to do the math type of finisher, which is nice. No dice involved. I picked Talion just because I've seen this card be absolutely ruthless, especially now that the curves are so condensed. 2s and 3s are just insane.
Everywhere,
you draw an unbelievable amount of magic cards in addition to draining the table, but limited to 2 colors.
Yep. I just like colorless Agatha's Soul Cauldron. It's kind of doing the kind of thing I love to do, which is steal stuff. And stealing stuff out and adding it to your creatures with 1/1 counters. Yeah, I've seen you use it to great use in your Sisei deck. So it feels like one of those cards that has like the brewer at heart, wanting to do cool stuff with it.
Yeah, it does the trickiest stuff for sure.
Yeah.
It's cool design. It's definitely one that you have to read a few times.
Yeah. But Moonshaker's won me more games, that's for sure.
Wilds of Eldraine was a pretty shallow pool. The only other card that we had as a possible contender was Up the Beanstalk.
Which is good.
Yeah, good card.
I think good card, but like there's only 4 cards from that whole set we're talking about. It's kind of
crazy.
You wouldn't expect that from a more modern set.
Yeah, especially one in a we've now looked at 2 Wilds of Eldraine sets, and they're both kind of fine.
Yeah, which is funny because I like the Eldraine sets in my mind.
I play a fair amount of adventure type cards, but when you look at them next to each other, you're like, these are all kind of
Oko at all? Any of them? I don't think so. Right?
No.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Ixalan. Specifically, the Lost Caverns of Ixalan.
Nice.
This one was pretty easy as well.
Yep, I said Roaming Throne.
Roaming Throne.
The obvious answer and the correct one.
It's
pretty sure.
Yeah, it's another borderline too powerful to play in a lot of decks. When I don't include it, a lot of times it's because It's not because it wouldn't make my deck better. It's specifically because it will make my deck too good.
Too good, yeah.
I mean, this is the card that replaced Tyrannic Resonator, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just like,
Why would I play mana
this
to do
when
that? I could just do it for no mana.
Play a 4-drop that does it repeatedly for like other stuff also.
Yeah, exactly.
Roaming Throne is pretty wild. The ward on it is also...
The fact that it doubles ward, like what? It's unclear to me whether they knew that was going to happen when they signed that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was in the era where they didn't understand ward.
True.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's also just like a huge typal card that's like means it's going to be $1 million and go into 1 million decks.
Yeah.
But this set was no slouch, despite us all just gravitating toward Roaming Throne. Seal Malamet Exemplars here, Malcolm Alluring Scoundrel, Inti Central the Sun, Chamil the Inner Sun, Anim Pakal, Thousandth Moon, Breach's Eager Pillager, Tarian's Journal, Kitesel Larcenist, and O'Hare Achonil Deepest Might. And there's the 6 mana token tripler.
O'Hare
that people
Talk.
love.
Yeah.
O'Hare Talk.
Yeah.
This set was kind of a banger.
A lot of
Tons
legendaries.
stuff.
Yeah.
Got to also be in the conversation for best set of all time based on that list.
Not to mention the pre-cons for this set were great.
Also, I like to notice that Malcolm, Fairy Mastermind, and Ledger Shredder are all within the last 5 sets. The 2-drop flyer, which we're not quite at the end of. There will be a couple more, but geez.
Jeez Louise, yeah.
Yeah, they all came out really close together, and all of them were like, all right, we'll take another one, I guess.
I mean, you can have a whole deck of them now, and by the way, that's a good deck.
It's Octavia.
Yeah, the World Champ card having to be designed there probably is what forced the third one that wouldn't need to be there.
Maybe.
All right,
Okay,
moving on to the murders at Karlov Manor. Beep, 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 beep. There's been a murder. We're also in Ravnica, by the way, just don't forget.
Yep.
Oh, we all chose the same one here.
Yeah.
I guess it's not that surprising looking at the honorable mention.
Yeah.
Aftermath Analyst.
Aftermath Analyst. That's it.
That card's broken.
That card's broken.
What in the heck's going on? You just like, this 2-drop just gets me 6 lands into play later?
Yeah, Splendor Reclamation.
It is. It's Stitcher Supplier.
Yeah.
That's why it's so good.
With Splendor Reclamation tied onto it.
Yeah. Stitcher Supplier plus Splendid Reclamation.
One card.
So good.
And you can do the Steve thing where you block sack it or threaten to sack it. And it's like, I've killed this thing on like turn 3 before where it's like, you don't have the mana, I'm just going to kill it. Because I know it's going to be a problem later.
Even just a couple of fetch lands in there, like, this is an instant speed, get 3 lands into play.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's okay. Wizards won't do this with a green creature ever again.
They won't do this plus, hey, you play extra lands, play cards out of your graveyard, draw a bunch of cards. Yeah. It's worth noting that MKM did introduce the Surveil lands.
Yes.
Which has become very quickly like some of the best lands that there are. And
Ever, yeah.
Yep.
Outside of
pretty expensive.
The original best
And then
ones,
besides that, not a lot to talk about here. Forensic Gadgeteer.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
War Leader's Call.
Yeah.
Doppelgangs, splashy, but, fine. That's not that much there, though.
No. The big hero of this set was definitely the Surveil lands and the little uncommon that could, Aftermath Analyst.
Yep.
Crazy card.
Let's move on to the next set. This is Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
Yep.
Yeehaw!
Thunder Junction. There we go.
Well, I chose Bristly Bill.
Bristly Bill.
I do chose Bristly Bill.
Are you here?
Yeah. Bill's just great.
Yeah.
Oh, that card hits the board and you're like, oh, we're all going to die so fast.
Yeah.
Again, it has the win con stapled onto it too, so it's that the 2-for-1 thing that just makes it so powerful. And it can be your commander. I've seen so many people play this as a commander.
Yeah, it's a complete package all by itself.
Yeah.
This comes down on turn 2 and it's scary. This is scary on turn 6 when you have twice as much mana. And this set wasn't a huge slouch. We had the spree cards.
Yeah, spree cards were great.
And fit right into commander.
A lot of the spree cards are really good.
Yeah.
3 steps ahead. Smuggler's Surprise. Great Train Heist.
That almost was my choice. Great Train Heist.
That card's great.
3 steps ahead was almost my choice.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that card's also great.
I would have picked Smuggler's Surprise.
Wow.
There you go.
We were so boring and then we got so interesting.
Yeah.
It was all according to our color preferences, by the way.
I picked the green one?
A card I didn't give enough credit to and I think is great is Andy Joins Up.
Yeah.
Every time I
Andy
see
Joins
that,
Up
I'm like,
is real.
wow, look at that
It's
thing
just
go.
color restrictive, so it's hard to play,
Yeah.
but that card is really good.
Pretty sweet, yeah.
Yeah, it is weird to look at it that there's like way more cards in Outlaws of Thunder Junction than in Wilds of Eldraine.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't look back on OTJ super fondly.
No, I'm not like that set was awesome, but Wilds of Eldraine, I'm like, I like that set. But,
yeah. But I do play a lot of these cards in Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
We are
Still
in
the most.
hat set territory now. So.
All right, let's move on to the beloved plane of Bloomborough.
Bloomborough, so cute.
A breath of fresh air. This got a lot of players into the game.
It did.
I'm jealous of Rachel's pick already. But I said Patchwork Banner.
I got to say Valley Flood Caller.
Yeah, and I am going to go ahead and say 3 Tree City. Nykthos.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. They're very good.
I think Valley Flood Caller is the most powerful pick. It's like the one that sees the most play in CDH. It's a very powerful card. 3 mana flash. It came out before another variant
That's why
that's very powerful. But when it did come out, we were like, whoa, what are they doing?
What are they doing?
And it lives up to that. It's very powerful.
I think the Season of cards were really great. Season of Weaving, Season of Gathering. I play them a lot. They're always doing something that's fun. And it gets a great reaction around the table too, I notice. Other people think it's the best card ever when you play it.
The paws are so cute.
Yeah.
I hate that they're 5 paws. I understand it makes sense design-wise, but animals have 4 paws.
Yeah, I thought there was actually a lot of contenders here. So Lumro was something I considered.
Yeah,
for sure.
That card's ridiculous. Every time it comes down, they get so much. Into the Flood Maw is a card that I play a lot of. That card is very good. If you haven't played it, you should look at it. Kitsa Otterball Elite is a personal favorite of mine. That's a looter on a freaking fork. Like, it's really, really good.
What are they doing?
That card can win you the game. All you got to do is like get it to enough power and then fork one of the gatherings.
2 mana power.
Sorry, one of the seasons of.
Yeah.
Dawn's Truce, Innkeeper's Talent. Like the Bloomborough kind of delivered like a lot of really good stuff in there.
A lot of the talents are going to be more playable too over time, I think.
Yeah. And none of these feel like crazy broken, except for maybe Valley Flood Caller, but they all are just really powerful and sit at a great spot. Let's move on to what I think is probably the best set for Commander
in recent
years. It's Duskmourn, House of Horror.
I didn't really realize there was so much in this set until we, started listening out. I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
It's just settled really well. What'd you pick for the best, Josh?
I did Withering Torment.
Good card.
That's a good responsible pick.
It's a very good responsible pick. R.I.P. Feed the Swarm. I picked Marvin Murderous Mimic.
Nice. Yeah, when that card does stuff, you're like, wow, look at it go.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Marvin's great every time it comes out because you only play in decks where it's going to be good.
Yeah. Especially tap decks where it comes out in 2 and then the thing's on 3 or whatever.
Basically gives your commander haste.
Yeah.
In a weird way. Yeah.
Overlord of the Baelmerk is the card I chose. I do love me some mill pieces, mill Cursion, and then when it becomes a creature, it's like, woo-wee, here we go.
Yeah.
Mill Cursion, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this set is like, we all picked stuff that I think are completely defensible. I picked Marvin because it's just gone in more decks than I thought it would.
Yeah.
It felt really good. It makes like cards in my hand even better. In some ways, it feels like a Lightning Greaves, but there's 10 cards that could be on this list.
Yeah, the whole Enduring Cycle. So Curiosity is the big one, the draw one. But there's Innocence, Vitality, Tenacity, and Courage. And then
they're all good.
Yeah, they're all good. And then I said Overlord, but the rest of the Overlord cycle is pretty darn good too.
Yep.
The white one is amazing.
Head Shredder I've had really good results with.
Yeah.
Arabella, Abandoned All, that card's a little bit nuts.
So much damage.
Yeah. I mean, also Untimely Malfunction is a bunch of money now and is like a nice SWAT plus a shatter effect. Yeah, this set was great. It's kind of crazy because I remember at the time I was like, oh, these cards are fine.
Yeah.
But there's so many of them. All right, let's move on to Foundations.
The Honorary Core set.
Oh, yeah, we're back.
We're back.
Josh, what did you pick?
Surprising no one, I said High Fate Trickster.
I agreed with that.
I was between that and Sire of 7 Deaths, but I just love that card. The design is, from a design standpoint, I think it's really cool. And just like, I do love like new and cool finishers. That's why I really liked what's it called? Portal of Phyrexia too. Like see these high mana value, colorless things.
Yeah, that's a very cool one. And the ward on that is backbreaking.
Yeah, totally.
High Fate Trickster is just like, I love any card that comes out and you're like, yeah, we've been waiting for exactly that card. And that's what it felt like. It had 1 line of text or 2 lines of text, I guess. And they felt really right and they fit in really well.
It doesn't have flash, right?
It does have
3 lines of text then. Flash,
well,
flying.
it's flash, flying.
Yeah.
I guess I combined
on the same line.
Yeah, that's the same line. The big one that matters.
The big one, Vidalcanora, yeah.
And also it's a beater. Why is it huge?
Yeah, right? It could have been a 4 mana 2/1.
Advertised. I've been hoping for, it kept being like, is this the thing that makes the Vidalcanora effect finally playable again? And it'd be like, no. And then this one was like, yes, it is. Sweet. And I played it a couple times, like, awesome. Bought a bunch of them, slotted all into my decks, and I do have a Vidalcanora effect in most of my decks again now.
Yeah.
That's great.
A very flexible one.
Love it.
Yeah, this was a great set too. I think High Fate Trickster and Sire probably sit at the highest power level, but we've also got Scrawling Crawler, which
that card is really good.
Tons of play. Banner of Kinship is a great finisher for especially token type decks. Blasphemous Edict, I don't think it's quite lived up to billing, but it's still pretty good. Yeah. Homunculus Horde is a finisher for Draw Matters decks, and Mischievous Mystic, a curious little uncommon that's done a lot of work.
Yeah, don't underrate Mischievous Mystic.
Yeah, pumps out those cards.
That card will take over a game.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm surprised we all got the same one for the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was going out on a little limb. Okay, it's Ether Drift.
It's the
Ether Spark.
Spark.
Same time you heard
Planeswalker, but you can't attack it.
every time I see it, the card goes up in my, like, how powerful is that card ranking it.
Yeah, play it, equip it, swing with it.
Yeah.
You just got 7 counters on that thing.
Yeah, it feels sort of like a GT that equips for free.
Yeah.
And like
You can't attack it. You think you're,
Yeah.
you know, you're just like, okay, I can't really get to it. And they're going to get all this value out of it. And then there's like, oh, they're going to just win the game with it.
Yeah, turning your Planeswalker into an equipment turns out is what makes it very playable in Commander.
Yeah.
With the free equip.
It's protected, right? Part of the reasons we don't like Planeswalkers is because you have to, like, everybody can just attack it, and there are 3 other players. But as soon as you put it somewhere where it's like you can't attack it directly, it's a lot harder to get to.
Totally.
And now you're asking your, you know, people to maybe work together. Like, you kill it, I attack it, which is just a much higher bar to clear.
Right. It's the only Planeswalker that actually feels, or the only equipment that actually feels okay after a board wipe, and it's the only Planeswalker that feels okay on a busy board.
Yeah.
So it has like the flexibility of both things. It draws cards, it makes mana, it adds counters.
The loyalty, the way it gets loyalty is just crazy, I think. Yeah.
This set had some okay stuff. It had Stock Up, which is very powerful, Monument to Endurance, Murrigonda Raceway, Unstoppable Plan, and Riptide Gear Hulk. All of them feel a little bit narrow, but have really strong spots for them.
Yeah. Oh, and shout out to Crypt Caller Chariot, which is similar to Riptide Gear Hulk.
Or Monument.
Monument, yeah, to Endurance, yeah.
Yeah, Riptide Gear Hulk. Rude.
Very rude card.
Rude magic card.
Yeah.
Love it.
Sucked to play against Unlimited.
All right, let's move on to Tarkir Dragonstorm. Josh, what was your pick from Tarkir?
I said Herd Heirloom.
I did as well.
I gave it to Ugin, Eye of the Storms.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Ugin
fair.
is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Herd Heirloom's been as advertised. What we thought. That card is, and there are some decks where you're like, geez Louise, it like synergizes in a way that makes it like, even better. Like a 2-mana rock should not be doing some of the stuff it does.
It's better than the Soulstone. It's better than the Soulstone.
It just straight up is.
And it's
by
like
a lot.
half the price, if not more than that.
The other closest one is the spider one from Duskmourn. That like it makes spiders eventually.
Oh, sure.
Makes a bunch of
I don't even think that's...
No. Yeah, but these are all 2-mana rocks that have like an additional bonus to it. And Herd Heirloom, I think, clears the bar by a lot.
Yeah. The fact that it fixes, like, it should just tap for green. There's no reason there should be a 5-color mana rock.
Right.
Yeah, and they're like, it only taps for creatures, and you're like, just
not a big restriction.
It's nothing.
It's not
guys.
Already in the game plan.
So you mean I'll be playing a green deck that has a lot of creatures in it? That's the bar I have
You're
to
right.
clear?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's so tough to do. Jeez, I'm gonna totally have to change my deck building to accommodate this thing.
It's busted, yeah. But Ugin is like, we're talking about top end synergy, nasty threat when it comes down.
Yeah, and you often get to play a 3-mana card right off the bat.
Yeah,
and so you get to
get a lot of value out of it, right?
or just draw and gain life. Yeah, so it protects itself pretty well, just with a high loyalty even.
Yeah, I mean, and Ugin comes down and you cast 1 artifact after that. You've exiled 2 things. You have a Planeswalker that must be answered.
Yeah.
And you've probably drawn a card, if not made a bunch of mana.
Yep.
Very good. This set had a lot, though.
Yeah, Voice of Victory, one of your favorite cards. Elspeth Stormslayer, another Anointed Procession type effect. Windcrag Siege. The Sieges were all pretty fun. And then Auroral Procession.
Still underrated.
I love
Still
me
great.
some Auroral Procession.
Yeah.
Start playing it. It's so good.
Yeah,
The instant changes the whole game there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next up is Final Fantasy. I said Vivi Ornithir.
Yeah, so did I.
I didn't want to be boring and fake. But it is clearly the best card outside of maybe Arden the Usurper, which is a card that continues to impress me. When you reanimate this thing and immediately gets going, and the creature has menace and lifelink.
You're going to have to remind me which one this is.
Yeah,
This is
I was going to say interesting because this was not on my
5
radar.
and 3 black.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of combat, you reanimate a creature, except I think it's a token copy that has menace and lifelink and is a 5/5.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I remember
So
this.
it immediately gets going. Oftentimes reanimator targets need to be ETB or something, but this comes back and then gives you something else. So I think it's just one of the best reanimator targets ever printed.
I have not seen that thing in action. This is not on my radar at all. When
Yeah.
I saw it on the thing, I was like,
It's my sleeping
What does that
favorite.
do?
My sleeping favorite. I love this
that's good.
card.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I'll try it. I was surprised at how shallow this
Final Fantasy, cool set. I mean, well designed and everything.
Yeah.
Did not actually have a lot of cards for Commander that like are broadly playable.
Yeah, even
like,
the commander decks were like, nothing too crazy.
Traveling Chocobo, yes, still very good, but kind of expensive. Like it hasn't been worth it to buy it. There's so many redundancies.
Yeah.
Cloud Midgar Mercenaries, really good in equipment decks. The Earth Crystal and the Crystal Cycle are some of the highest, like in terms of EDH ranking, but I think I played just the Water Crystal.
They're not that great.
Yeah. And then Sephiroth Fabled Soldier
which is a very strong card.
Is great.
But just only in Aristocrats decks.
Yeah. And I think it's like less powerful than VV, but just as narrow.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Sephiroth was my second pick.
I think Cloud is close behind for me.
Yeah, but I was like not excited about the second pick. I was like, well, they're all kind of
compared to VV's kind of
Yeah, it was a little weird that I didn't feel like there was one that was.
I think it's a theme here where the power level of the set and how much we like it are not tied together that much.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Which is interesting.
All right, let's go to space. It's time for Edge of Eternities, and this one's obvious.
1, 2, 3.
I still explore. The Zoni went to it.
The Zoni went to it, and that card is ridiculous.
Card's ridiculous.
It does too many things.
If you haven't seen it in play, if you haven't had it in play, you're like, this is doing it. I don't know. This did it all.
Yeah, the moment that you're like,
many things.
Oh, it mills too. You're like, geez, here we go. It's way too powerful.
Okay, so a more interesting discussion might be like, what if it didn't exist? What would you have chosen?
Good question.
Terra Symbiosis, I think.
I think I would go consult the star charts. Josh has sold me on it, and I've played it enough in limited to know it's great, even at 2 mana. So
yeah, I like both of yours. I can't choose between them. So I'll just say Susur Secundi.
Susur, nice.
Susur Secundi.
Which I also love.
Yeah.
Card sweet.
That card's cool.
But Terra Symbiosis is probably the right thing. But I love Consult the Star Charts.
Yeah. Ouroboros, sweet too. And Umbral Zealot.
I've died to Ouroboros. It's not the type of card I play, but it's the type of card I live in fear of, though.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list, and I don't play a whole bunch of them. I actually really like Exalted Sunborn in terms of token doublers, because you can like pay 2, have a crazy turn, and then store it for like post board wipe. That's a play pattern that's been really cool. I got to do it with my Atla Palani deck.
Oh, cool.
It felt really good.
Avendo's in the set. Starwinder's in the set. Did we say Umbral Caller Zealot already? Yeah. That's the Viscera Seer
with artifacts.
Yeah.
Surveilling.
That card's great.
Which has been as good as Viscera Seer, basically.
Yep.
And maybe a little bit better sometimes.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, there's a bunch of like high ceiling, super narrow cards in this set. I think the most general is probably Consult the Star Charts.
It seems the most normal blue thing to do here. Yeah.
Except for I Still Explorer, which is you don't need to be synergizing anything.
Nope.
It does.
Just play it.
You know what it synergizes with? Itself.
Yep. All right. Moving on to
everybody's
Marvel Spider-Man.
I said the Soul Stone.
Cool. Yep, sure. I said Peter Parker's camera.
And I said Multiversal Passage.
Multiversal Passage is impressed.
Yeah, just more decks want that kind of thing, and they need it. You know, when you just need the color, you need the color.
It's slim pickings this set.
Yeah.
It's
even the Soul Stone is like, it could be good.
Could be good. Yeah, it looks fun.
I mean, it's just a 2-mana rock, and the 2-mana rock might just win it for a set like this because it is playable. And
and colors that don't have that specifically for their color either, right?
Like none of the cards we said are like. None of them would be in the top 10 for Edge of Eternities.
True. Probably not.
Yeah.
Peter Parker's camera I have liked a lot. I've used it to copy fetch lands and ramp.
Cool.
That's really cool in off colors. It's cool that even if you activate it one time to copy something of your commanders. I've been impressed by it. It does feel efficient enough. It does feel like it's flexible enough that you can get some good value out of it. But
other possible Peter Parker's camera I have not really seen in play, so I can't attest. But Electro, Assaulting Battery.
Yeah, save your red mana.
Hide on the Ceiling. Those are like the only 2 cards worth mentioning, if they were even worth mentioning just now, but I did mention them.
Okay. Avatar, The Last Airbender.
This set was pretty good.
Yeah.
This was as advertised.
Yeah.
Badger Mole Cub was my answer.
I went with Avatar's Wrath.
Yeah, I went with Badger Mole Cub. I think Avatar's Wrath or, another card might be my second, but it was, Cub's just great.
Yeah. Avatar's Wrath was my number 2.
Yeah, I've gotten to cast Avatar's Wrath now, and it would just definitely won me the game.
Yeah.
Like,
the card is so good. I don't know. We had some comments on the Zonies where people were like, they are overrating Avatar's Wrath, and I'm like, no, I've seen it multiple times now.
In different situations.
It is Cyclonic Rift like.
It feels that way. It feels like I'm unstoppable at this point. Like I get to keep a thing, I get to rebuild my board, and you guys are going to be 2 turns behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not so.
Yeah.
A lot of times they don't even get the turn where they would get to airbend this stuff out.
Yeah.
You're just like, nope, because of the advantage that I was able to create. You just don't live to then.
And a lot of times the ones that they thought they were going to airbend back out, they have to change their game plan entirely because of by the time it gets to them, it's like, I actually don't need these things, but so the cost reduction doesn't matter.
You know what? I'm switching Avatar's Wrath.
Nice.
We're doubling down.
You got me. Avatar's Wrath. That's the third one I've changed on. I felt very firm about all of my picks, obviously. Yeah.
Nice.
Veteran is great, though.
Yeah.
I've played it a couple times now, and it's really good if you got a couple of other mana dorks out.
Yeah.
Like, it feels pretty crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
And you if you start in your open hand with another mana dork, you sequence it, you just know you're going to be in a really good spot.
By turn 2, yeah.
And the table is just like, no.
There it goes, yeah.
Even if they just like play it, earthbend a fetch land, and like pass, you're like, that's
sick.
so good.
The floor is very low on that, but
Yeah.
the ceiling is actually quite high.
Yeah.
Because decks that tend to run a mana dork tend to run many mana dorks. So
We should mention the runners up here: Wan Chitong Librarian, Redirect Lightning, Apis FS Guardian, and then moving on to the next one, we are going to talk about the most recent set, Lorwyn.
God dang it.
There's so many from Avatar.
Yeah, I just want to say Avatar was a banger set. There's a lot. We didn't mention Waterbender Ascension, Faded Firepower, Earth King, Aang, Swift Saver. Okay. Sorry, Lorwyn Eclipse. That cost you 10
I
seconds.
also want to point out, we know Redirect Lightning is good.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, they don't know how good We know how good Redirect Lightning is. It's just boring.
It is just because it's good doesn't mean it's the best.
Yeah.
Like,
We've done a lot of redundancy stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Lorwyn
Eclipse.
Oh, they allowed us to reset the timer.
you.
That was so nice of them.
Thanks, team.
I was feeling bad.
We
almost did to Lorwyn Eclipse what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles did to it.
Is doing to it. Actively still doing.
Stepped all over it. Okay, all right.
Oh my gosh.
I said Soul Immolation.
Oh, very good.
I went with Dream Harvest.
I went with Hexing Squelcher.
All right.
Finally, a CEDH pick from me. So I played against Unlimited a couple times where you expected not do anything, and you're like, wow, that ward pay 2 life really adds up. If you and you don't want to kill the 2/2, and then I can only assume in scenarios where you want to counter stuff, having something that just is so cheap to play and says spells can't be countered is going to have a massive effect on the game and just be one of those cards that has, again, way too many lines of text, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know that CEDH people were very, what's the word? Bullish on it.
Yeah.
Or like they didn't like it, but they were convinced it was going to be very powerful in their format, but I don't know that I've seen the outcome of that.
Yeah.
So, but I can't speak to that at all. But Soul Immolation as a just sort of better Chandra's Ignition is something I'm very much... I've already been on the receiving end one time and once in Limited, but of course in Limited it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm in. Yep. I'm going to double. I like this card. This is going to be good. Yeah.
My pick for this one is Dream Harvest. I have cast this thing in 1v1. I've cast this thing in multiplayer now, and it gives you a boatload of spells.
Yeah, guaranteed.
It is
nice. Yeah.
An absolute board in a box, and you get kind of random stuff, but it doesn't matter. If you get like a rock and a removal spell and a ramp spell and 1 creature, you're like, well, that was crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you get more than that too.
Yeah, you just do.
It's you get like 5 to 6 things.
And and you get to sequence them. It's Dream Harvest is great. We're at the end. We're going to ignore the beeper.
We can take as long as we want.
Yeah, we're the boss now, beeper.
Well, we haven't answered what we think is the best commander set of all time, which is, I think, after going through all of this.
Yeah, well, hold on. We cut Lorwyn Eclipse off. We didn't say what the other cards were in it before we say this. I think we should.
Sure.
Just so that we're not, disrespecting Lorwyn Eclipse like Turtles did.
Turtles it's still doing it.
Like it's still doing it. So there was Bitterbloom Bearer, Formidable Speaker, Mirror Form, which I really like, Bloodline Bidding, Reese the Evermore. Decent showing, not amazing, not unless Airbender good, but still pretty good.
Still pretty good. I'm high on Bloodline Bidding. It seems great.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen it cast yet, but it reads good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone through now every standard legal set.
Yeah.
But probably noticed we didn't talk about precons, we didn't talk about like Horizon sets, ancillary products and stuff like that. There's like 120 something of them.
Yeah, we talked about plenty of sets.
Yeah.
But we're after all this, we're going to talk about which set we think was the best commander set of all time.
I made a special sheet just to try and decide this.
Okay,
very nice.
We're gonna dig into the bowels of Josh's special sheet in just a second.
Yeah, we got to take a break and hear a message from our sponsors so that I can read this thing.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of awesome Magic cards today. If you haven't heard of some of these, or you have, and you're like, you know what, I really do need a copy of Dream Harvest, go to cardkingdom.com/command, and you can support this channel. Card Kingdom has a huge amount of cards all in one place, and they make it super easy for you to buy them. If you've got a list that you've downloaded from a deck builder or you've just kept track of, you can paste it into their advanced deck builder. You can pick from all the versions that they have in stock, and you can check out right away and get back to deck building or playing or whatever you're busy doing. But Card Kingdom makes it really easy, and when they ship stuff to you, you know that it's going to arrive safe and it's going to arrive in in an order with the sheets. You just know that all the stuff is right. Plus, if something happens, you know they've got a great team to take care of you and make sure everything gets handled. So support the show if you using our affiliate link at cardkingdom.com/command.
And then go to ultrapro.com/command to protect your collection with all of Ultra Pro's amazing products. Whether or not you're getting a new deck box, a binder, some sleeves, or some cool theme sleeves, or the Apex sleeves, or the Mana 8 line, there's just so much to choose from and so much to make your collection look really awesome. So you can show it off, bring it to trades, or just get your next deck sleeves up in the best cool sleeves that you want in the right colors to match whatever it is. Get the deck box matching playmat and all that good stuff, and just look awesome at your next game night or local game night at your house. Go to ultrapro.com/command.
Alrighty, it's time for the best commander set of all time.
It's
from Standard Legals. That's what we talked about today.
Yeah. we did not include reprints. It's fine. This is very difficult, but there was a lot of sets that really jumped out as had a deep well of classics or things that defined the future of the format.
Instant staples.
Yeah. A lot of artifacts.
Yep.
I think the one that I landed on, and it's tough because one of the Mirrodin sets is probably in there as well.
Yeah.
But I think that my pick for the best commander set of all time is Avacyn Restored.
Very cool.
Is that crazy?
I don't know. Is it? Tell us why.
Having Craterhoof Behemoth and Blood Artist in the same set are just we're talking about two iconic cards that literally built archetypes on their back. On top of that, you've got iconic angels like Gisela and Avacyn. So there's just a lot going for it.
Craterhoof, Blood Artist, Exquisite Blood, Cathar's Crusade, Ghostly Flicker, Cavern of Souls, Deadeye Navigator, Alchemist Refuge, Temporal Mastery.
Yeah.
No, it's a crazy lineup.
Ridiculous. Like the Conjurer's Closet as well is just like another symbol of an archetype. It just felt like it led to so many things and really set a tone for the format.
Yeah, I think the game also had a big burst of players around that time because just that Avacyn setting in Innistrad is just such a popular setting. Yeah,
I think that's my pick.
I'm going to go old school. I'm going to say Legends for my pick.
Classic.
I think having the original Elder Dragons in here gives it the very iconic, memorable aspect. It also had Sylvan Library and a bunch of really playable cards. And just to me, that set symbol and the gold cards, the way the gold cards used to be, makes it feel really special to Commander specifically. So it's best not necessarily in power level or defining things. Well, I guess it defined the color combos for a lot of people. But I like Legends. I'm just going to go old school with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got two that I think are in the running with Avacyn Restored, which I think is, top 3 for sure. So one is War of the Spark.
Ah, nice.
Which was Bolas' Citadel, Dovin's Veto, Spark Double, Evolution Sage, Liliana Dreadhorde General, Narset Parter of Veils, Narset's Reversal, Ugin the Ineffable, Massacre Girl, Saheeli, Sublime Artificer, Cruel Celebrant. All cards that see a ton of play.
Yeah.
Ton of them. Yeah, Kiora. We didn't even, there's a ton you don't name there, but the top. And then the other one is New Phyrexia, which has Git Progue, Noxious Revival, Phyrexian Metamorph, Unwinding Clock, OG Elishnorn, OG Shieldred, OG Vorinclex, Triumph of the Hordes, Birthing Pod, Beast Within. That's another. I don't know how to land on which of those 3 with Avacyn Restored are the most powerful. I think it's very close call. You could pick your favorite. I probably, I don't even know. Those all seem relatively equal. I think it's interesting that they're all not that recent. War of the Spark's a little bit recent, but they're all kind of a little bit older. I would say of the newer sets, Avatar and Lost Caverns of Ixalan really stand out as 2 that have a lot of, high impact cards. And Edge of Eternities was surprising to me as well.
Edge was a lot. I think Dustmourn's in that running as well.
Oh yeah, Dustmourn.
Like recent
Dustmourn,
commander
for sure.
sets. Yeah, that's my nom for like last couple of years.
Yeah,
is
actually,
Dustmourn.
you're right. Dustmourn is probably a little ahead of those other three. But I still think Dustmourn's probably behind Avacyn, War of the Spark, and New Phyrexia.
I also found that it got more difficult the later we got because you just had less time for all of those things to settle. So you don't necessarily know what the long-term impacts of these sets are going to be.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we can look back on Avacyn Restored and be like, these 15 cards are all like formed the future of Commander or whatever. But now we look at Duskmourn and we're like, well, it's the most recent powerful version of this effect. We don't know how long they'll actually last as staples or high impact cards in the format. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I think they've gotten good at designing a little more narrow so that there are maybe less cards that are just broadly powerful in the same way that they were during those earlier eras. So I think that's another part of it too, is like you just have less like this card, you know, Craterhoof. You just kind of have less of that now. And then if you did make, like you said, if you did make a new Craterhoof, you would always compare it to the first Craterhoof. And so it's harder for something to impact the game in that same way. So yeah, it's probably a, what is there? Primacy biased, not recency biased. Yeah. Anyway, very interesting.
There was a Mirrodin set in there that was crazy.
Oh yeah, Mirrodin Besieged, yeah. Yeah, I think that one is powerful, but it drops off.
All of our sets did have a good choice of legendary creatures, I think, on top, which helps it be a commander set, you know, an iconic commander set at least.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again for best commander from each set, because it is hard to pick a legendary creature just because it's so narrow, right? Like, it's literally just, are you going to build that deck rather than, is this card going to go in a lot of decks?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a very long episode. If you've made it here, you like us very much. Thank you for watching this, and thank you to our amazing team who made this episode possible. So thank you in particular to our podcast team, Karina Cruz, Josh Diaz, John Schneider, and the rest of the team, Gaurav Galati, Jamie Block, Jordan Pridgeon, Jake Boss, Becky Bell, Eric Lem, Manson Lung, Josh Murphy, Evan Liberger, and Sam Waldo. You guys are the best.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.